The story begins in a massive building where a news broadcast is playing. It's breaking news. After 13 hours of intense meetings, a decision has finally been made. The Samjum Group has appointed its new chairman. John Seung-guk has officially been chosen as the CEO. Unlike other third-generation chairmen who stepped down due to scandals or poor management, CEO John Seung-guk isn't like them. This man is John Seung-guk, the new CEO of Samjum Group. Hearing this news, Seung-guk starts laughing and says, "Yes, that's right. Keep praising me. I'm the king of Samjum Group." He reflects on how much effort he put in to reach this point, studying abroad, working out, keeping his foolish siblings in check, handling his uncle's mess, and managing his arranged marriage partner. He did it all perfectly. He even built himself a flawless public image. Everything went exactly as planned. Becoming the master of Samjum Group was only natural. He declares, "All right, this is a new beginning. And now that I'm finally CEO, the first thing I'll do is kick out that punk Tagyu's disciple from the company." But right then his phone slips from his hands and drops to the ground. He starts gasping for air. It flashes in his mind that his grandfather, the founder of Samjum Group, had also died of a heart attack. He panics, saying, "No, this can't be happening to me. Someone like me doesn't die from a simple heart attack." But his story doesn't end there. Instead of dying, he reincarnates as a baby. And not just any baby, but one born into a poor family. He's completely shocked and starts screaming. His new parents try to calm him down. After a while, he finally settles down. His mom lovingly says, "Isn't our Sangwook just the cutest?" She's only 21 years old. His dad, Yeji Seung, is 23. The dad agrees. He's even cuter than most celebrity babies. His mom adds, "Our Seung is lucky to be born so handsome." But Seung is thinking something completely different. Internally, he screams, "Lucky! Are you kidding me?" He spits out his pacifier in anger and thinks, "What is happening to me? My perfect body, 183 centimeters tall, weighing 75 kilos, with a 500-kilo total lift in the big three. Where did it all go?" He looks at his tiny baby form and groans. "What am I now? This weird little creature barely taller than 3 heads stacked together. I was from a prestigious, powerful family. I had an elite body, a perfect resume. I was John Seung-guk of Samjum Group, and now I'm just some poor family's baby." His new parents are basically a young couple in their 20s. They come from orphanage backgrounds and have absolutely nothing. From now on, we'll refer to this baby as Seung. He remembers, "I was just celebrating with my favorite wine. 1 bottle cost 4 million won." Just then his mom says, "All right, time for milk." Seung panics. "Wait, no. Now I've got to drink this cheap formula milk?" But he's in a baby's body, and babies can't say no to milk. He starts crying as he drinks. His dad kisses him on the cheeks, and Seung thinks, men shouldn't show this much affection. Dying on the best day of my life, turning into a baby, everything just feels miserable. But honestly, the hardest thing is dealing with these two. They're so clingy, so lovey-dovey. It's unbearable. Yet there's something about being cared for like this. Something I've never felt before. We see a flashback of his original parents. They never gave him proper attention. They'd always say, "Handle your responsibilities yourself. Take care of your younger siblings." Basically, he never had real parents growing up. Back to the present, he says, "Now's not the time to get sentimental." His dad asks, "Are you getting sleepy after eating?" Seung thinks, "Wait, oh right, I'm a baby now." He internally complains, "How can I possibly sleep right now?" But in a baby's body, you can't fight sleep. His dad whispers, "Looks like he's falling asleep," and Seung decides, "Fine, I'll sleep for now. I'll deal with all of this tomorrow." He drifts off and his dad says, "Good. While he's sleeping, you should rest too." Seung's mom replies, "No, we should work together. You still have to leave for your job soon." He says, "Just relax. Watch some TV." He turns on the TV and the news is still on. This time it's reporting a scandal. Samjum Group's chairman, John Josh, is accused of accepting bribes. The chairman himself has come forward to answer the press. As soon as Seung hears the company's name, he suddenly wakes up and sits straight. His mom gasps, "Honey, did you see that? Our Seung sat up all on his own." But Seung is panicking inside. "This can't be. That's my grandfather, but he's supposed to be dead. This boy, he's been reborn in the past, but into someone else's family." The news continues. Seung sits close to the TV, watching carefully. He clearly remembers this moment. When he was 10 years old, his grandfather was caught giving bribes. The people who feared their power took advantage of the situation. They started calling their company a shady corporation that runs on bribes. What nonsense, he thinks. Money is power. And connections, they're superpowers. Thinking you can become rich just by saving money? That's a poor man's dream. His parents are overjoyed that their baby is starting to sit up on his own. But Seung recalls clearly, before the prosecution, his grandfather told him to crash into his wheelchair. It was all staged to gain public sympathy. But for Seung, that moment had felt like a brand new beginning. That was the day I proved to the entire world that I was the true successor of Jeon Seung. After my grandfather and my father, it was my turn. But at that moment, the one pushing my grandfather's wheelchair was my younger brother, Jeon Taegu. I thought to myself, that foolish, greedy little brother. He went abroad to study, but only managed to become an addict. He spent his whole life trying to take my place. The real issue wasn't that I had turned into a child, or even that I had traveled back to the past. It was that my fate, my position, my everything had been ripped away from me. Tears began to fall from my eyes. Later that night, my mom brought me some apple juice, but I knocked it away in anger and turned back to the TV. A moment later, my dad walked in and said, "Honey, I'm home. My boss gave me all the leftover meat from work. He works as a chef at a nearby restaurant." He smiled and said, "I'll whip up something delicious." But my mom stopped him and pointed at me, saying, "Our son's still watching TV." She added, "He only watches the news. If we change the channel, he starts crying." My dad said, "Leave it to me. Daddy's home, cutie. How about you stop watching TV and play with Daddy instead?" But I grabbed his finger tightly and thought, "Turn the TV back on." My poor dad looked a bit downhearted. In my head, I was thinking, I don't have time for distractions. I need as much information as possible about my grandfather, Samjum Group, and how to get back to my original body. But right then, my mom turned off the TV. She said, "That's enough. You haven't eaten anything all day. It's time for food and rest." I started crying, thinking, "Let me go. Do you even realize how hard I worked to secure my place as Samjum Group's successor? Am I really going to lose everything to Taegu? I need to get my position back." My mom started patting me gently and said, "Be a good boy, Seongu. Get some rest now. I'll let you watch TV again tomorrow." I thought to myself, maybe I really am starting to lose my mind because I'm a baby. My emotions are everywhere, and my thoughts are getting blurry. Every time this woman pats my back, I just fall asleep, without even noticing. And with that, I fell asleep. My dad came in and said, "He's finally asleep. Has it been like this all day? That must have been hard on you." My mom replied, "I'm worried about Seong. He's almost 1 year old now, but he hasn't called us mom or dad even once. All he does is watch the news. I don't know much about parenting, and it scares me. What if I'm raising him the wrong way?" My dad gently said, "Sweetheart, even if we don't know much, our love for him is real. That's what matters. Don't worry, our son will grow up just fine. We just need to have faith in Seong." A few days passed. We see Seong looking completely drained. "I'm done," he muttered. "For the past few days, I've been pretending to sleep just so I could secretly watch the news. But nothing useful came up. The world's moving like nothing happened, and I'm still stuck in this baby's body. What kind of life is this?" Just then, his mom walked in and asked, "What's wrong? You're not watching TV today. Don't you want the news anymore?" Seong sighed and replied, "I give up." She smiled and said, "Then how about going on a walk with mommy? Let's go to the market and buy some groceries. The weather's really nice today." Before they could leave, the landlady of the building showed up. Seong's mom greeted her warmly. "Miss Landlord, heading to work?" Seong's mom wished her a good day. Seong thought to himself, the owner of this building, she's surprisingly young. They made their way to the market. "We're here, Seong," his mom said cheerfully. "This market sells bean sprouts for 101 cheaper. I'll make some delicious bean sprout soup today." Seong thought to himself, "Wow, she really talks a lot. Not that it matters. I'm still stuck drinking formula milk." Suddenly, a heavy metal beam from a nearby construction site came crashing down toward them. Both Seong and his mom noticed, but it was too late. His mom instinctively shielded him with her body, taking the full impact herself. She whispered, "Seong-kook, I'll protect you." Seong was unharmed, but he cried out, "Mom, no, you can't die, Mom." His mother was rushed to the hospital. "Prepare for emergency surgery," the doctor shouted. "Does she have any other conditions?" At that moment, her eyes opened. "You're awake," said her husband. "Are you feeling okay?" She looked around confused. "Where am I?" "Seong-kook, where's Seong?" "He's right here," he said. "Thanks to you, he's safe. But he's been really scared ever since you got hurt." She looked at her son and said, "Seong, you must have been so scared. But I'm okay. Mommy's just fine. I'm happy that my little Seongu is safe." Hearing this, Seong broke into tears. This was awful. Just awful, he thought. "Do you even realize how precious your life is? What would we have done if something had happened to you?" Just then his mom said, "Honey, this place looks like a private hospital room. Why'd you get something so expensive?" "I'm not in that bad shape." Her husband looked a bit shy. "They said you need complete rest." "Complete rest?" she asked. "Why?" He hesitated. And then we see the label on the hospital bed. It reads, "Strict bed for pregnant mothers." That's right. Seong's going to have a little brother or sister. They all shared a beautiful, happy moment together. Then a nurse entered the room and said, "Excuse me, visiting hours are almost over." Seong's dad replied, "Yes, I was just about to leave." He turned to his wife and added, "Make the most of this time and rest. I'll be back tomorrow." She smiled and said, "Take care of yourself." and Si-young too. He picked up Si-young, and the two of them headed home. On the way, he said, "All right, Si-young, time to head back. The bus stops near our place, but it's not that far. We can walk." We see his worn-out shoes. This man works so hard. Si-young thought, so now we don't even have money for the bus? Can't even afford the fare? This family's really struggling. But then he looked again. A father who works tirelessly to support his family. A mother who would risk her life to protect her child. And finally, Si-young softly called him Dad. His father froze for a second, then beamed with joy. Si-young thought, these people, they're my real family now. They're my parents. A week later, we see the family celebrating. His mom has been discharged from the hospital, and they're taking pictures of Si-young. She smiles and says, "Our little Si-young-gu looks so adorable, doesn't he?" "Yeah," his dad replies. "He's even cuter than celebrity babies." They both look at him, filled with love. How is he this cute and perfect? But Si-young, watching all of this, was angry inside. He thought, is this really the time to celebrate? You struggled so hard just to pay the hospital bills, even saved on bus fare. When every penny counts, you should have ignored things like a first birthday celebration. The old me would have yelled at them for wasting money like this. But now I get it. This is love. The kind of love you can't buy with money. The kind of love where someone's willing to risk their life for someone else. Thinking that, Si-young finally joined in and started enjoying the moment. In his mind, he said, the day Mom was in the hospital, I made a decision. I have to do something. My parents aren't going to escape poverty on their own. They have no idea how to invest or plan financially. They're not even in a position to save. They have to scrape together cash for even the basics. And soon, a huge economic crisis is coming. At least, it is in the future, I know. Right then, the doorbell rang. It was their landlady, Myung, at the door. She said, "I heard you got discharged, so I came to check on you. Also, about your baby. Have you ever thought about making him a child actor?" In the next scene, we see Si-young's mom taking him to the audition. She says, "So this is where the audition is happening." Si-young looks around and thinks, not bad. Looks like they spent a decent amount of money setting this up. His mom turns to him and says, "What should I do now? I don't think I came here by mistake." Si-young responds in his mind, "You're talking about this opportunity? This is golden for me." Then we flash back to a past scene. The landlady had told them, "The company I work for got a project for a commercial with a famous business group. Right now, we're holding auditions for a child actor role. Your son is very good looking, and I think he's got talent." Back to the present, Si-young gives a mischievous smile and laughs. "See? People who are meant for success, they just can't help but succeed. This is my chance to make money." Then we get another glimpse of his past. He says, "I grew up surrounded by cameras, makeup, lighting, framing. These were basic skills for me. People always compared me to actors, said I'd make a great one. An audition like this? I'll crush it. I'll win the prize, the money, all of it." He laughs to himself, full of confidence. Then he adds, "I'll invest the money I make." Suddenly, another woman yells at Si-young's mom, "What are you doing? Why aren't you going inside?" His mom replies politely, "Why don't you go in first?" Now they're in the elevator. Si-young glares at the rich woman and her child. His mom smiles and says, "Your son is adorable." The nanny responds, "He's our young master." But the woman interrupts and snaps, "Don't talk to us, got it? You're here for the audition too, right? Trying to increase the competition?" She smirks and adds, "Well, go ahead and try, but my kid's going to be selected either way." Hearing that, Si-young gets furious and glares at her. She looks back at him and mutters, "Why is this baby staring at me like that?" Si-young thinks, look at her, head to toe in luxury brands, treating her nanny like a servant. Textbook rich lady behavior. But just wait, I'll destroy you in the audition. The scene shifts to the audition hall. There are other kids waiting too. Si-young's mom says, "This doesn't look easy." But Si-young replies in his head, "It's not hard either. This is just a simple camera test. They're just checking how we look on screen. If you can act a little, even better. But the issue is, these hot lights, kids can't handle them for long." Right then, the director calls up the rich lady's son. The assistant director says, "Oh, you're the wife of the CEO of Duke Pong Paper, right?" Si-young hears that and thinks, Duke Pong Paper? So they're from that family? Their company's doing okay, I guess, but they're way below mine. He looks over with a dangerous glare and thinks, let's see how good your son really is. The assistant director asks the boy to smile for the camera, but he gets scared and starts crying. The assistant says, if he keeps crying like this, we won't be able to continue. The rich woman snaps, "What are you saying? He'll stop crying. Just wait a second." The assistant replies calmly, "But other kids are waiting too." The woman yells, "What's the rush? Can't you people wait?" Right then the director says, "Next child, Si-young." Si-young's mom says, "We're here," and helps him onto the stage. His audition is about to begin, but the rich lady suddenly barges in and shoves Si-young's mom aside. "Move, I want to see this," she says. Si-young, now fired up, thinks, "Yeah, you should watch carefully. I'll show you exactly how I get selected." He starts acting. and the director is immediately impressed. Get my camera, quick, bring my camera, the director shouts. Si-young, look here, look this way. They begin snapping side-angle shots and giving him pose directions. Cute pose. Yeah, just like that. Amazing. This kid, he's a genius. We have to take him, he adds. Si-young's mom watches in awe, thinking, our Si-young-guk, he really is a genius. The director comes over and says, I'm director Kwaku. Your son is incredible. We'd like to sign a contract right away. Do you have any conditions? Si-young's mom is still in shock. She says, Director, is my Si-young-guk really talented? All of this, it's so new to me. The director says, sorry, I guess I just got a little too excited. Of course Si-young has talent. He wasn't just naturally confident in front of the camera, he was actually paying attention to everything I was saying. Like he really understood it all. And in fact, Si-young was understanding everything. The director continues, I'm genuinely excited to work with him. But right then, the rich woman snaps, what the hell is going on here? The final audition hasn't even happened yet, and you all are acting like the winner's already been decided. That's not fair. I refuse to accept anyone else as the winner except for Jae. Then we see the final list of candidates. Si-young and the rich lady's son, Jae, are both selected. One of the staff members asks them to wait. The woman's still visibly irritated. Si-young's mom says, our Si-young made it to the finals, and there are so many adorable and talented kids here. But even then, Si-young stood out the most. Am I actually getting nervous? Jahee's nanny comments. Is something wrong? Si-young's mom replies, I just need to use the restroom. The nanny says, give me the baby. Go quickly. Si-young's mom leaves. The nanny looks at Si-young and says, the more I look at him, he really does seem like a happy kid. Hearing that, the rich woman explodes. Are you serious? I'm already furious that they're even comparing Jae to this kid. Do you want to lose your job? If you like him so much, why don't you go raise him yourself? The nanny immediately apologizes. Si-young hears all this, and he's fuming. He thinks, look at the way she talks. I really wish I could slap her. That would be so satisfying. Right then, the assistant director walks over and asks, is Si-young's guardian here? The rich woman, pretending to help, says, nope, she's not here yet. You can speak freely. Si-young starts getting suspicious. Suddenly, the woman yells at the assistant director, seriously? Are we really going to go with that kid? Jae was already decided as the winner, wasn't he? The assistant director replies, yes, ma'am, that's true. Si-young hears that and realizes, something's off here. Actually, everything is off. This whole thing's rigged. The winner was already chosen before the auditions even began. The rest of the kids were just being used as props to make their real winner look better. It was all planned. The assistant director says, ma'am, please calm down. If the director finds out, it could cause problems. The woman scoffs. The director? He doesn't know who our family is. The people above already made the decision. What's he going to do? The assistant replies, they've won a lot of international awards. Even the higher-ups can't touch the director right now. But either way, he cannot find out about this. You've prepared Jae for the final audition, haven't you? The woman says, of course I did. I even hired a private acting coach so he could rehearse properly. The assistant director nods. Good. That's all we need. After all, that other kid isn't going to outperform Jae. She walks over to Jae and says, all right, Jae, how about we go over the lines one more time? Repeat after me. Si-young gives a small smile. Then, the final audition begins. The director announces, the winner will be the one who can say the lines most naturally. Si-young looks at his mom and says, don't worry, I've got this. The director calls, action! Si-young thinks to himself, how do they react on set during shoots? Direction counts as part of the score. I have to position myself just right for the camera angles. And with that, Si-young heads straight toward the camera and the director, while Jae instead walks toward his mom. His mom quickly says, no, Jae, not this way, toward the camera. The director watches and says, should we just skip Jae and start with Si-young's test? The assistant director agrees. Have him say the lines. She thinks to herself, Jae practiced, but this other kid, he doesn't know anything. He's definitely going to mess it up. She's just about to prompt Si-young when he suddenly starts speaking. And he says the lines in the cutest, most perfect way. The director smiles and says, just as I expected. Si-young never disappoints. My eyes weren't wrong. But at that moment, the rich woman steps forward and insists, just give Jae one more try. The director knows she's pushy, so he gives in. Okay, Jae, can you try saying daddy for us? But instead of speaking, Jae starts crying. It's a total embarrassment. The woman says, this doesn't make sense. I trained him for this. The director turns sharply and says, what did you just say? And the assistant director shuts everything down. The audition is over. Thank you, everyone. Si-young, smiling, says, there's nothing you can do now. I've already won. But moments later, the rich lady's kid is announced as the winner. Well, of course that happened. Si-young's mom protests to the assistant director. That can't be right. My Si-young performed amazingly. The assistant replies, just because a child acts cute doesn't mean they're fit to be a child actor. Then the rich woman walks back over and sneers. You thought you could win with just a little charm? Do you even know your place? A second place finish is more than enough for a low-class kid like yours. I'm sure you worked really hard, but that's life. She walks off. Siyoung's mom, angry, says, how could she say that in front of my child? But Siyoung looks completely calm. He tells her to relax and says, everything went exactly the way I expected, if my calculations are right. Just then, the director comes running over. He says to Siyoung's mom, can we talk for a minute? Then we get a flashback. When Siyoung first heard that Jae was already chosen as the winner. Siyoung narrates, the moment I found that out, I changed my plan. In my past life, I saw too many of these kinds of corrupt setups. You can't beat people who've already bought their way to the top. So if losing is inevitable, what's the point of fighting? A real businessman always plays the long game, and that game is connections. Back in the present, the director says, I wanted to speak with you. I'm sure this has come as a surprise. It really seems like they rigged the audition. I'm sorry, Siyoung. I didn't want you to see this nonsense. Siyoung, smiling brightly, says, so what's next? The director invites them to the commercial shoot happening the next week. Siyoung beams and thinks, that's exactly what I wanted. I don't want to be a one-time commercial model. If I impress the director, that means connections. Then I'll keep getting child roles, become a child star, and eventually, rich. That's the goal. I need to secure a stable and consistent source of income. With a commercial like this, you can do anything. I'm going to win the director over, and then I'll make tons of money. And with that money, I'll support my family. Siyoung's mom asks, why do we need to come to the commercial shoot? The director explains, for baby models, we always prepare 1 or 2 backups in case the main kid gets sick. Honestly, we're worried. The current winner cries way too easily. Well, of course he does. The director holds Siyoung's mom's hand and says, please, just help us out this one time. Siyoung's mom says, I just wonder, will Siyoung really be okay? And Siyoung replies, of course I'll be fine. Just say yes to them. You could practically see the dollar signs in his eyes. This kid is seriously greedy. The director laughs and says, it really feels like he understands everything we're saying. If all kids were like Siyoung, my job would be a whole lot easier. By the way, ma'am, could you give me your contact info? I'd love to work with Siyoung on future projects too. Here's my business card. Siyoung's mom gives him their home number. Then the scene jumps to 1 week later, on the day of the shoot. Siyoung's mom brings him to the set and says, I can't believe there's such a beautiful place like this in the forest. Just then, the assistant director shows up, and Siyoung instantly gets angry. That's the same corrupt assistant director. She looks at Siyoung and says, why is this kid staring at me like that? Anyway, let me show you to the waiting room. You're here as the backup, right? That's what the director told me. This way, please. Siyoung's eyes wander over to a washing machine. It's a product made by his family's company, Samsung John Turbo Washer. He thinks, this product was a massive hit. The revolutionary drum system made Samsung John's stock prices soar. Grandpa was so proud of it. Is this commercial about that? Right then, that rich woman storms in and yells, why are they here? They already lost. But this time, Siyoung's mom doesn't hold back. She says, the director called us here as the backup models. And please don't use that kind of language in front of the children. The woman snaps. Why do we even need backup models? The assistant explains. In case Jae suddenly gets sick, we'll need a backup ready. The woman fires back. Jae doesn't need any of that. What's so hard about this commercial anyway? He's in perfect condition. Yeah, well, he sure doesn't look like it. She mutters. Anyway, you people are useless. Just go sit quietly in the corner. Then a woman walks in. It's the lead actress, Senmi. She says, are these the kids I'll be filming with today? The assistant replies, yes, you're right. That boy over there is Siyoung, the backup model. And this one here is Jae, the winner of the audition. Sanmi goes over to Jae and tries talking to him, but he completely ignores her and then starts crying. She frowns and says, well, I guess he's not interested in me. So she walks over to Siyoung, who's only focused on building connections. He greets her warmly, totally friendly. She says, I've never met a baby this outgoing. Siyoung's mom replies, yes, our Siyoung is very friendly with everyone. Then Sami says, I actually think this kid is way cuter. Can I shoot with him instead? The rich woman overhears that and gets furious. She grabs Sami's arm tightly and shouts, what kind of nonsense are you saying? Don't say stupid things. Sami pulls her hand back and says, excuse me, who even are you? And do you even realize what you're doing? Before the woman can say anything, a man places a hand on her shoulder. I heard someone raising their voice. What's going on here? Sanmi looks up and says, Vice Chairman, what are you doing here? The man says, there's no way I'd miss the shoot for our new product. Siyoung sees him and is completely shocked. Because this man is his father, John Jong, Vice Chairman of the Samjeon Group. What kind of person is he really? Siyoung explains, he's not like my grandfather, John Yoshin, but he's a solid vice chairman. He handled the company well during crises, restructured everything, and wasn't afraid to invest in new areas. People see him as a smart business leader, a successful vice chairman of Samjun. But as a person, as a husband and father, he was terrible. Si-young says, seeing him brings back all the old memories. Then we see a flashback. Si-young recalls, my father had countless affairs. When I was 10, he introduced me to another woman. The woman said to him, so you're Si-young Book. You're adorable. From now on, take care of me, okay? Si-young narrates, she was just one of my father's many mistresses, and as soon as I saw her, I mentally erased her. That woman was none other than Sammy. Back in the present, she says, I'm shooting with some kids today, and I really like this one. Then Si-young's father walks over and says hello to him, but a staff member interrupts. Excuse me, sir, it's time to go. Oh, wow, I'm running late. Sorry, I have to leave. Before going, the vice chairman tells the rich woman, please make sure everything goes smoothly during filming. She freezes, completely shaken. Yes, sir, I'll do my best. After all, she's standing in front of the vice chairman of the Samjun group, someone leagues above her. Si-young thinks, he always seemed like a flashy playboy who chased women. But in critical moments, there was a charisma in him that made him a true corporate leader. That was my father. The vice chairman pats Si-young on the head and says, take care during the shoot, and leaves. Si-young quietly says to himself, Father, my new life is going to be completely different. I've found something I can finally call family, and I'll protect them. One day I'll build a company even bigger than Samjun, and we will meet again. The assistant director announces, all right, everyone, we're about to start filming. The director will be here any minute. Get ready. Si-young smiles again and says, the past life stayed in the past. Let's focus on what actually matters now. Clearly, he's planning something involving Jahi. He explains the commercial. It's a simple concept. In a beautiful forest villa, a mom is doing laundry with her baby beside her. She's washing dad's white shirt that got dirty from sweat. The Samjun washing machine spins, and the shirt comes out sparkling white. The baby rubs his cheek against the shirt, happy, and calls out to his dad. The commercial ends with a refreshing scene of the shiny washing machine. In my past life, this ad was a huge success. It even won the Dongai Advertising Award. The child actor in it became instantly famous. So I have to do this commercial. Then, as the shoot begins, Jahi starts crying. The lead actress says, what is going on? Every time I go near him, he tries to hit me. Si-young's mom says, why is he suddenly acting like this? Si-young smiles. Exactly. Why is he doing that? He adds, everything's going just according to my genius plan. We get a flashback. Si-young says, that kid, Jahi, he's miserable because of his mom. I gave him a brilliant tip. I told him, whenever Sammy comes close, cry your heart out and you'll get to go home faster. Am I a mind reader? I don't know. Maybe because we're both kids, we could understand each other. The director says, this isn't working. Let's film with the second model. The rich woman shouts, what do you mean? My baby won. The director responds, we've been delayed for over an hour. The child won't cooperate and he hits the lead actress every time she comes near. What else can we do? He gets stern. We have to wrap the shoot today. The rich woman yells, shut up. Don't you know who our family is? She pulls out her phone and says, the chairman of Dukong adores his grandchild. I'm calling him right now. Si-young watches and mutters, wow, a phone from the 90s? The woman shouts, I'm contacting him right now and I'll have all of you replaced. Just then, the lead actress, Senmi, walks up and slaps that rich woman across the face. Everyone is completely shocked. Senmi says, what the hell is this? I can't stand it when people who have nothing to do with the project come to the set and cause drama. And just because you're the wife of a duck paper executive, I get it. You enjoy acting like you're above everyone else. She turns to the director and says, let's start filming again. I want to shoot this commercial with this kid. The director agrees. All right, everyone get ready. The rich woman shouts, you're choosing to shoot with this low-class kid instead of Jahi? What can he even do? Si-young's mom quickly covers Si-young's ears so he doesn't hear any of it. Si-young narrates, those camera lights, they were one of the few things that stuck with me until the end of my previous life. Acting confidently in front of a camera was one of my strongest skills, so I know exactly how to handle this. The assistant director shows Sanmi her final lines. She says, look at how clean Dad's dirty shirt got. Right, baby? It's super clean and fluffy now. Si-young gives such an adorable expression that everyone on set is impressed again. The director says, keep the main camera like that. Everyone else, focus around Si-young. Si-young keeps acting. And the director says, his eyes are locked right on the camera. What even is this kid? Even the lead actress is stunned. Seriously, how is he acting this well for a commercial? The assistant director shows Sanmi the final lines. She delivers them perfectly, and the shoot for the washing machine ad wraps up nicely. Later that evening, the same rich woman is still yelling, just because he gave one cute performance, now you want to make him the commercial model instead of Jahi? The director teases, what about Jahi? The kid couldn't even act. Si-young is exhausted at this point. Senmi walks over to Si-young's mom and says, Let her scream all she wants. It's not going to change anything. What's the point of this drama? I mean, what can we do if her kid couldn't act? Compared to that, our Siyang was amazing. I didn't expect to finish the shoot in just 2 hours. That woman storms over to Sammy and snaps, "Don't make me laugh. You have no idea how much money I spent on this crappy set." "Right, assistant director? I bet you got paid plenty too." The director overhears and says, "Wait, assistant director, you got paid off? We're going to have a serious talk later." As the rich woman walks away, she shouts again, "I'll remember this, all of you." But Siyang doesn't say a word. He's just too tired. The director turns to Siyang's mom. "I'm so sorry. This must have been overwhelming for you." She replies, "No, you've worked very hard. We appreciate that." The director smiles. "Actually, I should be the one thanking you. I don't even want to imagine what would have happened if Siyang hadn't been here today." Siyang hears this and smiles proudly. The director continues, "That was our last shoot of the day. You're all free to go home now. The payment will be handled through the company, honestly and with full respect." Hearing that, Siyang starts laughing, and his mom beams, "All right, time to head home. You must be exhausted." Sanmi chimes in, "Would it be all right if I dropped you off in my van?" Siyang's mom agrees. Cut to the van ride. Siyang is fast asleep. Sanmi says, "He looks so adorable when he sleeps." His mom replies, "He must be really tired. And thank you so much for giving us a ride in your nice car." But Sanmi says, "No, I should be the one thanking Siyang." That surprises Siyang's mom. Sanmi explains, "Today, Siyang was an incredible lead actor. I should thank him. Because of him, I'll actually be able to get to my next job on time." His eyes were following the camera lights perfectly. He really understood the camera work and was syncing perfectly with my rhythm. It might just be coincidence, but he even matched the angle of my face. Then Siyang, still half asleep, says, "Your right side looks better on camera." Sammi laughs. "See? He gets the flow of the camera. He gave a performance that could totally dominate the screen. In my eyes, Siyang is already a complete actor." Siyang's mom hears that and says, "Our Siyang really is something." Then Sanmi says, "If that's the case, I'd like to make a suggestion." Siyang wakes up right then, and Sanmi says something, but we don't hear it yet. Both Siyang and his mom are stunned. Siyang smiles and says, "Are you serious?" Cut to the next scene. They're back home. The landlord says, "Here's your payment, 4 million won. The original fee was just 3 million, but the director told us to increase it." Siyang's parents are completely shocked. Siyang grins. "Just as I expected, being a child model was a smart choice. What other way could I have made money in this kid's body? This is enough to start some capital. If I invest in stocks or gold," he gives a devilish smile. His dad says, 4 million won. I've never even held that kind of money before." But Siyang's mom looks a little worried and says to the landlord, "Yesterday, actress Sanmi gave me this." Siyang says, "Ah, so that's why you were so shocked, Mom." The landlord looks at it and says, "This is a card from Sami's agency, Sing Song Entertainment." His mom says, "I think they were really impressed by Siyang's talent. That's why they want to bring him into their agency as an exclusive child actor." Siyang's dad is stunned. "An exclusive child actor? Are they trying to make our Siyang a celebrity?" His mom replies, "I don't know, but if he does well, that would be amazing. Honestly, this is all so unexpected." The landlord looks thoughtful for a moment, then says, "Don't worry, I'll look into it. I've heard of Sing Song Entertainment. I'll check who the CEO is and how they treat their actors." Hearing that, Siyang's mom gets emotional and smiles. Siyang watches and thinks, "She's doing so much for us." As the landlord gets ready to leave, Siyang's mom stops her. She asks, "Can I ask you something? Why are you helping us so much? You're the first one who really saw Siyang's talent, and you're always so willing to help." The landlord looks surprised and says softly, "I just want to support you. I grew up all alone. I know how hard it is. I saved money by cutting down on food and clothes just to buy this building. Then I met you, this young couple working so hard together. It felt really nice to see that. I just wanted to cheer you on. But maybe I've gotten too involved." Siyang's mom smiles and says, "Can I call you Uni?" Uni means older sister. The landlord looks surprised. She says, "If you don't mind, I want to treat you like family." The landlord smiles gently and says, "All right then, and from now on, I'll call you So Young." Siyang's mom's name is So Young. She adds, "So if I ever call her So Young, don't be confused, okay?" So Young smiles and says, "Got it, Myung Uni." From now on, they'll call the landlord Myung. Siyang watches all this and says, "Ah, so that's what's going on. The weather really is nice today." 2 weeks later, we see Siyang's dad at work. He says, "Just like you asked, boss, we closed the shop early." His boss, Park Won, is the owner of the shop. Siyang's dad says, "Thanks so much for letting us close early today so we could watch Siyang's commercial." His boss replies, "Of course. We've got a huge TV here, and I want to see our Siyang's commercial too." Siyang, annoyed, mutters to himself, "If this old guy wasn't my dad's boss, I wouldn't let this slide. But fine, he did me a favor, so whatever." Just then, Myung arrives. So Young welcomes her in. "You made it right on time. Myung says, feels like we're all here to watch a movie. Seong's dad calls out, it's starting. Everyone gather around. They all sit together to watch Seong's commercial. Everyone's beaming at his cuteness. Park Won even starts clapping. Myung says, that was amazing. So well edited too. If all goes well, this commercial might win commercial of the year. Seong's dad hugs him and says, I'm so proud of you, Seong. How is such a beautiful and talented kid, my son? So-young laughs and says, oh, hush. Just then Park gets a call, and he's shocked. On the other end is the director. I heard you're all watching the commercial together today. There's something urgent I need to talk about with Seong's family. May I speak with them? And right then, we're introduced to a few new faces. Scene shifts. We see the director's office, where Seong's parents are also present. The director says, thank you for coming. Seong's dad replies, thank you for inviting us to your office. The director turns to Seong and says, so how are you doing, Seong? Seong smiles and responds, Director. Surprised, the director says, wow, he's talking even more than before. Seong's mom laughs and says, yeah, he's at that stage where he's learning how to talk. He's chatting away all day long. The director chuckles and says, looks like we can start giving Seong some longer lines. At this rate, he'll be reciting scripts like a pro in no time. Honestly, I'm excited to watch him grow. He then invites the parents to sit and continues. The reason I asked you to come today is to talk about a new program where Seong will have the lead role. The show is called Just Baby. It's a parenting reality show where 5 famous idol group members will live with Seong. And the idol group we're partnering with is, just then, a boy walks in and says, I'm Taeyong, the leader of Just, which is the group's name. Taeyong says, I'm really excited to be working with you all. Seong's mom gets really excited seeing him. Taeyong says, looks like you know our group? Seong's mom replies, I've seen you guys on TV. Taeyong smiles. We still have a lot to learn, but we're working hard to become the country's top idol group. Please keep supporting us. Seong's mom says, of course you can do it. Your singing and dancing are amazing. Seong's dad, however, clearly doesn't like this and says grumpily, so Seong's mom has someone else she likes besides me. Seong jumps in and says, jealousy is useless, Dad. The director adds, once we start filming, you'll meet the rest of the members too. That'll be fun, right? Seong's mom hesitantly says, but isn't this a bit too much for Seong? Seong thinks to himself, Mom, I'll never forget that you chose me over those idols. The director says, but I really believe Seong is the heart of this program. He doesn't just understand things. He feels them. It's like he actually experiences everything. His facial expressions are perfect, and he always knows where the camera is. Honestly, we can't imagine anyone else in the lead role. What do you think? Seong gets hyped up and thinks, of course we have to do this. I remember now. I've seen the show in my past life. He starts telling us about the show. Its concept was totally unique. Putting a child with an idol group. It was made for audiences of all ages. Young people would find the baby cute, and older people would be reminded of how hard parenting was. In the end, the show became a national sensation. It was the first to truly establish the parenting reality genre. For Seong, this was perfect. A future child star building his name and fortune. He suddenly starts calling, Director, Director! The director laughs and says, looks like Seong is really excited about this. Seong's dad, though, looks worried and says, I'm a little concerned. If Seong keeps appearing on TV, he might not grow up like a normal kid. I want to raise him like a regular, sweet child, not a celebrity. The director looks surprised. Then Taeyong steps in and says, I get it. Actually, I was a child actor too. Growing up in the public eye means maturing in front of everyone. But I have no regrets. I had the talent and the right environment to shine, and that's what got me here. He looks at Seong's dad and says, why don't you trust your son? If he has what it takes to shine, shouldn't you give him the chance? Seong's dad looks at his son and thinks, my son is the most beautiful and talented of them all. If it's your destiny to reach the top and shine the brightest, then so be it. He finally says, I understand, and shakes the director's hand. Please take good care of Lee Seong. Then we see the countdown to Korea's first ever parenting reality show, Just Baby. Contracts are signed, photos are taken, and finally we move to the first day of shooting. Taeyong says on camera, hello, the new standard of K-pop. We are Just. We see the full group. Taeyong, the leader. This guy is Lux. The one with the pink hair is Zion. The other guy is Bum, and finally there's Michael. Zion walks up to Seong and says, so you're the baby? Nice to meet you, Mr. Seong Book. We're excited to work with you. Then he grabs Seong's mom's hand and says, especially with you, ma'am. I heard you're a fan. Seong's dad gets angry again. The director says, from today we'll be shooting in Just Dorm. We have high hopes for the show, so let's all do our best. Seong thinks to himself, these are the same people I met in my past life. We get a flashback. Taeyong was a CF model for Samjun, and Baeom, who's now an actor, was also exclusive to Samjun. Seong used to be the chairman of the company, and these guys used to perform at his events. Back in the present, Seong says, these are the same people who performed at our company events. Michael walks up to Sayoung and says, "So you're the baby? You're not that cute," and tries to touch him. Sayoung slaps his hand away and thinks, "How dare you touch me so casually?" Taeyong yells at Michael, "You just smoked, didn't you? And didn't even wash your hands? You can't touch a baby like that." Sayoung glares at Michael and thinks, "This Korean-American guy is still as low as I remember him from my past life. Fine. From now on, I'm taking full control of this show." He laughs internally and thinks, "I'll craft the perfect character arc for each of them." The rest of the members gather around and start praising Sayoung, but Michael stands off to the side saying, "Just wait and watch." Scene shifts to the director explaining the shoot. "We'll do a 3-day pre-shoot in the Just Dorm. We'll edit that into 3 pilot episodes. Depending on viewer reactions, we'll finalize the regular broadcast schedule. Daytime will be general shooting, and at night, once the staff leaves, we'll switch to observation cameras. Sayoung's parents can stay at the nearby hotel." His parents look anxious. The director says, "I understand you're nervous about leaving your son here, but please trust us. We'll take great care of Sayoung." "Right. Just?" Lux says. "Of course." Kang says, "Leave it to us." "All right, let's all do our best," says the director. Assistant director begins narration. In a semi-basement apartment somewhere in Seoul, 5 guys known as Just are chasing their dream of becoming top idols. But their lives take an unexpected turn when a baby suddenly enters the picture. We see Sayoung looking at them innocently, while the entire group is frozen in shock. Sayoung's mom says, "There are no scripted lines, right?" Sayoung's dad confirms, "It's a reality show." Assistant director says, "He seems unsure how to react." The director says, "Let's wait a bit." Zion says, "Dude, the camera's rolling. Say something." Taeyong adds, "What are we even supposed to say to a baby?" Sayoung watches and thinks, "These guys have no clue what they're supposed to do. Looks like I'll have to step in." Then he starts crying. Lux says, "What do we do now?" Taeyong says, "Let's calm him down first." He awkwardly holds Sayoung and says, "Be a good boy, Sayoung." Zion says, "Bro, the way you're holding him looks dangerous. Let me do it." Zion calms him down and asks, "Were you scared?" Lux and Taeyong look surprised. Zion adds, "Babies always like good-looking people." Taeyong says, "What are you even talking about?" Zion replies, "Babies don't lie. Got it?" Sayoung thinks, "Just as I thought, each of them has a distinct personality." Taeyong is the leader, smart and responsible, almost like a dad. Zion is a flower boy, a little self-obsessed but with a motherly touch. Lux is a laid-back athlete, like a friendly big brother. Biom is quiet but always thinking about others. They're a perfect mix for playing house. And that guy, Michael says, taking care of kids is way too much work. Sayoung points at him and thinks, "Honestly, I wanted to make him the villain, but for this group's success, I'll make him the rival." Zion notices something and nervously says, "Bro, I think Sayoung's diaper needs to be changed. It feels heavy." Taeyong says, "What? I've never even touched a diaper." Michael steps in, saying, "You guys are crazy. I'll handle this." Turns out he's raised his 3 younger siblings, so he's confident. But as soon as he takes the diaper off, Sayoung refreshes right onto Michael's face. Sayoung says, "I feel much better now. So how was that? At least react a little." Everyone is silent, then bursts out laughing. Sayoung says, "See? That's the comedy. This shoot was a success." Later, the director says they'll take a 2-hour break before the evening shoot. Just members are exhausted. Lux says, "Reality shows are seriously tough." Taeyong says, "If we had a script, this would be easier." Meanwhile, Sayoung's mom praises him and gives him his favorite, banana. He thinks, "I never used to touch this in my past life, but now I actually like it." Taeyong comes over, and Sayoung's dad calls him sir. Taeyong says, "You don't need to be so formal. Just talk casually." He adds, "Sayoung is really interesting. Every time I'm around him, I lose myself in the moment. Everyone's just naturally acting. But somehow every scene turns out perfect and entertaining." Meanwhile, Zion is in his own world saying, "A flower boy who can do childcare. Am I really that amazing?" Taeyong says, "It's like Sayoung already knows all our roles and is acting accordingly." Sayoung's dad laughs. "It's probably just coincidence, right?" Taeyong says, "Yeah, maybe. He's just a kid after all, but he's definitely shining more than I expected." Michael comes out after his shower and sees the assistant director putting something in the fridge. He asks, "What's that?" She replies, "It's baby food for Sayoung's dinner." Michael snatches it away with a smirk and says, "I'll prepare it myself." He thinks, since baby Sayoung is so dull and boring, I'll make him entertaining. Then he pulls out a packet of chili sauce from his pocket. Michael says, "Making an artist do baby shows. How crazy are these people?" He adds the chili sauce to the food and says, "Now it's your turn to suffer, kid." Scene shifts, observation cameras are set up. The staff leaves. Taeyong says, "So what should we do now?" Everyone is tired. Lux says, "Let's eat first. I'm starving." Baeom says, "But I don't know how to cook." Zion looks miserable. Sayoung encourages him, "Don't give up so easily." Taeyong says, we gotta prep something. Lux says, at least I can make ramen. Taeyong adds, and we gotta feed Sayoung his baby food. Michael steps in. I've already taken care of it, and walks over with the food bowl. Taeyong says, wow, you were mad all day, and now you want to help? Michael says, say what you want, but I'll be the one feeding the baby. Sayoung senses something's off. Michael says, come on, kid, your mom made this just for you. But Sayoung smiles and asks Michael to try it first. Taeyong laughs and says, Sayoung, are you asking Michael to taste it first? You're seriously too cute. Michael hesitates. Taeyong says, what's the big deal? He's just asking you to try it. What's the problem? Michael says, why should I eat baby food? Taeyong rolls his eyes and says, fine, I'll take all of Sayoung's love for myself, and goes to taste it. Michael tries to stop him, but Taeyong eats it. His face immediately changes. Zion asks, what happened, Taeyong? Sayoung says angrily, I knew it. You messed with my food. You're done now. Michael panics. Taeyong says, it tasted like chili sauce. Zion shouts, what? But how did that get in the baby food? They all look at Michael. He finally admits he put chili sauce in it. It was just a joke. It makes for great footage. Don't you guys know anything about entertainment? Taeyong yells. Entertainment or not, there are some lines you never cross. Zion grabs Michael by the collar and shouts, are you insane? What if something happened to Sayoung after eating that? Sayoung thinks, Zion, you've got some real charisma. Taeyong kneels beside Sayoung. I'm sorry. Michael's just immature. Were you surprised? Michael says, why are you even talking to that kid? He doesn't understand anything anyway. Taeyong snaps. Sayoung is smart. He does understand. And even if he didn't, you still owe him a proper apology. Sayoung smiles and thinks, these guys have potential. That's good. Then with a mischievous grin, he thinks, starting today, I'm officially taking the lead. 2 weeks later, we're shown a scene at Si-hyung's house where Myung tells them the news, 20%. Hearing that, Si-hyung's parents are pretty shocked. Myung says, did you both watch the first episode of Just Baby that aired last Friday? That episode recorded a 20% viewership rating. Si-hyung's mom, surprised, says, we really enjoyed watching it, mainly because Si-hyung was in it. Se-hyung's dad adds, 20% viewership. That's amazing, isn't it? Myung replies, it's more than amazing. It's incredible. Even MVC's flagship entertainment shows barely pull around 15%. Se-hyung's mom says, I got a call from the director. He told me the program's been added to the regular schedule now. Myung responds, seriously? That's amazing news. Congratulations, Se-hyung book. Si-hyung smiles and thinks to himself, of course this is happening. I'm the one doing it. Success at this level is only natural. But I'm not satisfied with just this. My goal is money, fame, and becoming rich, then rising to the top. I'm a genius. He starts laughing again. Myung thinks to herself, he's really a unique kid. Se-hyung's mom turns to Myung and says, oh, right, I wanted to ask you something. A few days ago, someone from Sin-sung Entertainment came to our house. Hearing that, Myung looks a bit shocked. Se-hyung's mom continues, they came to congratulate us on the show's success and brought a fruit basket. The scene shifts to a flashback. A man is telling them, CEO Sin-sung wants to meet with you. When you have time, please visit our agency. Back in the present, Se-hyung's mom asks, so, what should we do now? Myung says, I looked into Sin-sung Entertainment. Seems like they have a lot of influence in the entertainment industry, but there are rumors that the CEO might have connections with gangsters. Se-hyung's parents get worried hearing the word gangsters. Myung says, should we go? Refusing an invitation from Sin-sung's CEO could be hard. Let's just check it out. See what they want. I'll come with you. It'd be rude to decline without even hearing them out. Si-hyung thinks Sin-sung Entertainment. Sin-sung Jung. Why does that name sound familiar? Then suddenly his expression changes. Wait, could it be that guy? Don't go. You must not go there. That man, Sin-sung Jung, he's the kind of person you should never get into a contract with. The scene shifts to the Sin-sung Entertainment office. CEO Sin-sung Jung smiles and says, please come in. Make yourselves at home. Myung says, thank you for inviting us, CEO Sin-sung Jung. But may I ask, why did you want to meet us? Sin-sung Jung replies, I wanted to discuss something for Se-hyung's benefit. Hearing that, Si-hyung thinks angrily, our Se-hyung? You don't even know me. He nearly kicks him out of frustration. Myung asks, for his benefit? Jung says, I'm talking about a contract, an exclusive contract. That means Se-hyung would become a partner with Sin-sung Entertainment, Korea's #1 agency. It's a 10-year exclusive deal. Se-hyung's mom looks shocked, and Si-hyung is silently thinking. Myung says, an exclusive contract for 10 years? Jung continues, you've heard of actor Jang Dong-gun and MC Yeonmi, right? They're also under exclusive contracts with us. Sin-sung is home to Korea's top talents, and we really value Se-hyung's talent. That's why we prepared special contract terms for him. Jung begins reading the contract. Si-hyung says, let me see it too. After reading, Myung is visibly shocked. Shin Sung-jung explains, the contract will be a 10-year exclusive deal with a 7-3 profit split. Of course, 7 to us. Sa-young is stunned. 7-3? That's ridiculous. This contract is basically slavery. Forcing this kind of deal on a new artist is wrong. In reality, the contract says 70% of profits go to the company and only 30% to Sa-young. That's exploitation, plain and simple. But Jung, trying to sound confident, says, everyone else thinks this is a great opportunity. One of the employees adds, absolutely, boss. Sa-young thinks to himself angrily, this guy's using the same tactics again. Just like before, Shin Sung-jung. We're shown a flashback. Si-hyung says, in my previous life, Shin Sung-jung was closely connected with our company, Sam Ji-on, especially with my father, Vice Chairman Ji-on Jae-hyung. He met Shin Sung through MC Yeon-mi, and they funneled Sam Ji-on's advertising budget directly to Shin Sung Entertainment. Shin Sung-jung even showed loyalty to my dad, but in the end, he went to prison for threatening and assaulting his own celebrities. Back in the present, Shin Sung-jung says, I've been in this industry for 10 years, and I've never seen a child actor as talented as Sa-young. Hand him over to me, and I'll make him a great actor. Then his internal monologue reveals his true plans. Child actors usually lose popularity as they grow up. So while they're still in the spotlight, trap them in long-term contracts, milk them for advertisement money, and when they're no longer useful, just toss them away. No one supports them anyway. They're perfect targets. But before his plan can succeed, Myung says, sorry, but we reject your offer. Si-hyung is thrilled. Jung asks, but why? Myung replies, a 70-30 split is unfair, and a 10-year contract isn't right for Sa-young. His value will only grow in the future. Jung, now irritated, says, you sound very confident. I can tell you really like that kid, but you clearly don't know much about the entertainment industry. The child actor market isn't that big. Their earnings are nothing compared to adult actors. Sa-young thinks, this jerk is trying to belittle us. Jung adds, what if his face changes as he grows older? Then he'll lose all his value, right? Sa-young's mom quickly covers his ears and says, how can you say such things in front of a child? Sa-young stares daggers at Jung and says, and look who's talking. You'll end up looking like a frog in your old age. But me? I'll only get better with time. Sa-young starts yelling, and his mom tries to calm him down. Myung stands up and says, you clearly have no manners. We're leaving now. Jung says, but miss, you're not even his mother. Why do you keep interfering? Outsiders should stay out of it. Sa-young's mom gets mad and is about to speak, but Myung says, I'm his manager. So yes, I can speak. Let's go, Sa-young. Then she turns to Jung and says, I used to work at an advertising company, and I can tell you with full confidence, this contract is unfair. Goodbye. They begin to leave. Jung yells, you'll regret this decision. How dare you disrespect me? Shin Sung-jung, you think you'll still be able to work in this industry? Sa-young thinks, now he's showing his true face. Myung replies calmly, we'll see, and they walk out of the office. Outside, Myung mutters, what a pathetic man, threatening a pregnant woman. Is he even human? Sa-young thinks, you said it. Myung turns to Sa-young and asks, are you okay? That must have been a lot to take in. Sa-young says, honestly, I think you had it tougher than I did. Myung smiles. People like that are everywhere in this industry, and there's no need to sign a contract with a company like that. Let's go. There should be a bus nearby. As they walk, Sa-young's mom calls out, Unnie, are you really going to be Sa-young's manager? That surprises Myung. Sa-young thinks, that's not a bad idea. In business, you meet a lot of talented people, but trustworthy ones, rare. And she's proven herself time and again. A person who's skilled and trustworthy, that's the real deal. Myung says, look, I'm not an expert in entertainment, but Sa-young smiles and grabs her hand. In his mind, he says, be my colleague, Manager Kim. Sa-young's mom says, Unnie, I think Sa-young really likes you. And my husband and I, we don't know anything. Please help us secure Sa-young's future. Hearing that, Myung smiles softly. Because of you guys, I'm starting to dream again. I'll do my best as your manager. Sa-young's mom hugs her. Sa-young thinks, welcome, Manager Kim. Let's go make some serious money. Myung laughs. You will pay me, right? Sa-young says, of course, I'll give you everything, Unnie. Myung jokes, this doesn't feel right. Then we're shown a terrace where Shin Sung-jung stands. An employee approaches him and says, that woman claiming to be the manager, her name is Kim Myung. She used to work in advertising, and she's the landlady of the house where Sa-young's family lives. Jung grins. Landlady, huh? What a weird little team. If they won't come under me, I'll show them just how harsh this industry really is. Call the reporters. The scene shifts. We see Ta-young saying, stop! What are you doing, Michael? Michael's busy eating bananas with Sa-young. He says, I like bananas too, but you all only give them to Sa-young. Michael turns to Sa-young and says, hey, seriously, how much are you going to eat? Sa-young, annoyed, thinks, I'm eating more just so you can't have any. They start fighting over bananas, and the whole team bursts out laughing. Jae-young says, "This is too much now, Michael." But the two boys keep arguing. "Oh," Tae-young says, "all right already, just stop." Scene shifts to the director, who says, "Great job with the morning shoot, everyone. Let's take a break for lunch." We see Sayoung's parents, and the director walks up to Sayoung's mom and says, "Isn't it tough waiting at the shoot site?" She smiles. "Not at all. Even after all these months of shooting, it still feels exciting and fun." The director says, "But in your condition, if you ever feel unwell, please let me know immediately." Sayoung's mom thanks him. The director asks, "By the way, when's your due date?" She says, "Pretty soon, sometime in December or January." Then the director says, "Also, about Michael, the viewers really love his bickering with Sayoung. Their mental age seems the same. They're like Tom and Jerry." He laughs. "Sometimes I feel like Michael goes a bit too far. I hope it doesn't bother you." Sayoung's mom smiles. "I trust you. I enjoy watching them squabble too. It's actually really entertaining." The director says, "Got it. I'll keep that in mind. And as always, thank you." Myung, standing nearby, watches Sayoung's mom with quiet admiration, then walks away. Meanwhile, Tae-young and Byung are tired and heading to lunch. Tae-young says, "No matter how many shoots we've done, I still can't get used to this." We see Sayan lying around, his stomach stuffed after eating way too many bananas. He says, "Man, after eating all that, I'm starting to feel a little sleepy." Suddenly, Michael shows up behind him and snaps, "You rude little brat." Sayan gets a little startled. Michael asks, "Did you seriously hit me the other day, you little punk?" Sayan gets annoyed and thinks to himself, "You're hilarious. But seriously, I've had to deal with your real personality. People think it's just some cool bad boy act, but online, people are calling Michael immature. Just some guy jealous of his new sibling. Others are saying, I bet he acts the same even when the cameras are off." Someone else comments, "Sayan and Michael's live streams are actually pretty cute and funny." Sayan, now getting irritated, thinks to himself, "You're really crossing the line these days. I've got my eyes on you. You need to learn a lesson." Michael laughs. "What's with the anger, you crazy kid?" Then he pulls Sayan's cheeks. Sayan starts tearing up and thinks, "What the hell is wrong with you?" Michael shrugs. "Hey, quit crying. I didn't even pull that hard." Just then, Myung walks in. Seeing her, Michael instantly tenses up. Myung asks, "Did you just pull Sayan's cheeks?" Michael stammers, No, it was nothing. He's just making a fuss over nothing." Myung replies calmly, "Seon doesn't get mad or cry for no reason." Sayan grins inwardly. "Well done, my manager." Myung continues, "I've noticed that during recent shoots, you've been picking on Sayan a lot. Please stop that." Michael flares up. "Are you threatening me? And why are you so protective of that little brat anyway?" Myung responds, "A little brat, huh? You do realize it's because of Sayan that you even landed a bunch of commercial shoots, right?" Michael gets embarrassed. Myung adds, "So please try to act a bit more professional and stop laying hands on a child. I trust you understand now." She takes Sayan with her and walks off. Michael stands there fuming. "I came to Korea to become a true artist, not a damn babysitter for some brat. Sang is ignoring me. The rest of the members just keep staring like I'm some villain. All because of that stupid chili sauce incident," he mutters. "This whole show sucks. Is there any way I can sabotage this thing? I'd be successful without it anyway." Just then his phone rings. "What?" he snaps. "I'm busy. Make it quick." But suddenly his eyes widen. Sin-sung Entertainment? On the other end might be none other than Sin-sung Young, who also has a grudge against Sayan. The scene cuts to the massive MBC building. The director addresses everyone. "Thanks for coming to today's special production meeting. Despite his busy schedule, Parong made it. And Sayan's family, who's become like our own, thank you too." Before the meeting begins, the assistant hands out bonuses. Ming smiles, and of course Sayan, being the little greedy guy, lights up too. The director continues. "Last week, our ratings finally crossed 30%. Higher-ups are really starting to like Sayan. We're close to the final episode now, so please keep up the great work." Tae-young is counting his money while CEO Piso stares him down. The director says, "Now, on to today's topic, the Christmas special episode." He explains, "Christmas is coming up, and there's been a request for a 90-minute family-themed special. We wanted to really capture that warm, festive atmosphere." Turning to Sayan, the director says, "You've been walking and running more lately, right?" Sayan stands up and thinks, "I've been training every day, walking and running without any excitement. That's exactly what I've been saying." The director goes on. "So Sayan and the other Just members will be in Christmas costumes. There'll be a party, dancing. Should make for some great footage. Looks like everyone likes the idea. Let's talk details." Just then, the assistant director rushes in, panicked. "We've got a problem. A newspaper article just came out about Sayan's family." They all look at the paper. The headline reads, "Just Baby shows child star Sayan Jeon book exploited for work by greedy parents." Then the scene shifts. We're shown a news segment where people are talking. One guy says, I've gathered the biggest and most important news of the week. In the first story, well, everyone in the city is talking about it. The child actor from Just Baby, John Seong book, his family's controversy. A woman sitting next to him says, "Yeah, that article was really disturbing. It said Seong's parents were exploiting him." The man replies, "Exactly. The article had no real evidence, but the public's very concerned for Seong." Then someone turns off the TV. It's the director. They were all watching the news together. Seong's mom looks visibly upset and nearly in tears. She says, "What are we supposed to do now?" The director tries to calm her. "Don't worry, there's nothing to stress about. It's just a cheap rumor trying to interfere with a successful show." That kind of thing is super common in the broadcast industry. Mi-young adds, "I'm going to find out why this article got published in the first place." Si-young stands up and says loudly to the director, "It's true, right, director?" The director looks a little surprised by his tone. Before Si-young can say anything more, his dad pulls him back and says, "This kid's being disrespectful now." In his mind, Si-young thinks, negative public opinion campaigns, they eventually turn into power. Whoever's behind these articles is targeting us for a reason. We need to figure out what they want and stay one step ahead. That's the only way we'll win. Si-young glances at the director. In his mind, he says, "With your connections in the industry, director, you're the one who has to act." The director understands what Si-young is trying to say and responds, "Si-young's right. Since this all started because of the broadcast, it's the responsibility of the network and me to handle it." Si-young nods. "You made the right call." The director continues, "There are probably reporters lurking outside right now. It might be a bit stressful, but I suggest staying home and even taking a break from coming to the set." Si-young's mom looks shocked. "But then, what about Si-young?" Mi-young steps in. "I'll take care of him." Hearing this, Si-young's mom feels relieved. The director smiles and says, "That's good. I trust you, manager." Mi-young responds, "Leave it to me. Oh, and director, I need to talk to you about something." The director adds, "Don't worry too much. I'll try to resolve this issue quickly. It'll be okay." He steps outside the house where the assistant director is waiting. She asks, "Director, did your conversation go well?" The director replies, "That article, it said that an insider claims Si-young's parents show up at every filming site and interfere in everything." The assistant director stays silent. The director says, "Feels like we've got a traitor among us. Is it you? You did something similar during auditions." The assistant director panics. "No, I didn't do it. After that day when you nearly fired me, I stopped all that stuff." The director starts thinking and mutters, "Then who could it be?" The scene shifts to a city street. A man is making an announcement. "Let's help our neighbors in need and celebrate Christmas together." Up ahead, two girls are talking. One says, "White Christmas is the best, right?" Just then, we see a mysterious figure sneaking around. The girls notice him. "Who wears sunglasses at night?" one says. "He looks suspicious," the other says. "Is he cold or what? He's all wrapped up." Suddenly, they hear a sound from a stroller. "That sounded like a baby," one girl says. The mysterious man whispers, "Si-young, stay quiet. Maybe we shouldn't have come out. I promised the director we'd stay home, but I just felt so restless. I needed some fresh air." Turns out it's Si-young's mom. She pulls the blanket off Si-young and says, "I was just walking to meet my husband after his work. Just a short walk. That's fine, right?" Then she gently tells Si-young, "I know you want to walk on your own, but we can't let people see you. Just wait a little longer." In his head, Si-young fumes. Riding in a stroller at this age is the ultimate embarrassment. This is humiliating. Let me walk already. Meanwhile, the girls continue chatting. One says, "Did you see this week's episode of Just Baby?" Si-young's mom listens carefully. "Yeah, that Christmas special was amazing. Taeyang's Santa outfit was adorable, and Si-young as Rudolph was so cute. But baby snowman Si-young, he was unbelievably cute. Like I just wanted to squish him. I honestly live for Just Baby every week." Then the other girl adds, "But now it's ending soon? That's so heartbreaking. Total shame." Si-young's mom smiles softly. Si-young in his mind says, "Well, you've got good taste." But then one girl says, "Hey, did you read that article?" Si-young's mom gets tense. "Yeah, there's a new one, more detailed than before. It says Si-young's parents are greedy, and he acts too mature for his age." The other girl laughs. "I mean, the kid's barely turning 3 next year, but he does seem unusually smart sometimes." In his head, Si-young rages. "They're saying this stuff about young Si-young's brilliant direction and acting?" The light turns green. The girls walk away. Si-young's mom looks sad. That's when her husband shows up and says, Si-young's mom, you came all the way out here in this cold just to meet me? I told you it wasn't necessary." But then he notices something's off. Si-young's mom, "Are you crying? What happened?" Si-young watches and thinks, so even the general public is starting to buy into these rumors? That's dangerous. We need to come up with a proper solution for this. Scene shifts. Si-young's dad, angry, starts yelling at the director. "That's enough. I've had it. I'm the head of this family and it's my job to protect them." The director responds, I'm really sorry. We tried everything we could to keep the reporters under control, but it seems like the public's interest in Si-young is just too strong. The rumors are still spreading. Si-young's dad says, but we can't just sit back and let it happen. We have to do something. The director says, I think the best move is to face it head on. Si-young's dad asks, face it head on, how? The director replies, if you both agree, would you be willing to do a live interview? The next scene shows the date, December 31st, outside the MBC building, where the Just Group is located. Daeon says, hello, we're the new standard in the music industry. We're Just, and this is Si-young. He's holding Si-young and says, playing with little Si-young, I didn't even notice the year is already ending. So let's enjoy today's special year-end compilation episode of Just Baby. Then we see the assistant director saying, the broadcast for this episode has started, so we should start too. She adds, you made a smart move. There's nothing better than an interview to clear up controversy. That's why celebs hold press conferences. And since everything's calm on set, there's no need to stress. For now, just relax. I'm gonna go do one last equipment check. As she leaves, Si-young's dad starts crying and says to his wife, I'm sorry, So-young. So-young, surprised, asks, for what? Si-young's dad says, your due date's coming up soon. You're already going through so much, and I think I just added to the stress. She replies, no, it's not like that. This is for Si-young, and I want to do this too. You were really cool today, stepping up like the head of the house. Hearing that, Si-young's dad smiles and hugs her. But before they can really settle in, Mi-young walks in holding Si-young and says, are you two ready? Si-young looks a little disappointed and thinks, I thought you two were the quiet, shy kind of parents just trying to get through things. And now suddenly you're doing a live interview? It's not bad, just why all of a sudden? He's confused. His mom picks him up and says, you look so handsome today, baby. Just trust mom and dad. We're going to make sure all those nasty rumors go away. Hearing that, Si-young gets emotional and asks, wait, are you really doing all this for me? Then he hugs his mom tight. Mi-young and the assistant director watch, smiling. The assistant director thinks the director is at the gate, so she goes to open it and says, all preparations for the interview are done. But she sees something that shocks her. In the next scene, Daeyeon and the assistant director are rushing down the hall in a panic. Daeyeon asks, what are you saying? A live interview? She replies, well, we were going to calmly address all the rumors, but out of nowhere, all these reporters showed up. Someone leaked it. We've got a traitor in the team. She was shocked earlier because she'd seen the reporters. Daeyeon pushes through the crowd and makes his way to the director. All the reporters start recognizing him. That's the leader of Just. That's Daeyeon. Daeyeon says, this has to stop. Even I get nervous around this many reporters. But the director says, it's already started. I did everything I could to stop it. But now, there's no turning back. They're here, and they're not leaving. Cut to Si-young's parents surrounded by the press. Reporters are shouting, look here, why are you doing this interview? Was that article true? Please respond. So-young looks anxious. Si-young's dad raises his voice and says, please calm down. My wife's in her final stage of pregnancy. Lower your voices, turn off those camera flashes. I'll answer your questions if you speak calmly. But one reporter cuts him off, shouting, oh, really? Then tell us why you're making such a big scene. Si-young's dad responds, you all know about the article that dragged our family's name through the mud. Then he continues, yes, it's true. My wife and I both grew up in an orphanage. We had nothing. And when we left that place, we had no one but each other. We worked day and night to build a life. We're proud that we've lived honestly. Now, earlier, we knew Si-young's dad is a chef at a restaurant. But now we also find out Si-young's mom works too, attaching eyes to dolls. She gets paid almost nothing, like 10 per doll. Back to Si-young's dad, he says, a neighbor was the one who discovered Si-young's talent. That's how this journey began. And now, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, we are not the kind of parents who'd make our child suffer for money. Please stop spreading lies that hurt our family. But that same loud reporter yells again, why should we believe you? How much money have you made from your son? Show us your bank account. We need proof. Okay, seriously, this reporter needs to chill. Si-young, hearing all this, gets angry and climbs down from Young's lap. He says, enough! Stop bullying my mom and dad! In his mind, he's raging. Shut up, you jerks, that's what I want to say. But I can't yet. He's still just a little kid after all, so he can't pronounce everything right. But even then, the reporters are shaken seeing him like that. Kang gets emotional watching him and says something to the director. The director then says, we're ending the interview now. Daeyeon tells the assistant director to cut the live broadcast. Si-young turns to his dad and asks, are you okay? His dad hugs him tight, emotional. Si-young thinks, it's all right, Dad. You did your best. You're kind of cool, actually. Then he looks at his mom and asks, Mom, are you okay? But his mom looks like she's in pain and says nervously, Si-young, honey, I think I'm going into labor. Both Si-young and his dad panic. The next scene, they're in an ambulance. Si-young's dad is holding his wife's hand, freaking out. Just a little longer, honey. We're almost at the hospital. Si-young looks worried. His mom says, I'm okay, Si-young. But in his mind, he's thinking, no, you're not. You look like you're in real pain. He's screaming inside. What am I supposed to do? I don't know anything about this stuff. Truth is, Si-young has no experience with marriage or babies. Not in this life or any past life. But still, he thinks, there has to be something I can do. Please, Mom, hang in there. The scene shifts again. The director and assistant director are smiling and say, he's so cute. And we see Si-young, now holding his new baby brother. Everyone around them is filled with joy. The assistant director says to Si-young's mom, you went through so much pain. How are you feeling now? Si-young's mom replies, I'm okay now. Then the assistant says, I used to think, could there ever be a baby as adorable as Si-young? But Min-guk's right up there too. Maybe it's because their parents are just that beautiful. That's when we find out Si-young's baby brother's name, Min-guk. The assistant director reaches out to touch Min-guk, but Seong-guk quickly slaps her hand away, not letting her touch his little brother. In the sweetest tone, he says, no, you can't touch the baby, and thinks to himself, don't you know you shouldn't carelessly touch little kids? Go wash your hands first. The assistant director laughs. Look at Seong-guk, already acting like a big brother. Seong-guk, thinking to himself, says, why not? In my past life, all my siblings were useless. Then looking at Min-guk, he smiles strangely and says, but I'll raise you right. Then the doctor turns to Seong-guk's dad and asks, can we film a video of Min-guk and Seong-guk? After that broadcast, the public went absolutely crazy. All over the internet, everyone's talking about Seong-guk's family. Some are asking about Seong-guk's mom, others are angry at the reporters, and many are curious about Seong-guk's siblings. The director says, the comment section's completely blown up. Seong-guk's dad agrees to the video shoot, and the assistant director starts recording. Then the dad asks the director, what happened after we left? The director replies, there's nothing you need to worry about anymore. Everything's been taken care of. We even caught the traitor. We're taken back to a scene from earlier. Byun and Taeyang have Michael cornered. Taeyang demands, what is this, Michael? Michael replies nervously, that's my pager. Where did you get that? A pager is basically a device that sends voice messages. Taeyang continues, strange things have been happening. Things only the staff or people on set would know are suddenly showing up in articles. Even interview questions that not even staff knew about. Reporters somehow found out. Michael looks panicked. Still, he says, so what? What did I do? Taeyang says, well, your behavior's been pretty suspicious, like disappearing in the middle of a shoot. That's why I asked Lux to keep an eye on you. And thanks to that, we found out about your connection to CEO Samjeon Young. Turns out, Seong-guk's manager had already been suspicious of Samjeon Entertainment's CEO. All those reporters who posted those nasty articles, they're all connected to Samjeon Entertainment. And Michael's pager had voicemail numbers that matched Samjeon's contact list. Taeyang and Jaeyoung both get furious. They say, getting involved with a creep like him just to mess with Seong-guk's family? What the hell were you thinking, Michael? Michael freezes under their glares. Taeyang says, you and CEO Samjeon Young are both going to be held responsible for what you've done. The next day, the entire news cycle is dominated by just one story. Samjeon Entertainment bribed reporters to publish negative articles and bully their own actors. CEO Samjeon Young is arrested. Reporters are shouting questions. Mr. CEO, is it true you ordered the negative press? Why did you do it? What about the controversy involving threats to your own actors? Samjeon Young yells, I don't know anything about this. I said I don't know. Cut to Seong-guk's dad, shocked as he hears all this. The director says, whatever issues Michael had, Taeyang's going to take full responsibility. He'll bring him to apologize and even offer to cover the hospital bills. Our team will contribute too. Then the director adds angrily, if you feel like taking further action, just let us know anytime. Honestly, I should have punched Michael myself. But Seong-guk's dad says, it's all right. Thanks to all this, you gave us a really nice private room. Our whole family is together, and Seong-guk's recovering well. We don't need anything else, as long as the bad rumors go away. The director smiles. Got it, don't worry. After the interview, everything got back on track. Meanwhile, those same girls from earlier say, looks like people misunderstood Seong-guk's family. They were just tricked by bad people. I feel so ashamed. Now we see tons of support pouring in for Seong-guk's family. The director says, the manager and I will take care of cleaning everything up. He means they're going after the reporters who went too far. Then the director adds, we're also thinking of taking a 2-month break. Seong-guk's mom needs time to recover too. Jeon Ji-seong asks, is such a long break really okay? The director replies, we've already got some footage stored. Don't stress. Just enjoy your time with your family. The narrator of Just Baby Show chimes in, we'll see you again this spring, 2 months from now. Seong-guk's mom asks, is Seong-guk taking care of Mango? Then we cut to a scene set 2 months later. Someone's watching the news. 2 anchors are chatting. Feels like the new year just started, and it's already March. Flowers are blooming too. Yeah, seeing them in full bloom really lifts your spirits. And it's not just flowers. We've got another good update, right? Everyone's favorite national baby, Seongguk, is coming back. Wait, is Just Baby airing again? You heard right. A broadcast update is coming soon. At that moment, a girl steps out of the shower and asks, "Honey, what are you watching?" The girl is Seyomi, and the man is Seongguk's father from his past life. Amo, Seyeonmi notices the screen and says, "That's Seongguk on TV." The chairman says, "You know this kid?" Seyomi replies, "Did you forget so soon? You even met him on that commercial shoot." The chairman nods. "Oh, right. I was just watching TV, and for some reason, couldn't take my eyes off this kid. There's something different about him. He's interesting." Seyomi sits on his lap and says, "Well, that's because he's a genius." "A genius?" he asks. "Yeah, Seongguk has all the qualities of a great actor. He's the kind of kid who can become anything in the future." The chairman says, "That good? Isn't he just another cute child actor?" Seyomi replies, "Honey, I may be popular because of your connections, but I do know how to spot talent. Plus, Samjeon Entertainment tried to use that kid for cheap publicity, and now they're paying for it." The chairman raises an eyebrow. "Samjeon Entertainment? You mean CEO Samjeon Young?" "Exactly. As always, they tried to take advantage of a rising child actor, and it came back to bite them." "But aren't you signed with that agency too?" "I am. That's why I'm trying to end my contract and leave. The terms were pretty rough anyway, so I'm better off." "So where will you go? Do you already have another agency in mind?" Seyomi lights up. "I have a fun idea and I'm planning to move forward slowly. But if you're interested, investing in Seongguk might not be a bad move." The chairman says thoughtfully, "An investment? Not a bad idea." Next we cut to Seongguk's home. Kim So-young says, "Today's lunch is sweet soup. Here you go, Seongguk." Seongguk, thinking to himself, "Wow, it smells amazing. I didn't know our manager Kim was this good at cooking," then starts eating. She gives some to Mingguk too, who says, "Thanks again today. You always make food for us." Kim So-young replies, "Well, I am Seongguk's manager. It just comes naturally." Kim So-young says, "But still, you never take any money from us, and you're always bringing food and fruit." So-young smiles gently and says, "Instead of talking, let's focus on eating. We're a family, aren't we? And as family, it's only natural I take care of you a little." Hearing this, Seongguk lights up happily in the cutest way. Then we hear his voice in the background, talking to his little brother. No, I said don't touch that. That's your brother's food. You only get milk." Kim So-young laughs and says, "These days, Mingguk copies everything his brother says. That means he's following Seongguk well." She continues, "Since Mingguk follows him so closely, taking care of him should be a little easier." Hearing all that, Seongguk says, "You're right, childcare. These past 2 months made me realize something. Taking care of kids is like living in hell. Please, Mingguk, just stop already." Mingguk is just giggling, but Seongguk looks totally worn out. We're shown a few scenes from before. Seongguk is asking, why does he cry all the time? Why won't he just sleep? Because of Mingguk, Seongguk can't sleep either. Frustrated, he thinks, why is he always looking for me? I only went to the bathroom. Basically, Mingguk is obsessed with his big brother. Seongguk says, "All I wanted was a sibling different from my last life. Someone who could be like my servant? No, I mean loyal follower in the future." He's lying. He really did want a servant. Right now, Mingguk is looking at his brother with so much love that Seongguk starts sweating. Seongguk says, "Mingguk, just stop already." But Mingguk looks so cute that Seongguk gives in and says, crying a little, "Okay, fine. Just for today, I'll feed you myself. Please grow up soon." Watching them, Sae-young and Kim So-young both laugh. Sae-young says, "One kid taking care of another." Kim So-young adds, "Yeah, and because of Seongguk, it's actually been easier for me. There's no more obedient child than our Seongguk." Sae-young then says, "Seongguk, have you thought about moving to a new house?" Seongguk looks a little surprised. Sae-young continues, "Now that you've got 2 kids, it might sound funny coming from your landlady, but honestly, this house is too old and small to raise kids in." Kim So-young says, "But we don't really have the money right now." Sae-young turns a little serious and says, "What if the money came to you?" Kim So-young looks surprised. Sae-young leans in and says, "Samjeon Electronics contacted me. They want to make Seongguk their exclusive model." Kim So-young is shocked. Exclusive model? For Samjeon? Well, her reaction makes sense. Samjeon is one of the top companies in the world. Sae-young calmly says, "Yes, they made the offer and said they'll send over detailed contract terms soon. Talk to Jeon Ji-seong about it too. If you forgot, Jeon Ji-seong is Seongguk's dad. And honestly, I forgot too." Sae-young adds, "This is a huge opportunity." Kim So-young looks a little worried. Sae-young says, "But for now, let's eat. Don't forget, we still have to go to the broadcasting station later." Seongguk says, "I didn't forget. Like the director said, today's the first Just Baby meeting after 2 months." Sae-young adds, "They said they'll send a car to pick us up, so no need to rush." Just then, someone arrives at the gate. Sae-young starts walking toward it, saying, "Are they here already?" Meanwhile, a tired Seongguk walks over to his mom. Sae-young opens the gate and hears someone say, "It's been a while." She's shocked and says, "Michael?" Both Sae-young and Kim So-young look at him. It's Michael standing there, and apparently, he's had a glow-up in just 2 months. Everything falls silent. Seongguk steps in front of his mom and says to Michael, "What are you doing here?" Inside, Seongguk is thinking, "Michael, the one who betrayed my family with Sam Jong-young, what are you thinking coming here? Don't tell me you're here for revenge or to hurt us again." But something's off. Michael actually looks a bit sad. Then Taeyang shows up from behind and smiles, saying, "Hey, it's been a while." Seongguk's mom is surprised to see him too. Taeyang says, "Looks like Michael scared you. We've been wanting to see Seongguk again and brought the car too, so this guy could apologize properly." Then he looks at Michael and says, "Go ahead." Michael says, "I'm sorry, I was wrong." Seongguk, fuming inside, thinks, "You really think an apology is enough?" But his mom says, "Thank you for apologizing. I'm sure you have your reasons." Seongguk is shocked to hear that. His mom continues, "I hope we can work well together again." Now even Mingguk looks shocked. Inside, Seongguk thinks, "Same here, manager. She's always been like this. So kind." Michael looks at Seongguk, who stares back and thinks angrily, "As great as my parents are, I'll be that much stricter and more perfect. There won't be a next time. Got it, idiot?" Just then, Taeyang says, "All right, let's get going." Everyone's waiting for Seongguk's family. Next scene, the director comes running towards Seongguk, and Seongguk runs toward him too. They hug each other tightly. The director says, "Is it because it's been a while? You've always been a little distant, but today you're being so sweet. It makes me happy, Seongguk." Seongguk smiles and thinks, "Director, I realized something. I was made to work. I'll live for work and I'll die for work." But the real reason? He's just totally exhausted from childcare and is dying to get back to work. The guy's clearly traumatized. True. The director turns to Seongguk's mom and asks, "How have you been?" Then we see Mingguk's expression change. He's about to cry. The director walks over and says, "Mingguk's gotten even cuter these last 2 months." And right then, Mingguk starts crying. He wants to be with his brother. Surprised, the director asks, "Why is he crying all of a sudden?" Seongguk's mom smiles and says, "Mingguk always tries to stay close to his brother. He's crying because he can't see him right now." In the background, Seongguk pleads, "Director, please save me. Start the shoot already." The director realizes why Seongguk was being so affectionate earlier. Then he turns to Myung and says, "It's been a while, manager. Over the past 2 months, there have been a few small changes. Now that everyone's here, let's get started." He adds, "We still have about 20 episodes left until the final one. If everything goes according to plan, the last broadcast will be in September." Seongguk's mom looks a little surprised, and Myung listens carefully. The director says, "For the first broadcast of the year, I'm thinking of starting with a cherry blossom picnic." Next, we see Taeyang and Jaeyoung. Both are stunned by Seongguk's look. Taeyang says, "Seongguk, you look like an actual cherry blossom festival." Jaeyoung says, "You're basically spring personified right now." Taeyang adds, "Looks like the styling team really went all out." Then he asks, "Do you like getting compliments, Seongguk?" Just then, the assistant director calls out, "We're starting the shoot soon. All members, please gather here." Jaeyoung picks up Seongguk and says, "Let's go." Just then, a black car pulls up. The driver says, "We've arrived at the filming location just as you instructed, Vice Chairman." Inside the car is none other than the chairman himself. Yes, the one from Samjeon Company. Why he's come here, we're about to find out. Looking out the window at Seongguk, the chairman thinks, "Did I really need to come here myself?" We're shown a flashback. Inside the chairman's office, a man steps in and says, "That concludes today's business report." But then, the chairman asks, "Secretary Young, what about that matter?" Secretary Young replies, "You mean the exclusive contract with that child, Jaeyoung-guk?" The chairman nods. "Yes. What's the update on that?" Secretary Young explains. "Just as you instructed, we made them an offer, but the parents seem a little overwhelmed by the scale of the contract. Progress has been slow. Would you like me to apply some pressure?" The chairman shakes his head. "No, let it be. What's more important is this. What do you think about the contract, Secretary Young?" Secretary Young pauses, then says, "To be honest, for someone with that little experience, it does seem a bit excessive. Is that child really worth that much?" The chairman replies, "Worth? There's something captivating about him. An undeniable connection. Like blood relation. You get what I mean? He clearly feels a blood bond with Seongguk. Looks like he hasn't truly forgotten him." This story is about to get more intense. Back to the present, the chairman steps out of his car and says, "Wait here. I just need to confirm something." Jaeyoung spots him and turns to Taeyong in surprise. "Hey, isn't that guy the vice chairman of Samjeon?" Seongguk sees him too, and his heart starts to race. In his mind, he says, "My father from my past life. What kind of man is he really?" He remembers how the chairman was raised as the eldest son of the man who built the Samjeon Empire, his grandfather. He was groomed from a young age to be the heir. Though his leadership style was different, his grandfather was a founding monarch. His father, the current king, was all about performance. Performance-oriented. That's the word that suits him best. A man who cared only about results, be it his wife, his company, or his children. Min-guk and Mi-jin couldn't live up to his expectations and always ended up doubting themselves. But what about me? Well, I was the son who shattered his expectations and soared far above them. I was a genius, but still, our relationship was never comfortable. He was my father, and I was his son. It was irritating. Back to the present. By mistake, Seong-guk blurts out, "Father." The chairman looks surprised. Seong-guk quickly covers his mouth thinking, that slipped. I didn't mean to say it. But the chairman walks up with a smile and says, "Hello, Seong-guk. Do you remember me? We met during that washing machine cover shoot." Oh, Seong-guk responds coldly, "No, I don't know you." The chairman smiles faintly. "Really? Then why did you call me father?" Seong-guk quickly denies it. "I didn't." The chairman says, that's strange. I could have sworn I heard it." And in his mind, Seong-guk sighs, "I forgot. This man's unbelievably stubborn." Just then, the director and Kim So-young arrive. The director asks, "Vice Chairman John Ji-sung, what brings you here?" The chairman says calmly, "I just wanted to see Seong-guk quietly. Sorry if I disrupted the shoot." The director, a bit confused, asks, "To see Seong-guk?" The chairman responds, "Yes, I just wanted to see him in person. His bright eyes remind me of my own childhood. Seeing him like this only confirms it." Turning to Kim So-young, nods. "Have you had the chance to review the contract?" She nods. "Yes, I've looked it over." The chairman smiles. "We're always ready for an exclusive contract. Please contact us once you've made your decision. And if you have any additional conditions, let us know." Just then, Seong-guk blurts out, "Money! I want money!" His mom quickly covers his mouth. But inside, Seong-guk is screaming, "Give me money! My past life dad's loaded." The chairman chuckles and pats his head. "Why not? I'll have the money ready for you." Then he adds, "I'll see you again once you're ready," and walks away. Seong-guk, in his thoughts, says, "Father, I never thought I'd get involved with you again in this life. A vice chairman of a massive business group and a regular guy like me. There's such a gap between us." We're shown a flashback where the chairman smiles and says, "A new project. I can trust you with it, my smartest son. I expect great results." Back to the present. Seong-guk smiles. The director says, "All right, let's start the shoot again." And Seong-guk thinks, right now what matters most is my current life. Let's focus on the shoot. We see arcs from each episode: spring picnic special, Children's Day special, summer vacation special. Then we cut to a scene outside the studio where a crowd of fans is gathered. Kim So-young says, "It's packed again today." The assistant director asks, "How do they even find out we're filming here?" "It's getting hard to shoot thanks to all the JS fans." Seong-guk says to Kim So-young, "I want to go down." The assistant director nods. JS is basically a national idol group now. Be careful. Some fans even sneak onto set. As Seong-guk walks downstairs, he thinks, wow, these kids really grew up. JS isn't just a group of kids anymore. In fact, what he means is they've become insanely popular. He narrates, as JS Baby got more famous, they never neglected their concerts or albums. That's why they became top idols in the music industry over the last 6 months. And of course, I did a bunch of top-tier commercials too. Kids' fashion lines, luxury products, you name it. He smirks. Even the director got a fat bonus, I heard. Meanwhile, the assistant director says to Kim So-young, I need to talk to you for a moment. Seong-guk keeps walking and thinking. With everyone around me successful, JS Baby doesn't have much time left. Maybe the next shoot after the upcoming episode will be our last. He adds, I'll go ahead first. But suddenly someone grabs his hand, startling him. Seong-guk, will you help me? Seong-guk freaks out. You scared me. Turns out it's Taeyong, hiding from fans. He whispers, calm down, they'll hear you. Seong-guk asks, so what do you need help with? Before he can answer, the assistant director shows up. What are you two doing here? Get to the set. Taeyong hesitates. I wanted Seong-guk to help us pick our title track. Scene shifts. The assistant director hands him a mic. Taeyong says, are we really filming this? It's not that special. The director, filming, says, then tell us. What's up, Taeyong? He explains, we're about to release a new album. All the songs are done, but we can't agree on the title track. Everyone's got a different opinion. It's even causing fights. That's why I asked Seong-guk to help choose. The director raises a brow. I know he's smart, but a 1-year-old picking your title track? Meanwhile, Seong-guk listens to each song with full focus. Taeyong adds, at first we were unsure too, but then we remembered. Seong-guk made us who we are today. Even though we had no experience, we learned a lot about childcare thanks to him. We wanted his mark on this album before the show ends and we all go our separate ways. Seong-guk listens carefully. Jaeyoon says, you liked the second song more, didn't you? No way. It's the third one, right? They all look at Seong-guk, waiting. Seong-guk thinks to himself with a smile, having me choose the title track? Smart move, my kids. Your big bro knows the future. Then he says aloud, I choose this one. He picks It's a Lie. Hux is stunned. This one? But Jaeyoon beams. Told you, he's got great taste. The director asks, what song is that? Taeyong answers, it's one Jaeyoon helped produce. Out of the 3, it's the most unique. Except for Jaehyun and Byun, everyone else wanted to make it a B-side. But Seongguk picked it. Seongguk, still smiling, thinks, why not? In my past life, this was a B-side, but it crushed the charts. Stayed at #1 for 5 weeks straight. Even I, someone not into music, memorized some lyrics from hearing it everywhere. If this had been the title track, it would have been even more popular. Lux, nearly crying, clings to him. Seongguk, think again. My song's better. But Seongguk shakes his head and grabs the DVD, handing it to Taeyong. This is the one. Taeyong smiles and nods. All right then, we'll do our best to promote it. Since this whole scene was filmed, fans watching it later went wild, loving Seongguk's choice. Scene shift. JS Baby's final party. Kim So-young brings Seongguk inside and he wonders, why is it so dark in here? Are they planning something before the final episode? He smiles. Well, I'll play along like a good little kid. As soon as he enters, the lights switch on and everyone shouts, Happy birthday, Seongguk! The director laughs and says, the JS team wanted to celebrate your birthday, so they planned it with the final episode party. How do you like it? Seongguk looks down, then suddenly lights up. I love it, and thinks, I thought everything would be predictable, but it really does feel nice when people celebrate for you. The director calls everyone for food, and the party kicks off. Kim So-young is all smiles. Then a man walks in. I'm here on behalf of Vice Chairman Jeon Ji-seong to congratulate you on the final episode. Here's a small gift. You can call me Secretary Young. Kim So-young opens the gift and is shocked to see Ginseng. Secretary Young says, when you have time, please review the contract matter again. Kim So-young replies, of course, we'll try to visit soon. Scene shift outside. Myung says, you could have taken a few days to rest. Kim So-young replies, no, I promised during the party that we'd visit soon. Then she turns to Seongguk. You're not tired, are you? Seongguk thinks, tired? I can't afford to be. I need to stay sharp. My cunning father never loses. Let's go figure out what his real intentions are. Scene shift inside Samjeon HQ. A woman greets them. Welcome to Samjeon headquarters. The vice chairman has been expecting you. As the doors open, Chairman Jeon Ji-seong stands smiling. So you finally came. It's been a while, Seongguk. Scene change. The group sits down in his office. Someone sets down tea. Seongguk looks at the tray and thinks, wait a second. These are my favorite cookies from my past life. He grabs one and starts munching. Myung smiles and says, thank you for the warm hospitality. Chairman says, there's no need for that. So did you go over the terms of the contract? Myung looks a little nervous and says, yeah, this offer sounds way too good. But it's hard to trust. A 1-year exclusive contract and a signing bonus of 1 million won? Is that real? Hearing that, Seongguk drops his cookie in shock and stares at the chairman. The chairman nods and says, yes, it's real. Seongguk starts thinking to himself, since this contract was proposed by father, there must be something more to it. These contract items are way too good. This kind of treatment is only given to top-tier celebrities. Father, what exactly are you thinking? The chairman smiles and says, you look surprised. Myung replies, honestly, I just don't get it. Why would you offer such a huge amount? The chairman answers with a smile. Well, it's an investment. Secretary Young, show her the documents. Secretary Young hands a file to Kim So-young and says, this is the Samjeon Scholarship Program we've been running for a long time. Samjeon is always looking for talented individuals to support. The vice chairman judged that Seongguk is a gifted child worthy of that scholarship support. Kim So-young is shocked. Our Seongguk is gifted and smart, yes, but still, this is a lot to take in. Oh, the chairman continues. Seongguk, in my eyes, you're very special. You're smart and brave. With the right support beyond your expectations, I believe you can become someone truly great. What do you think? Kim So-young looks even more surprised and is about to say something when Seongguk interrupts. Why not? Inside, he's thinking, he's obsessed with results. In my past life, too, father liked talented people. Your judgment's on point. I'll become more capable than all the talents you've surrounded yourself with. Then Seongguk confidently looks at the chairman and says, I'm going to be the best. Kim So-young asks, Seongguk, what are you saying? But seeing his determination, the chairman is impressed and says, at this age, you already have more spirit than my own kids. Now I'm even more convinced to support you properly. Let me hand you the contract draft again. Both Myung and Kim So-young are shocked. The chairman adds, take your time. I'll wait. This contract will definitely benefit Seongguk. The scene shifts to their home. Aiden, Kim So-young says, Seongguk, Mingguk, it's bedtime now. She puts the kids to sleep and comes out. Seongguk's dad says, you worked hard putting them to bed. You're Kim. So-young replies, honey, what do you think? His dad says, it's not like I know much about this. But like you said, it's an incredible contract. 1 million bond. I've never seen numbers like that. Kim So-young admits, to be honest, I'm scared. It's scary how someone like the vice chairman of a huge company like Samjeon is so focused on Seongguk. What if we accept such a good contract too fast and something goes wrong? Seongguk, overhearing this, thinks, yeah, that makes sense. For people who haven't even saved millions before, A million-won contract would definitely be scary. He tries to explain with an example. Think about a fly raised inside a jar. When it gets out, it can only jump as high as the jar was tall. Because we grew up poor, when we get opportunities or money bigger than our dreams, it scares us. That's the real danger of poverty. It scares people so much they stop even trying. Maybe I should try explaining it to them better. But just then, his dad says, Kim So-yang, should we accept the contract? Seong-guk is stunned. So is Kim So-yang. His dad continues, think about it. With this contract, Seong-guk could live a totally different life. Not like ours, but going to a great school, landing a great job, maybe even living a life like the vice chairman of Samjeon. With this much money, we could even start a new life ourselves. Hearing that, Seong-guk is happy. This is exactly what I wanted. His dad adds, for a better life, I want to take this chance. For that hope. The next scene shows Secretary Young arriving. He says, thank you for reaching out. The vice chairman was thrilled you replied so quickly. He thought it might take over a week. Kim. So Young says, about the changes to the contract terms I mentioned over the phone, Secretary Young responds, yes, just like you requested. We shortened the contract duration to 1 year and lowered the signing bonus from 1 million won to 1 million bond. And taking Seong-guk's well-being into account, we added a clause to prevent overworking him. So-young reviews the contract and thanks him. Seong-guk says, I want to see it too. Kim So-young replies, all right, let's sign the contract. Just then, Secretary Young says, before that, we'd like to propose a few changes of our own to the contract, if that's okay. Everyone is surprised. Myung, Kim So-young, and Seong-guk. Secretary Young pulls out 2 documents with a smile and says, there are 2 important points I'd like to explain first. But Seong-guk snatches the documents from him and starts reading them carefully. Secretary Young smiles nervously. Seong-guk, please give those back. They're for adults. But Seong-guk innocently asks, stocks? Apartments? What does this mean, Secretary Young? Secretary Young is completely shocked. Trying to control the situation, Seong-guk switches into child mode and smiles. What are stocks and apartments? I'm curious. Tell me. Inside, he's thinking, you're surprised, huh? Secretary Young? Acting like a kid at this age seems a bit much, but to figure out father's plan, I'll do whatever it takes. Again, with wide-eyed innocence, he says, I'm curious. Tell me, please. Kim So-young suddenly asks, wait, Seong-guk, you can read? He replies, yeah, I can read. She asks, since when? Secretary Young is amazed. Wow, a 4-year-old taught himself Korean reading? Seong-guk explains he learned by watching TV and reading newspapers. Back to Secretary Young, who says, can he really read such complex words? The vice chairman was right. This kid is a gifted talent. Investing in him will be worth it. He smiles and continues. Let me explain. Since you lowered the signing bonus from 1 million won, we'd like to compensate by giving you stocks in Sam Electronics worth the same amount. 1 million won in stocks, and a premium apartment in Samjeon's upcoming Jamsil development. Once construction is finished this year, we'd like to reserve a special Pyeong unit for you. Kim So-young is shocked. Seong-guk reads through the documents again and thinks, so the stocks in-house are here. The document says, if the required 1-year service period isn't completed, all gifted stocks will be reclaimed immediately. Any taxes on stock returns will be the receiver's responsibility. Seong-guk thinks, just as I thought. This is father's strategy. Tempt people with rewards to earn their loyalty. But those rewards are only given if you prove yourself over time. The sweet promises are just bait to make people serve loyally. This tactic feels familiar. This is Jeon Yi-seong's style. He closes the documents and says, looks great. Hand it over, I'll sign. Secretary Young is surprised. Kim So-young stops him and says, you can't do this. But Seong-guk insists, I'm going to sign this contract no matter what. Thinking to himself, do you even know how high Sam Electronics stocks will rise? And the value of those Jamsil apartments? This contract is a must. Then he shouts, I'm going to make all of this mine. Kim So-young gets angry and is about to scold him, but Myung stops her. Let's go ahead with the contract. This is a great opportunity for Seong-guk and the family. Myung turns to Secretary Young and says, thank you for these excellent contract terms, but this contract is a bit much for one individual. So we're planning to establish a company. We'll sign the deal company to company. Secretary Young looks confused. Myung explains, an agency solely for Seong-guk. We're planning to create a one-person agency. Secretary Young is delighted. That's a great idea, especially since more contracts will come in the future. Seong-guk smiles and thinks, this will be my first company, with my name on it. Manager Kim probably came up with this idea to help me. Then we flash back to a few days earlier. Myung had asked, how about forming a one-person agency? Seong-guk had thought, how did she come up with such a smart idea? But I'm not stopping at just one-person agency. I'm planning to build a global company. Secretary Young smiles at Myung. Let me know if I can help in any way. I'm excited to work with you. And finally, Seong-guk signs the contract, happy and confident. That night, Kim So-young tells her husband everything. He's stunned. Stocks and apartments? And now our son knows how to read? So many amazing things happened today. He hugs Seong-guk and says, of course your dad's proud of you. Kim So-young sets the table and says, honey, let's have dinner now. Seongguk's dad gets excited. Wow, there's bulgogi and fish too? Kim So-young explains. They already sent part of Seongguk's contract money. I didn't spend too much, just wanted the family to enjoy a bit of luxury. That's okay, right, Seongguk? He smiles and thinks, of course. Being stingy with food only hurts the body. Then says out loud, come on, let's all eat quickly. Kim So-young asks, by the way, what happened with your boss? Seongguk's dad explains, I told him I wanted to try something on my own, and he suggested I prepare well and open my own shop. Thanks to Seongguk, we received a nice amount. If we save properly, we might afford a commercial space by next year. And the boss said he'll teach me all the recipes and how to run the place. Kim So-young says, wow, that's amazing, honey. You should totally do it. Seongguk adds, I love the idea too. I'll support you. His dad smiles. Thanks, son. Because of you, I now have a dream I want to chase. Seongguk thinks, don't worry about money, Dad. Just move forward. I'll earn enough in a year to buy a dozen commercial properties. The scene shifts. Soon-mi is on a call with Secretary Young. She says, I was the one who recommended that boy to the vice chairman. I'm just a bit curious. Can you tell me how things are going? Secretary Young tells her. Soon-mi says, so he signed an exclusive contract with Samjeon and even started a one-person agency. Someone else is there too, none other than Sin Sang-young, he growls. He dared to sign with Samjeon Electronics and start an agency? That little punk, I'll destroy them. I'll ruin them so badly no one will ever look at them again. Soon-mi calmly replies, that's a terrible idea. Sin Sang-young is shocked. She continues, Seongguk isn't the same kid anymore. Are you seriously thinking of touching Vice Chairman Jeon Ji-seong's investment? From what I saw in that contract, the Vice Chairman has very high expectations. If you mess with such an important product, do you really think he'll forgive you? Sin Sang-young gets rattled and yells, shut up and get out, and bring the renewal documents. Soon-mi walks out, looking at the contract, thinking, looks like our CEO still doesn't get it. She tears up the contract in anger. The scene shifts to Seongguk's house. So-young is putting a face pack on him. He's thinking, this feels great. Ever since I signed the exclusive contract with Samjeon, a lot has changed. Manager Kim's been super busy handling all the paperwork. Since the one-person agency started, she's been filtering random casting requests. She's more active now. Dad decided after a family meeting that he'll open a Bossum restaurant after we move into the Jamsil apartment, and that day is almost here. Mom stays busy with Mingguk and taking care of her skin in this dry weather. In my past life, I used to go to a skincare expert who charged thousands, but these cucumber slices feel even more relaxing. Maybe because it's Mom doing it. Kim So-young says, our son likes everything. Such a good boy. She tells him to stay with Mingguk while she hangs the laundry. Dang, he lays down peacefully. Just then, the news plays on TV. This week's top music chart. First place goes to Lee by JS. They've stayed at #1 for weeks. While munching on cucumber, Seongguk thinks, these kids are doing well. They're performing the song I selected perfectly. You guys owe me big time. Someone rings the doorbell. A masked person is standing near his mom. As soon as they see Seongguk, they say, you've been doing face packs? It's been a while, and it looks like you've gotten a little chubbier. Kim So-young steps in. Who are you? The girl removes her mask. It's Soon-mi. She says, sorry, I just got really excited seeing Seongguk after so long. How have you all been? Kim So-young looks surprised. In the next scene, she's serving tea to Soon-mi. Soon-mi thanks her. But without wasting time, Kim So-young asks, so why are you here? Soon-mi sets the cup down and says, I wanted to apologize. I know it's sudden. Kim So-young asks, why now? Soon-mi says, because of me, you all suffered. I shouldn't have recommended you to Sinsang Entertainment. I saw Seongguk's potential and wanted to work with him, but I never expected CEO Sin Sang-young to go that far. Seongguk, please forgive me. Seongguk thinks, in my past life, Soon-mi and Young were just business associates, nothing more. Apart from the affair with my dad, she didn't intentionally hurt anyone. Yeah, she was sneaky, but she preferred winning people over rather than fighting them. He says, okay, I forgive you. Soon-mi smiles. Really? You accept my apology? I beg Kim So-young says, just coming here and saying all this means a lot. We're grateful you looked after our Seongguk. Soon-mi gets emotional and hugs her. We're family. You can talk casually with me. But Seongguk suddenly asks, what about Samjeon? You said you were from there? Soon-mi smiles. Wow. Seongguk's even talking now? His speech has really developed. She pulls out a document and says, I came to deliver this. It's related to the Samjeon contract. I got it from Secretary Young. Kim So-young says, I see. Please give it to me. But Soon-mi says, before I do, I have one more thing. I heard about Seongguk's one-person agency. I want to join. Everyone is shocked. Kim So-young asks, how did you find out? Soon-mi replies, I practically begged Secretary Young to tell me. My contract with Sinsang Entertainment is over. I was disappointed in CEO Young. I want to work in an agency that treats actors like family. Hearing the word family, Kim So-young gets emotional. Sumi comes closer and says, "Mother, please think about it. This is a great opportunity for everyone. I'll get to work with good people, and I'm famous. I earn good money. I can help build the agency." Hey, Kim So-young starts considering it, but Sunmi is thinking, if I can lock down this position, it'll be easier to move things my way. "Yo," she says, "so let's sign the contract, shall we?" Kim So-young agrees. "Yes, let's do it right away." But Seong-guk suddenly says, "No, absolutely not." Sumi asks, "But why?" Kim So-young says, "Seong-guk, what are you saying?" He turns away and lies down. "I don't know, but no." Kim So-young sighs. "I don't know why he's acting like this. You can discuss the details with me and Myunguni." But Seong-guk starts crying. He says, "No, absolutely not. No way." Hearing this, Kim So-young is shocked and says, "He's never acted like this before." The noise wakes up Minguk, and as he hears his brother's voice, he thinks, "My brother is crying. My brother is crying." And he starts crying too. Seeing this, Kim So-young gets even more worried and says, "Oh dear, now Minguk's awake too. I'm so sorry, Miss Sainami. I'll be right back." And she quickly steps out. Sainami looks confused and says, "Why doesn't our Seong-guk like me? I'm really curious." She gently touches Seong-guk's cheek, but he brushes her hand away and thinks to himself, "Well, because I can see your hidden intentions loud and clear. Sainami never does anything that doesn't benefit her directly. You're looking at me and the future value of my company, thinking about making a small investment. But I'm not about to bring someone like that into my company. My company will be made up of people who are truly mine. I don't need opportunists who come and go based on calculations, especially not a woman who would run to my father and tell him everything without thinking. I have no need for someone like that." Then Seong-guk speaks up again, saying, "Family? Not a chance. That's completely off the table on our side." Se-nami looks stunned. Just then, Kim So-young returns and says, "I'm so sorry. I just couldn't get them to stop crying." Sanami smiles and says, "I really wanted to join Seong-guk's agency, but I guess it's better to show a little more honesty." Seong-guk, thinking to himself, "Try all you want." Sanami sets down some documents from Semjeon, slips back into her usual cool, masked demeanor, and says, "We'll talk again later," as she walks out. Seong-guk, in his mind, continues, "It's not that I don't recognize Sanami's value. I just want someone who genuinely wants to become a member of this agency, not someone who's just passing through." But what Seong-guk forgets is that his mom, Kim So-young, is furious with him. She scolds him, saying, "What kind of behavior is that in front of a guest?" She was so shocked she left immediately. "Do you think it's okay to be rude to someone just because they're older?" Trying to deflect, Seong-guk quickly shows her the documents Sainami left behind. Kim So-young is still angry, but as she opens the documents, she sees they're related to an advertisement, an upcoming spinning product by Semjeon, rolling on the floor. The scene shifts to an outdoor location where they've arrived for a commercial shoot. Kim So-young says it's in Seoul. Today, they're filming a new advertisement for Semjeon Company's latest vacuum cleaner. The director meets Seong and his mom, looking pleased. Seong's mom mentions that they've received sponsored clothes and says Seong looks really good in them. But Seong thinks to himself that Petit Cochon, a brand name, actually means little pig in French, which makes him feel a little insecure about his bulky figure. Just then, the chairman's car pulls up, and with him is Semjeon Company's founder, Jeon Yoshin, Seong's grandfather. The founder tells the chairman not to think of him as an old man. He faked being sick just for the media. He's clearly unhappy about the chairman's idea for the new ad, which centers around a child actor. He believes Semjeon has always produced classy and professional advertisements. The chairman tries to explain that change is necessary. He says this new ad style is trending and will help Semjeon move away from its boring old image. The founder gets annoyed hearing that, but seeing the chairman's confidence, he reluctantly agrees to let him do things his way. When he sees Seong, he asks why the chairman is putting so much effort into that kid. The chairman smiles and says, "He's an investment." The founder is surprised and asks what's so special about the kid. A flashback plays where the chairman is convincing Seong-mi to let Seong join their agency. Seong-mi explains it's an investment because the entertainment and advertisement industries are changing fast. These days, it's all about looking relatable and approachable. Seong is adapting his image to fit market trends, which could make him a valuable asset in the future. Back in the present, the founder watches Seong reading and is stunned when the chairman tells him Seong is only 3 years old and already knows how to read. The founder's shocked, even a bit regretful, saying that none of his grandkids are on this level and wishes Seong were his own grandson, not knowing he actually is, and even better than he imagines. Seong, in his mind, resolves to make this ad a huge success and raise his own value. That's when Zian, Ayong, and Lucas from the jazz group come running over. Zian greets Seong's mom, and Seong looks a little annoyed. Lucas tells Seong that the title song he picked for them has been at #1 for 30 weeks, making them a household name. Seong says they owe him now. At the shoot location, the assistant director calls for Seon and Byun. Seong asks about Michael, and Taeyong tells him Michael left the group. Seong is shocked. This wasn't supposed to happen. In his past life, Michael had stuck with Jazz till the end. The assistant director watches Zian and Byun argue. Zian's upset, thinking Byun is looking down on him just because he's struggling with acting. But Byun's just frustrated with Zian's attitude. Zian starts acting, but it's a bit too exaggerated. Seong figures out Zian is a pure idol. Fans love his sweet and innocent personality, but when it comes to acting, he's still green. Byun, on the other hand, is more straightforward and unfiltered, and surprisingly a good actor. Seong asks Byun to give it a try, and he nails the scene, leaving everyone impressed. The assistant director starts considering giving the role to Byun, but she's worried about upsetting Zian. Seong thinks to himself that Zian is quick to understand and not the type to let his ego get in the way. Zian proves him right. He compliments Byun and tells him to take the role. Seong is glad to see that maybe in this life, things can go differently. Zian and Byun are working together better, not clashing like in the past. Seong feels ready to leave his past life behind and change the future. Later that night, Seong is exhausted and just wants to go home. A girl approaches him. Seong's mom is surprised. It's Seomi who comes up to her and says, "After such a long commercial shoot, I came to help Seong's team. I even brought my car." In his head, Seong thinks, this clever woman. She said she'd try her best and she's already making her move. I'm too tired for this, so I'll just pretend not to notice and accept her kindness. Seonmi says, "Please get in the car and relax. I'll drive you home. Oh, and I also made a reservation at a great place." The next scene cuts to a large building where the car stops. Two women welcome them. Seonmi says, "I booked us a room here." Seong is stunned. In his mind, he says, "This place? It used to be my favorite in my past life. The black bean noodles here are the best. I can't believe I'm seeing this place again. Back then, I used to sneak out here, sit alone and eat my heart out. In this life, I never thought I'd even get to think about this place, let alone come here. I figured I wouldn't see it for another 10 years. Thank you, Seomi." Then he starts eating. Kim So-young says, "These dishes look pretty expensive." Seomi smiles and says, "I told you, I'm giving my all to join your agency. You just enjoy your meal. Oh, and to prove how serious I am, we also dealt with Si Seong-young." Kim So-young is surprised. Seonmi explains, "Even after doing Seong wrong, he kept spreading rumors about me and the chairman, so we taught him a little lesson." Seong finishes eating and says, "So that's what she meant by being honest." Then he tells her, "All right, Seonmi, you can join. I'm ready." Seonmi lights up and asks, "Are you accepting me just because you like the food?" Seong thinks to himself, it wasn't just the food. It's confirmed. The future can change. And Seomi, maybe you'll turn out better than I ever knew. Maybe you'll even become a reliable partner. Seomi smiles and tells Kim So-young, "Did you hear that?" Seong said yes. "I promise I'll work hard and be a huge help to the agency. Please let me in." Kim So-young smiles softly and says, "Well, I'll talk to my husband and get back to you." The scene shifts to their home. Kim So-young is telling Seong's dad, Jeon Ji-seong, about everything. He listens and says, "I get it, but I'm still against it." Kim So-young asks, "You're against letting Seomi join our agency?" He says, "Think about it. We call it an agency, but we have no office, no employees. How are we supposed to manage her?" Seong starts thinking, he's not wrong. Right now, we only have one person running everything, our manager. Even if I help with HR and planning, we need someone to handle the company's finances. But finding good employees isn't easy. We need someone we can trust. Just then, Seong gets an idea and runs off. Ji-seong says, "We should hire staff first." Ma-young agrees. "We need at least an accountant." Hearing the word accountant, Kim So-young starts thinking. Seong returns holding a book. It's an accounting textbook. She's shocked. Seong says, "This is Mom's. Kim So-young studied accounting." Myung asks, "Is that true, Kim So-young?" She admits, "I graduated from a commercial high school and even worked as a bookkeeper. I was thinking about getting back to work, but I don't know." Seong interrupts her. "You can do this, Mom." She looks touched. Seong thinks, experience doesn't matter. It's just a small accounting startup. Trust matters more, and she's perfect for this. Hearing this, both Myung and Ji-seong smile. Myung says, "Seong's right. You should give it a try." Ji-seong adds, "You've mentioned going back to work so many times. I'll help too, honey." Kim So-young agrees, and everyone's happy. Seong thinks, "I can trust this company with Mom. As her son, I'll focus on my talent and passion. And with her, my money will be safe." Seyomi is obsessed with herself, and I'm obsessed with my money. Myung says, "The upstairs room is empty. We can set up an office there. It's my building, so no need to worry about rent." Kim So-young is surprised. "Are you sure about all this?" Myung says, "Of course. This is my business too, right?" Seong smiles and thinks, "Well done, manager. Having a sense of ownership is so important. Let's build something big with SKJ." The scene shifts. Seyomi comes to Seong's place with a watermelon. She says, "I heard you're setting up your office today, so I came over. These desks and supplies look really professional." Kim So-young says, "It's just 2 desks in a small upstairs studio. It's old. I feel embarrassed." Seonmi replies, "What are you saying? I like places that are clean and efficient. Size doesn't matter. A fancy office means nothing when people like Si Seong-young are outside. Oh, and I wanted to show you this." She pulls out a newspaper article. Top star Seyomi signs exclusive deal with SKJ, Seong's one-person agency. Kim So-young says, there's already an article? Seyomi smiles. Now that I'm in, you can't back out. By the way, where's Seong? Kim So-young invites her in and says, Seong's busy taking care of his little brother. Seong is reading a fairy tale to Mingguk. Seyomi is touched. That's so cute. You're reading a fairy tale for him. Kim So-young says, Mingguk's learning to walk again and he's glued to Seong like glue. It's hard for Seong to manage him. Seyomi says, Seong's such a good kid, but if Mingguk is growing up, maybe he can come with us too. Seong is startled and wonders, wait, where are we going? Seyomi explains, Vice Chairman John Jae's son, John Taegu, has his 10th birthday coming up. Seong looks surprised. Kim So-young asks, birthday party? Seyomi replies, yeah, it's in July at the Samjeon Hotel. It'll be fun. Seong thinks, Taegu's birthday party. In my past life, he never helped me. My careless little brother. Am I really going to see him again? Just then, Mingguk touches Seong's cheeks and smiles. Seong says, that's right, you're nothing like him. You don't just follow me, you cling to me a little too well. But wait, July? Why does that date stick in my head? What happened that day? The scene cuts. Everyone's sleeping when a call comes in. Kim So-young picks it up. It's Secretary Young. Hearing the voice wakes Seong up too. Kim So-young says, you mean today's party? Everything was ready, but it's been postponed. There's some major breaking news on TV. Seong rushes to turn on the TV. His dad wakes up too. Seong thinks, July. That's why this date kept bothering me. On TV, the news is reporting, the country's supreme leader has passed away. The government is responding quickly. Cause of death, heart attack. The family is stunned. Seong thinks, that's right. July 1994, the day Kim Il-sung died, right before South Korea was going to sign a peace agreement with North Korea. Everything got shaken up. People feared another war. From the US to China and Japan, everyone was tense. North Korea went into internal chaos. Some were even hopeful it was time for reunification. What followed was the Arayus March. Everything became unstable, inside the country and beyond. That's why Taegu's birthday party got postponed over 10 days. Totally normal. Jeon Ji-seong says, the stock market has also taken a huge hit. Seong is shocked. Kim So-young asks, you know how to check stocks? He says, I started learning after the Samjeon Electronics chairman gave us shares. Kim So-young playfully calls him cool, completely unbothered by the global news. Then Seong says, Dad, let's buy stocks. Ji-seong looks surprised, but Seong insists. In his mind, he says, after Kim Il-sung's death, the Kospi index dropped hard. People feared war and started selling to secure cash. That's exactly when to buy, when the market is on its knees. Sell when it's on your shoulders. He says, buy this stock for me. Don't use your money, use mine. If you don't, I won't eat. His parents look stressed. Kim So-young says, what do we do? When he acts like this, he really won't eat. Ji-seong says, kids do this stuff. Let's just pretend we bought the stocks. But then Seong's greedy aura flares up and he yells, don't even think about fooling me. His parents are stunned. Kim So-young says, it's not that expensive. Let's buy it as an early birthday gift. Ji-seong agrees. All right, should I do it now? Seong thinks, that one share is enough. It'll skyrocket soon. He grins, thinking, now they'll listen to everything I say. Seong ends the scene thinking, big changes are coming. I don't know how much I can control, but one thing's for sure, I'll protect this family. Just the scene shifts to Taegu's birthday party. There are a lot of guests in attendance. Seong's mom, Kim So-young, and Myung look around, completely stunned by what they see. Myung says, all this, just for a 10-year-old? This really is a whole different world. But for Seong, this was nothing out of the ordinary. In his mind, he says, this is nothing. My own 10th birthday party was way more extravagant than this. There was a champagne fountain and a 10-tier cake made by a French baker. Obviously, after Kim Il-sung's death, the government's been on edge. So to avoid drawing too much attention, they really toned everything down. Just a 5-tier cake and a simple decoration setup. They start moving forward, and all around them, people are talking about just one thing, Kim Il-sung. Just then, Secretary Young arrives with his son. His son greets everyone and says, hello, my name is Young Cheol-soo. Si-hyung's mother, Kim So-young, says, your son seems very mature. Si-hyung is surprised to see him and thinks to himself, Young Cheol-soo, he was someone I really cared about in my past life. Cheol-soo says, nice to meet you, Si-hyung. Let's walk a little. Secretary Young starts guiding Si-hyung's family to their seats, while Cheol-soo takes Si-hyung ahead. Si-hyung's mom, Kim So-young, says, it's nice that Si-hyung now has an older brother figure who'll look after him. Si-hyung thinks, well, even in my past life, he was a genuinely good kid. But then a girl passes in front of Si-hyung, and he's completely shocked. He whispers her name, Ji-young-hae. Hearing this, Cheol-soo asks, do you know the daughter of Samjeon Steel? Si-hyung replies, I think I've seen her somewhere. Though in his mind, he's thinking, of course I know her. She was my first love in my past life. The woman I truly loved, but could never be with, because she was Ji-young-hae. I even thought about marrying her. But when Semjon's steel collapsed during the IMF crisis, she accepted my father's offer. If she broke up with me, my father would support her family. She betrayed me for a bit of money. I hated her so much after that. I really resented her. I thought I only loved money, but turns out I was just a heartbroken fool. Anyway, back to Sehyung. While watching Ji Young-ha, he thinks, now I understand. She was just trying to protect her family. The IMF crisis really was a serious problem. Cheol-soo looks confused, but Sehyung says, nothing. Let's keep walking. Suddenly, someone steps on Sehyung's foot, making him fall. His mom, Kim So-young, rushes to him, and Secretary Young helps him up. Sehyung, clearly angry, thinks, who the hell tripped me like that? The boy who tripped him speaks up and says, so this is the kid, the one my dad praises so much. It's none other than John Taegu, Sehyung's brother from his past life. Sehyung is furious. Taegu sneers, he's not even special. Why'd they invite him to my birthday party? But before he can say anything else, Sehyung punches him straight in the face. Taegu falls to the ground. Kim So-young rushes to Sehyung and says, what are you doing? Sehyung replies, he pushed me first. Secretary Young helps Taegu up and asks, is that true, Taegu? Taegu scoffs, seriously? You're doubting me? You trust that kid more than me? Secretary Young turns to Cheol-soo, who confirms, Taegu pushed him on purpose. Taegu gets even more enraged. Kim So-young says, still, Sehyung, you shouldn't have hit him. Sehyung replies, he deserved it, and thinks to himself, you think this is my first time dealing with someone like him? He's a classic bully, only goes after the weak. John Taegu, unless you fight back, he'll never stop. Then Sehyung starts mocking Taegu. Secretary Young finally says, enough. Taegu was wrong too. Even as Taegu continues to shout, Secretary Young warns, if you make more of a scene, the chairman won't like it. That shuts Taegu up immediately. Sehyung thinks, still terrified of dad, huh? Even in this life. Kim So-young picks up Sehyung and says, are you hurt? Looks like you scraped your knee. Let's put some cream on it. From a distance, Taegu watches this and asks Secretary Young, when is Mom Kim So-young coming? Secretary Young replies, Madam said she's tied up with work and will be late. Just enjoy the party. Taegu sulks. It's always like this. Mom or dad never show up. This is my birthday. Feels more like a beggar's birthday party. He starts crying, and Secretary Young tries to console him. Kim So-young looks over and says, that poor kid sitting all alone like that doesn't look right. Myung adds, seriously, it's his birthday, and not even his parents are here? Are all ultra-rich families like this? It's just sad. Sehyung thinks, well, it's true. At this time, Mom Kim So-young was super busy managing my famous politician grandma, and Dad never cared about birthdays. But I didn't mind. I was always busy greeting all the big shot guests. But this kid, he's different. Taegu keeps crying. Not everyone's like Sehyung. This kid is different. Then Secretary Young makes an announcement. Thank you all for coming to John Taegu's birthday party. Please enjoy the food and the performance we've arranged. Kim So-young tells Sehyung that she requested his favorite noodles from his favorite restaurant. Hearing that, Sehyung lights up and starts eating happily. Secretary Young then announces, today's performance is by the national idol group Just. They'll be performing just for us. Sehyung starts watching them. Suddenly, Ji Young-hee screams, Sayeon-mi oppa, you're the best. Somebody please arrest Sayeon-mi. Anyway, Sehyung thinks, oh, so this is the type she's into in this life? Just begins their performance. Taegu thinks to himself, been a while since I saw Sehyung and Just perform together. Kim So-young and Ji Young-hee look excited. If someday a member of Just goes missing, don't suspect Sehyung. He's innocent. Sehyung thinks, still, this is pretty impressive. Secretary Young really saved the party with food and entertainment. But no matter how hopeless that kid is, watching him cry alone like that just doesn't feel right. Where the hell are his parents? Why haven't they shown up yet? Just then, Secretary Young looks surprised. Chairman and his wife have finally arrived. Everyone welcomes them. The chairman walks over to Sehyung. His wife says, so this is the boy you've been talking about. He's cute. This woman helped Sehyung in his past life. Sehyung looks at her and thinks, don't say cute with that face. Cold and sharp, just like always. The kind of woman who only knows how to work. Taegu is thrilled to see his mom, Kim So-young. Sehyung's mom says, looking at everyone together like this, it almost feels like a happy family. Sehyung thinks, please, don't say things like that. What you see isn't what it is. My past life family had no love, no warmth, just money and achievements. But now, I have a new family. And with them, it feels like I can go anywhere. I'll go further with this family by my side. Scene shifts. It's 1995. Sehyung is now 5 years old. We see his parents panicking, saying, Sehyung, please wake up. He's lying unconscious with an oxygen mask. Wait, what just happened? Everything was fine a second ago. Why is he in the hospital? Next, we see two guys who've just finished moving furniture. One of them says, it's all done. We set up the place just the way you asked. Sehyung's dad, Jun Ji-sung, walks in and says, thanks, I can't believe it all came together so well. The mover replies, well, you paid extra for Samjeon to handle everything properly. Then chuckling, he says, anyway, we'll be heading out now. Before they leave, Sehyung's dad calls out, Sehyung, come here. You should thank them. Sehyung runs in. Did you call me? He's safe. So what was that hospital scene? Was it past or future? We'll find out later. Anyway, the mover gets excited seeing Si-hyung and says, "We're big fans of your whole family, ever since Judge Baby aired." Then he hands over a teddy bear. "My wife made this herself. She really wanted to give it to you." Si-hyung smiles sweetly and says, "Thank you so much." The mover leaves, clearly delighted. Kim So-young steps out and asks, "All done. Min-guk's asleep." Jeon Ji-sung happily yells, "Honey, come outside. From today." They're starting a new life in their new home. Looking around, Kim So-young says, "I can't believe this is our house." Jeon Ji-sung adds, "Chairman of Semjeon has a big heart. He just gave us this place." But Si-hyung doesn't care that much. He thinks exclusive child model, included company stocks, and a new apartment in Jamal after 2 years. But before the contract even ended, father already sent us the keys. Official reason? Construction finished early. Real reason? My major contribution to the next-gen image project. Chairman John had 3 flagship projects: creating Semjeon's next-gen image, securing property tech, and developing Semjeon Semiconductors. Today, Semjeon Electronics has surpassed Insung and Inji, becoming the most preferred brand. Sure, the quality of their products improved, but I can't say I had no role in it. Grandpa Jeon Joshi even praised me. He should have given me more perks or bonuses. Suddenly, Jisung asks, "Si-hyung, what should we do today?" Si-hyung is confused. What's he talking about? Then the news pops up on TV. The stock market is tanking. People are selling off everything. Si-hyung realizes what his dad meant, stocks. He says, "Dad, we should buy more Semjeon Electronics stocks." Ji-sung replies, "Their stock just dropped a lot." Si-hyung gets annoyed and thinks, this year's global economic coal wave tanked the entire market. Small-minded investors are panic selling. But Semjeon has a bright future. The real story of Semjeon Semiconductors is just beginning. They probably secured drum protection tech in secret early this year. Then he tells his dad, "Anyway, I really think we should buy more Semjeon Electronics stocks." Ji-sung asks, "Is this just a gut feeling?" Si-hyung nods. Ji-sung says, "Then we should definitely buy." Si-hyung then explains in his thoughts, "Dad basically became my stock manager. One defense stock I told him to buy went up more than 10 times. Since then, even with some doubts, he always asked me first." Then Si-hyung asks, "Dad, why are you so into stocks? You're not just chasing money, are you?" Ji-sung blushes and says, "No, not at all. It's just seeing you make all the right predictions and helping us make some money. It's exciting. Plus, I've been thinking, if I save up enough, I can finally give your mom a proper wedding gift." Si-hyung is touched. He hugs his dad and says, "I'll help you all the way." Ji-sung gets emotional too. Just then, little Min-guk walks in, now 3 years old, and says, "Brother, read me a book." Si-hyung replies, "You're up? I'm kind of busy, but mom's caught up in kitchen work." "All right, come here." Min-guk happily sits beside him. Si-hyung says, "Let's see what book you brought today. Crime and Punishment? Not bad." Ji-sung is shocked hearing the title. "Wait, what are you reading to him?" Si-hyung starts reading and thinks, "I'm personally giving Min-guk the elite early education I got from Semjeon. Everything from humanities to economics to multiple foreign languages. This kid has potential, unlike John Taegu, who was a total idiot. I'll train him well and turn him into someone smart and useful." Then a call comes in. Kim So-young picks up. It's Myung. She says, "Yes, we've completely moved in. You can visit anytime." "Oh, there's a new celebrity interview today? No problem. Come when you're free." Si-hyung thinks things at SKJ are going well too. Putting Myung in charge was definitely the right call. Kim So-young continues. "A new job. There's an event at the Semjeon Electronics department store. The chairman will be there too." Si-hyung frowns and says, "Guess I have to deal with that old-fashioned guy again." Soon, Myung arrives to pick them up. Kim So-young says, "You came. I was thinking Si-hyung and I would head to the event ourselves, since you must be busy." Myung smiles. "Doesn't matter how busy SKJ is. My real job is managing Si-hyung. By the way, where is he?" Si-hyung peeks from behind his mom. "I'm right here." Myung says, "Wow, you look really cool. Looks like you put some effort into it. All right, let's head to the Semjeon event hall." In the car, Myung says, "I talked to Sanmi. We're thinking about shifting the SKJ office to Gangnam." Kim So-young says, "Gangnam? Isn't that super expensive?" Myung replies, "We can manage. Recently, we've signed some high-profile celebrity contracts. Visibility is really important in this industry, and Si-hyung even said he liked the idea when he overheard us talking about it." She's about to ask Si-hyung, but he's already asleep. "Is he asleep?" she asks. Kim So-young replies, "He was watching over Min-guk this morning. Must have tired him out." Myung laughs. Min-guk still clings to his big brother like glue. It's so cute watching them call each other big bro and little bro. Anyway, we're almost there. What should we do about Si-hyung? Kim So-young says, "I'll take care of him this time. He can rest a bit before the event starts." Si-hyung wakes up and says, "Why is the bed shaking?" Then he realizes he's not in bed, he's on Kim So-young's shoulder. She says, "You're awake, Si-hyung." He's shocked and thinks, "Wait, we're already at the Semjeon event? Since when?" This is all Mingek's fault. Embarrassed, he says, Mom, please put me down. She replies, can't you stay like this for a little longer? He says, no, your back will hurt. Just then a man arrives and says, so you're here. I've been waiting for you. I'm the PR director for this department store. We've prepared a waiting room. You can rest there before the event starts. Si-young asks his mom, is today's event inside the department store? She replies, oh right, I forgot to tell you. It's in a famous department store. We'll go straight to the Samjeon event area from the staff section. Si-young thinks, a department store. Which stores were famous at that time in Samjeon? But this place seems way too run down for a department store. He looks around, shocked at the cracked walls and sunken floor. At that moment, Sion realizes something and suddenly panics. He quickly asks his mother, Kim So-young, the name of the department store. She replies, this is the Inbit department store. Hearing that, Sion freezes. In his mind, he says, Inbit department store? I remember. One summer, this building suddenly collapsed and so many people lost their lives. It was a disaster like never before. And the exact date of that accident is today. Sion is overwhelmed. What should I do now? How am I supposed to handle this? Is it really happening today? I barely remember the details of the incident. At the time, I was sent on my first overseas study trip by my father, John Ji-seong. I only heard bits and pieces later from the news. I don't remember much. His mom, Kim So-young, asks, Sion, what's wrong? Are you not feeling well? He's visibly shaken, thinking, this is not the time to panic. If something happens to Mom again, he grabs her hand and says, Mom, we have to get out of here, right now. Hearing the commotion, the chairman arrives and says, is everything all right? There's a lot of noise here. It's been a long time since we last met. You look a bit tired, Shin. Is everything okay? Sion clutches the chairman's clothes and pleads, we have to stop this. We need to cancel the event. The chairman's expression shifts. Sion thinks to himself, this isn't right. Father isn't the kind of man to be swayed by a child's emotional plea. This event must have been planned for months. I can't just ask him to cancel it without a good reason. Sion starts recalling the news reports. The A and B buildings collapsed, but the A building took the most damage. He tries again, insisting, please, Chairman, we need to change the event's location. The current location isn't safe. We should go to Building B. It's bigger and better. Mi-young and Kim So-young are shocked. Sion thinks, of the two buildings, only Building B suffered minor damage. It barely avoided collapsing. I don't have any other option but to trust my memories. We need to move there, fast. Then his mom grabs him and asks, Sion, what are you doing? Sion starts yelling. Kim So-young apologizes to the chairman, saying, I'm sorry. I don't know why he's acting like this. I'll talk to him. So the chairman starts thinking. Just then, Secretary Young rushes over. Chairman, there's a problem with the event hall. We see the event hall where a large crowd is gathered. The PR director is struggling to calm people down. The chairman looks at the chaos and says, things have really gotten out of hand. Secretary Young apologizes. I'm sorry, sir. The chairman asks, when did this happen? There were just a few people here in the morning. How did it get out of control so fast? He quickly understands. It makes sense. The department head tried to handle everything on his own when he heard I was coming. The PR director is crying, saying, I can't let the chairman see this. I'll lose my job. The chairman adds, that news report mentioned that Sion and the Just Group were attending. That must be why so many people came. Sion gets even more worried and says, this is serious. We don't know when the building will collapse. We have to act fast. The chairman looks at Sion. So that's what you meant by changing the venue. Sion smiles slightly. Yeah, that's right. We never know when disaster could strike. Let's move to Building B. The chairman asks Secretary Young, is there enough space in Building B for all these people? Secretary Young replies, yes, from what I know, there's a hall available. The chairman nods. All right, we'll shift everything there. But the PR director objects. Sir, that area isn't ready yet. We're activating our staff to manage the situation here. It would be best to continue as planned. Then Sion steps between them and insists, no, we have to move to Building B right away. He thinks to himself, I need to save everyone. Mom, Dad, I have to save them all. Seeing his determination, the chairman finally says, understood. Secretary Young changed the venue to Building B's hall. The PR director protests again. Chairman, the ventilation system in Building B isn't working. Neither is the air conditioning. The chairman replies, is that so? But it's still better for people to be uncomfortable from the heat and crowd than to risk dying in a fatal gas explosion. A little discomfort is better than death. He starts walking toward the hall. The PR director is in tears. Secretary Young adds, let's cooperate for now. Sion smiles, thinking, this is good. Now Mom, Dad, and everyone else will be safe. Sion looks around and finds what he was searching for, the fire alarm. He says, now all that's left is to trigger the fire alarm. But why is there so much stuff blocking it? I can't get through. Just a little more. Suddenly his mom grabs him. Sion, what are you doing? This is dangerous. Cyan is sweating and says, I have to sound the alarm. We need to evacuate everyone. He thinks, what is this? I can't breathe. My head is spinning, and collapses. Kim So-young panics. Someone help! Cyan passed out. The chairman rushes over. What happened? She cries. He just suddenly fainted. His whole body feels like it's burning up. The chairman picks Cyan up. We need to get him to the hospital. I'll take him myself. Secretary Young, call an ambulance. Cyan briefly opens his eyes and thinks, no, I have to save everyone, and loses consciousness again. They rush him to the hospital. A doctor asks, what's the patient's condition? A nurse replies, he has a high fever. Kim So-young starts crying. Ma-young comforts her. The chairman yells, where's the hospital head? A nurse, recognizing him, says, Chairman, I'll call him right away. Later in the hospital room, Cyan opens his eyes. Where am I? A hospital? His mom is beside him. He wakes her up. Mom, what happened? Where are we? Just then a news report plays, continuing coverage. Around 7 p.m., the fifth survivor was pulled alive from the rubble of Inbit department store. Over 100 casualties have already been confirmed. Authorities say they'll do everything possible to save more lives. Seeing him awake, Kim So-young hugs him and cries, Cyan, do you even know how scared I was? She hugs him tightly. Cyan asks, what is all this? We see his hospital room filled with gifts. His father, Jeon Ji-seong, is crying and shouts, you have any idea? All of this was sent by your fans. When they heard you fainted and were unconscious for 3 days, they were shocked. Cyan thinks, 3 days? I've been unconscious for 3 days? The doctor arrives and says, there's nothing to worry about. The boy is perfectly healthy. He just collapsed from stress. Minguk hugs him. Big bro, don't get sick again. The doctor adds, please take care of him and make sure he doesn't get too stressed. Jeon Ji-seong thanks the doctor. Mi-young says, good thing it wasn't serious. The family surrounds Cyan. His dad says, don't ever pass out again. Always stay healthy, my son. Seeing their love, tears fill Shin's eyes. He thinks, Mom, Dad, Minguk, I'm so sorry for worrying you all. Then Shin asks his mom, did something bad happen? She looks troubled and says, there was an accident. Actually, a very big one. Shin blacks out again. We see a news report. Following the collapse of Inbit department store last Monday, questions are being raised about the building's low-quality construction. Watching the TV, Cyan thinks, so, it finally happened. The great disaster. Over 300 casualties have been reported. I couldn't change anything. I really wanted to stop that disaster. But did I really have no way? Was this all I could do? Is this all John Xian was capable of? Seeing him upset, Kim So-young walks over. Cyan, I don't know what's going through your head, but because of you, we were able to move the event hall in time. That saved a lot of people. She continues. Even the chairman said he's thankful to you. Cyan thinks Father is safe too. She adds, thanks to you, I and Mi-young Uni survived that accident. I'm so proud of you, Cyan. Hearing that, Cyan gets emotional. Tears roll down his cheeks as he thinks, so that's what it is. I couldn't stop the disaster, but maybe I changed the future a little. As much as I could. Cyan hugs his mother and breaks into tears. Meanwhile, Mi-young makes a phone call. Cyan's awake now. Thank you for covering the VIP room and hospital bills. On the other end, Secretary Young stands beside the chairman. Chairman, Cyan has regained consciousness. The chairman asks, how is he? Secretary Young replies, according to the test results, he's perfectly healthy. When the chairman says, good, publish the article. Say that Samjin takes full responsibility and will personally lead all recovery efforts along with Cyan. Also, buy a fruit basket for him and go visit personally. If anything urgent comes up, contact me immediately. Secretary Young nods and leaves. The chairman thinks to himself, Cyan really is a strange kid. That day, not just me and Secretary Young, but many senior executives from Samjin were supposed to be at that event. If we hadn't listened to him, we could have died, and so would have Just and the other guests. It would have been catastrophic for Samjin. The company's stability would have collapsed. It's like, he's really my own son, he continues. His intelligence is far too advanced for a 5-year-old. Sometimes he does things that words can't explain. I need to know more. Just who is this child, and how is he connected to me? The scene shifts to a small house deep in the woods. A car pulls up. An old woman speaks to the chairman. You secretly hired people to get someone else's child's horoscope, didn't you? So this is the child. The chairman replies, yes, that's him, John Seon. He's quite famous. She says, I don't watch TV. I wouldn't know. He adds, anyway, I want to know how the child's abilities match up with me and the Samjin Corporation. I want his horoscope reading. You've been giving readings to Samjin since my father's time. She nods. I owe your father. So for old time's sake, I'll do it. You're curious about this child, huh? Want to know how he's connected to your life? It's simple. He'll devour you. The chairman is stunned. What? She continues. He's the kind of child who gives little and takes everything for himself. He'll leave everyone behind and build his own empire. He'll be the boss of it all. You'll mean nothing in front of him, she adds. In both your past lives and this one, you two were destined to meet. Your fortunes are aligned, so you'll benefit too. But as time passes and he meets water, his destiny will lead him to rule the oceans and dominate the world. He'll take everything from you and rise far above anything you could imagine. Shocked, the chairman asks, "And what about Taegu, my son, Jeon Taegu?" She responds, "That child, he's nothing special, just ordinary. If he had an older brother, he'd always be in his shadow. But luckily, he was born first, so his life will be peaceful and uneventful." The chairman reflects. The old woman says, "If someone's fate is to take everything from you, most people would avoid that person. But not you, right?" The chairman sits calmly and laughs. "To be honest, I want to see how he takes everything from me. Watching that will be fun." The old woman laughs. "You're no ordinary man either. You keep your enemies close. That's a true sign of a ruler. Whether you embrace him or crush him early on, for now, he'll stand by your side." The chairman says, "He's already helped me. That child saved my life during the in-bit department store incident." Shocked, the old woman asks, "Really?" The chairman nods. "And even after all that, he kept insisting we continue searching through the rubble. He wouldn't stop." He adds, "We should do it, and I want to see for myself if he'll truly stand by my side." Then he takes out his phone and calls someone. "Yes, founder. I called you to discuss something important." He's calling his father, founder John Yoshin. The scene shifts to Xiong's apartment, where the news is playing on the TV. Breaking news. The Samjeon Group continues to lead rescue efforts at the collapsed in-bit department store. It's been 10 days since the incident. While many believe there were no more survivors, just now, the 13th survivor has been found alive. The government has expressed its gratitude to Samjeon Group for continuing the search. Hearing this, Xiong's family is overjoyed. His mom, Kim So-young, says, "Xiong, just like you said, there really were more survivors." Xiong, thinking to himself, says, "I'm glad to hear that. In my previous life, the rescue operation ended way too early. That's why the 13th survivor wasn't found alive back then. I remember how much backlash there was because of the short rescue period. But this time, that person being found alive, that's real luck." Kim So-young says, "Honestly, when you insisted to the chairman, I thought I might pass out. But seeing how you saved lives, our Xiong is truly special." Then his dad, John Ji-xiong, adds, "And you donated to the victims, just like you said you would, 4 million won." Watching both of them, Xiong thinks, "Mom, Dad, even after I was discharged, you kept worrying about me. I acted like I was fine, but deep down I was struggling because I couldn't save more people. That's why I kept blacking out, and it made them worry more. But now, it's time. I need to put their worries to rest." Xiong speaks up. "Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad." His dad replies, "That's right, my son. You thought about helping others. I'm proud of you." Xiong turns to his mom and says, "Mom, now that I'm better, I want to start working." Kim So-young responds, "Already? But you can still rest a bit. I think a kid your age should focus more on playing and enjoying life." But Xiong says firmly, "No, I want to work, and I will." His parents look at each other and say, "Well, he's made up his mind. There's nothing we can do. Let him do what he wants." Xiong thinks to himself, "I have to work, because soon." The scene shifts to a commercial shoot where Sae-nami and Xiong are working. Sae-nami suddenly shouts, "What did you just say? Samjeon's exclusive contract isn't going to be renewed?" The director chimes in, "Ma'am, please focus here." Sae-nami apologizes and returns to shooting the commercial for a new Samjeon product. After a short break is called, we move to the waiting room. Sae-nami looks at Xiong and asks, "What do you mean? I know the exclusive contract's almost up, but why won't it be renewed?" Samjeon doesn't want to continue. Xiong calmly replies, "It's the right move for me." Inside, he's thinking, "I never aimed to be a celebrity. I only worked as a child actor because kids don't have many options to make money. But now I've saved up enough. It's time for me to walk my own path, to build a top-tier company of my own." Sae-nami nods. Yeah, businessmen should do business. I'm not really sure what that means, but I guess it's not a bad decision. Why do I keep treating you like a kid? You're doing things grown-ups can't even manage." Thinking to herself, she adds, "Being Samjeon's exclusive model gives you insane fame and money, and you're just walking away from that." She then says out loud, "But whatever you choose, you're gonna crush it." Xiong smirks. "Of course." She asks, "Did you talk to your manager and everyone else about this?" Xiong nods. Sae-nami thinks, "He's not joking, is he?" Suddenly, someone knocks on the door. It's the director. Sae-nami asks, "Director, is break time over already?" But then more people appear behind him, and the director says, "Actually, ma'am, someone's here to see Xiong." These people enter, and Xiong is visibly surprised. Among them is none other than the chairman, who looks at Xiong and says, Song, I heard you're free after this shoot today. Song nods. Then the chairman says, so, will you have dinner with me? He picks up Cyan in his arms, to which Cyan replies, I can walk by myself. Hearing that, the chairman smiles and says, don't you like it when I carry you? Looking at the chairman like that, Cyan thinks to himself, why is he acting like this today? Is he trying to sweet talk me into something? Maybe he's planning to sell me off or something. Cyan starts getting suspicious of the chairman. Just then, Xiaomi walks in and says, well, I'll be going now, chairman. Even if it was for a short while, it was nice to see you. Cyan feels something's off between the two of them and thinks, what's going on here? And why is she talking like that? Then the chairman says, if it's you, I know you'll understand everything eventually. Xiaomi, with a small smile, replies, I knew from the beginning that this relationship would end someday. Once you become the owner of Samjong, this will be for the best. You should remove anything that could become a rumor later. The chairman has officially broken up with Xiaomi. Seeing this, Xion thinks, now I remember. There was a time when Xiaomi left my father's life. That's when they ended their relationship, probably to avoid any scandals once my dad became the owner of Samjong. As Xiaomi walks away, she says, goodbye, Xion. See you later. Watching her go, Xion thinks, she left just like that. No hesitation at all. Xiaomi, you really are something. Then the chairman says, all right, Cyan, let's go. Cyan gets nervous and thinks, where are we even going? The scene shifts. We see a large building. It's a restaurant. And not just any restaurant. It's Cyan's favorite one. Cyan lights up and says, wait, this is my favorite Chinese restaurant. Just then, he hears someone call his name. He turns around, and it's his mom and dad. The chairman says to Cyan's parents, come on inside, they're waiting for us. Hearing this, Cyan thinks, someone's waiting? Who? And why did he call my parents here? They walk in, and a man welcomes them. It's none other than the founder of Samjong, Zhang Yoshin. He says, so you're the kid, Zhong Xionguk. Dishes start coming out one after the other, and the staff says, please enjoy your meal. Cyan's eyes light up when he sees his favorite dishes. Zhang Yoshin laughs and says, go on, dig in. You must be starving after coming all this way. Don't hold back. Eat as much as you want. Cyan's parents start eating, but they look uneasy. They're wondering why they were called here in the first place. Cyan glances at the founder and thinks, eating with the founder of Samjong. It's a little awkward. But hey, these are my favorite noodles. I don't care even if he kicks me out of the company. And with that, Cyan starts eating. Founder Zhang Yoshin laughs and says, haha, you're really eating with your heart. Cyan thinks seriously, what's going on here? Why is the founder of Samjong, Grandpa himself, suddenly here? He built this company from scratch. Even my dad bows to him, and I've always respected him. So why show up like this out of nowhere? Then the founder turns to Cyan's dad and says, you're not eating much. You don't like the food? Cyan's dad replies, no, it's great, but more important than the food, I want to know why we're here. No one says anything for a moment. Then Zhang Yoshin says, because Cyan saved both my son and my company, I just wanted to thank him. But more than that, I wanted to meet this child in person, the one my son wants to adopt as his own. Cyan is completely shocked. What is happening right now? His dad is stunned and asks, what do you mean by that? The chairman gives a small smile and says, I'm thinking of becoming Cyan's legal guardian. I want to give him every educational opportunity he could want until he grows up. From Korea's best kindergartens to studying abroad, if he wants it, it's his. Cyan's dad is speechless. And the chairman continues, and when he grows up, if he wants to join Samjong, I'll hire him through a special recruitment program. Cyan's dad asks, why are you doing all this? The chairman replies, he saved my life. So I owe him that. But more than that, I see potential in him. A child with this much promise. I want to see just how far he can go. Then the founder says, you're going overboard trying to make him your son. What can I even say? So, Cyan, what do you think? Would you like to be my grandson? Cyan starts thinking. I don't think Dad is hiding anything, but I'm not so naive as to think they're doing this just for my education. They've got another plan. Still, in my current situation, I don't see any reason to say no. So Cyan says, all right, then it's a deal. The founder laughs and says, this kid's something else. But if you become my grandson, don't expect to take it easy. I'll make you the perfect successor for Samjong. Cyan shrugs and says, I don't care. His dad tries to shush him like, hey, watch what you're saying in front of the elders. But Zhang Joshin laughs and says, haha, I like this kid. He turns to the chairman and says, all right, Jiayong, I'll leave the rest to you. Cyan suddenly shouts, wait, I want to say something. He looks at the founder and says, please don't overwork yourself and cut back on the drinking a little. You need to rest. The founder looks confused. Cyan thinks to himself, the grandfather I admire so much. He was obsessed with work and alcohol. Even on the day he died, he never stopped working or drinking. If he had taken better care of himself, maybe we could have spent more time together. That's why Cyan says health matters the most. The founder chuckles and says, "You're right, health is important." Even Cyan's mom is surprised to hear that. The founder keeps laughing, and the chairman turns to Xian's dad and says, "Think about it. Let me know your decision." Cyan's dad replies, "Yes, chairman, I'll call you soon." But then we notice something. The founder's expression changes slightly, and he puts a hand over his chest. Is this the end of his story? We jump ahead, 1 month later. The scene shows Sion's apartment. His dad says, "All right, let's eat. This is Jamsil Branch's special original bossum." Sion takes a bite and thinks, "This is amazing." He starts eating quickly. Mi-young says, "Sorry I couldn't make it to the store opening." Sion's dad replies, "Sister, don't say that. I know how busy you are managing SKJ." Sion is enjoying his meal and thinks, the last month has been hectic for the whole family. Dad finally opened the store he always wanted, and Mom's been helping him a lot so they can focus on their work. That's why I've been looking after Minguk. Manager's been busy hitting SKJ's performance targets. After all, someone has to fill the gap left by a big star like me going on temporary retirement. That's not an easy role to fill. Then Mi-young smiles and says to Sion, "So, Sion, are you enjoying your childhood lately? This is your first real break. Did you do everything you wanted to do?" Sion says yes and thinks to himself, "Based on the money I've saved, I've come up with a solid investment plan, and I've already prepped a strategy for the upcoming IMF crisis." Ha ha ha, yeah, that was a meaningful time. Just then, Sion's mom turns to Mi-young and says, "Sis, please scold Sion." Mi-young looks confused. So Sion's mom explains, Sion doesn't want to go to kindergarten. Mi-young turns to Sion and says, "Sion, that won't do. I don't care how smart you are. You still have to go to kindergarten." Sion refuses and thinks, "No way. I'm way too old for kindergarten. What am I supposed to do surrounded by a bunch of 5- and 6-year-olds? We see a funny panel where Sion, in his older form, is sitting in class and a kid looks at him and asks, "Who are you, mister?" Sion thinks, "I've got way too much going on to waste time on stuff like this." He then shouts, "I'm not going to kindergarten. I can study on my own." Just then, there's a knock at the door. Sion's mom goes to answer it, and it's Secretary Young. "Oh, Secretary Young, you came all of a sudden, but you're here at just the right time," she says. Sion starts wondering, why did Secretary Young suddenly show up? We then see Secretary Young. His expression looks dark and serious. Sion thinks, why does he look like that? Secretary Young pulls out a letter and it, tearing up, says, "I came to deliver some news." The letter is an invitation to the funeral of founder John Yoshin. That's right, the founder of Samjong has passed away. The scene shifts. Now the news is everywhere. Good morning. We've just received word that the founder and chairman of Samjong, John Yoshin, passed away suddenly 2 days ago in the early morning. His final farewell will be held at the Central Funeral Hall of Seoul Sam Hospital. Cause of death has been reported as a heart attack. Chairman John Yoshin had a history of heart problems. Secretary Young turns off the TV. We see Shin and his family at the funeral home, visibly heartbroken. Sion's mom says, "How could this happen? I just saw him a month ago." Sion's dad adds, "Yeah, he looked perfectly fine." Secretary Young says, "Thank you for coming." Sion's dad replies, "Of course, we had to come. He cared so much about our Sion." Secretary Young says, "The funeral hall is already filled with political figures and business leaders. It'll be difficult to get you inside, and we also need to think about Sion's safety." We see Sion looking really down. He thinks to himself, "Grandpa, it feels like we've been separated way too soon. I told you, didn't I, that you should cut back on drinking and working so much. Now I understand. This drive I have to take my work so seriously, I got that from you." Tears start forming in his eyes. Secretary Young says, "We should head out now, Sion." Sion nods. "Yeah, let's go." Secretary Young turns to Sion's parents and says, "I'll take Sion with me. We'll be back soon." Sion's mom replies, "Of course, and please tell the chairman we were truly saddened to hear this news." Secretary Young leaves with Sion, most likely heading to meet the chairman. Sion thinks Secretary Young, who brought the news of my grandfather's passing, also said my father wants to meet me. But why? He's already dealing with so much. Secretary Young brings Sion to the chairman and says, "Chairman, I've brought Sion." Sion walks up. The chairman is sitting quietly, deep in thought. Am I really taking on all this responsibility just because I'm now the director? He wonders, even before the scent of the funeral flowers has faded. Sion asks, "Chairman, are you okay?" The chairman gives a small smile and says, "Are you trying to comfort me?" Sion thinks to himself, "Yeah, you're not the type to accept comfort, but still, you look really tired." The chairman is surprised by this and says, "You're right, it's tough. Doing something I've never done in my life. Calling a child to the funeral hall just so I could see his face one last time." He stands up and continues, "If I could say something lighthearted, I guess now this is my responsibility. I have to carry on my father's legacy. I have to pass it on fully to the next generation. to a successor who can handle this empire. Sion is stunned and shouts, "What do you mean?" The chairman asks, "Would you accept this sponsorship?" Sion replies, "But my mom and dad haven't said anything yet." The chairman says, "I'm asking you, what's your opinion?" "Oh," Sion answers, "My opinion? Then I accept it." The chairman says, "Good, then start preparing next month. Secretary Young will handle the transfer process to Samjeong's kindergarten. Prove that you're a seed worth investing in, starting now." And so begins Sion's kindergarten life. Are you excited for that? This chapter had its share of sad moments. But maybe, just maybe, the next one will be a little brighter. The chapter opens with the sound of a car pulling up, and we hear Secretary Young's voice. "We're here, Si-young. This is Samjeong Kindergarten." Secretary Young and Si-young step out of the car. Si-young is dressed in his kindergarten uniform. Secretary Young says, "This is a great kindergarten. They teach and support kids who are gifted. It really is an excellent place." Hearing this, Si-young thinks to himself, "Yeah, I already know." Samjeong didn't set this place up just to help gifted kids. They built this kindergarten to find and groom talented children, especially those from difficult backgrounds. That's the public story. But the real truth? This place is a private educational institute, secretly training the children of political and business elites. They have special classes for the rich kids and regular ones for the others. Whether it's special or not, I never planned to attend kindergarten at this age. But it looks like I have no choice but to go along with my father, Ji-yeon Jae-young's little test. Just then, the principal of the kindergarten arrives. She walks over and says to Secretary Young, "So, is this the boy?" Secretary Young replies, "Yes, this is him. Thank you for accepting the transfer so quickly." The principal says, "Well, this was Chairman Ji-yeon Jae-young's request. Of course, we had to follow his orders." She then calls someone over. A young woman walks in and says, "Hello, I'm the homeroom teacher for Samjeong Kindergarten's Class A. My name is Lee John." Si-young, looking at her, thinks, "Oh, this teacher's actually kind of cute." The principal continues, "This is his homeroom teacher. She'll be looking after him from now on." Teacher Lee Jin looks at him and says, "You're Si-young, right? Come on, let's head to class. Your new friends are waiting for you." We see some kids in the background, though their faces aren't shown yet. As Si-young walks toward the classroom with Teacher John, he's thinking, "Wow, this place is pretty big. So many kids here." Teacher John says, "You'll have 5 classmates. They're all good kids, so try to get along." Si-young nods and thinks, 5 kids, huh? I've got a feeling I already know who they are." Now inside the classroom, Teacher Jaehyun announces, "Everyone, we have a new friend today. Let's all say hello." Then we see the 5 kids, each one with an intense aura. Let me introduce them. The first boy is Kang Ju-seong, grandson of the Prosecutor General. The second is Kim Hyun-jung, grandson of the CEO of Samjeong Electronics. The blonde-haired girl is Lee Si-hee, granddaughter of the director of Samjeong Hospital. The next girl is Seo Yu-lim, granddaughter of the former Minister of Defense. And lastly, we have Ji-yeon Mi-jin, daughter of Samjeong Group's chairman, Ji-yeon Jae-young, also known as Si-young's sister from his previous life. Seeing Mi-jin, Si-young thinks to himself, just like I thought, it's her. Back in my last life, when I left to study abroad, Mi-jin was still in kindergarten. I figured we'd meet again someday, but this is a little awkward. Teacher John says again, "Everyone, let's welcome our new friend." Ju Si-young rolls his eyes and says, "Teacher, who even greets people like that anymore?" Hyun-jung agrees, "Yeah, don't force us to do that." Si-young, clearly annoyed, thinks, "Look at these little rats, born and raised in luxury, and they don't even know how to be polite." Still, he introduces himself. "Hi, I'm Ji-yeon Seong-uk. Nice to meet you all." Ju Si-young makes a face unimpressed, but Teacher Jin smiles. Si-young internally is thinking, these spoiled brats won't change. He and Ju Si-young exchange cold glares. Teacher Jin says, "I'll go grab some snacks. Today we'll be reading a book, okay? You guys talk to each other in the meantime." As she leaves, Yu-lim says, "Hey, I think I know you. Aren't you that kid from TV?" Hyun-jung looks confused. "TV?" Yu-lim continues, "Yeah, he's like a celebrity, a child actor." Ju Si-young chimes in, "Then what about your family? My grandpa's the prosecutor general, and Hyun-jung's grandpa is the CEO of Samjeong Electronics. What does your grandpa do?" Si-young clenches his teeth, thinking, these little rats, all they care about is their families. Someone needs to teach them that life isn't all about pedigree. Out loud, he says, "I don't have a grandpa. My parents run a restaurant." Hyun-jung scoffs. "A restaurant? Not even a food company? Just a shop?" Ju Si-young laughs. "What's a kid like you even doing in our class? Let me give you all some advice. Stay away from him." Just as they're about to keep trash-talking him, Mi-jin speaks up. "I like him." She walks over to Si-young, hugs him and says, "Hi, Si-young. I saw you on TV." Si-young makes a face and thinks, she still goes after pretty faces. Figures. Mi-jin smiles brightly and says, "I like you. What about you, Si-young?" He thinks, even in my past life, she chased after boys just for their looks. Guess she's always been like this. He awkwardly replies, I think you're all right too. Mi-jin giggles. Oh, he's handsome and has good taste. From behind, Ju Seong yells, Hey Mi-jin, why are you being so nice to him? But Mi-jin doesn't even look at him. She says, Shut up already. I'm tired of looking at half-baked faces like yours. It's nice to finally have a good-looking guy in our class. She turns to Se-hee and asks, Right? Don't you agree? Se-hee nods. Yeah, I think Se-young looks really good. Mi-jin's totally right. Se-young, hearing this, thinks, she's the granddaughter of the Samjun hospital director. She's completely under Mi-jin's control because of family status. How am I going to avoid Mi-jin? I'll need to come up with a plan. Suddenly, we see someone standing behind Se-young, secretly taking pictures. The scene shifts to an office, where a man is saying, The Jiyeon Seongguk you mentioned is currently enrolled in Class A at Samjeon Kindergarten. We've confirmed he's in the same class as the girl Mi-jin. Looks like Secretary Yong arranged everything himself. The woman he's reporting to is none other than the chairman's wife. She looks at Se-young's photo and says, So this is Jiyeon Seongguk. Then with a tense look, she continues, Contact the chairman immediately. Tell him his wife wants to speak for the first time in a long time. Chapter 39 starts with the chairman talking to his wife. So what's the point of suddenly showing up here? We already agreed this is just a business relationship and we'd keep our distance. Ignoring that, his wife says, Jeon Se-young, he's your child, isn't he? The chairman is shocked and stands up. What nonsense are you talking about? She replies, Wasn't the contract enough? Now you've even enrolled him in Samjeon Kindergarten. If this is your child with another woman, just say so. She's clearly suspicious, but the chairman is a straightforward man. That's not true. If you have doubts, go ahead and get a DNA test, he says. She still looks unconvinced. Finally, he says, We're done talking. I'm leaving and don't call me again for something like this. I don't have the time. He walks out while she mutters to herself, Something's definitely off here. The scene shifts to Se-young's class at Samjeon Kindergarten. Yerim asks the teacher, Do you think this poor kid can really study with us? The teacher corrects her. Yerim, he's not poor. He's Se-young. But Ju Se-young agrees with Yerim and laughs, saying, You're right. He probably can't even write properly. They both laugh right in front of Se-young. The teacher asks Se-young if he's okay. He says yes. Class begins, and in every subject, music, arithmetic, crafts, Se-young performs at the top level. The teacher beams and calls him a genius. But the other kids, especially Ju Se-young, are clearly unhappy. A new teacher walks in, Thomas, the English teacher. All right, kids, are you ready to speak English? He asks. The class answers yes, except Se-young, who's lost in thought. He thinks maybe he's a bit too far above the others and should tone it down. Saying he taught himself English might be too much. Ju Se-young smirks. Finally, something you can't do. For someone who's been showing off all this time, you can't speak English, huh? The teacher looks surprised. Is that true, Se-young? If you can't speak English, it's fine. You can just sit out. That irritates Se-young. He answers in perfect English. Don't worry, teacher. I can speak English. You can ask me anything. Thomas is impressed and praises him, while Ju Se-young is in shock. How can a poor kid speak English like that? He mutters, just before Minji shoves him aside. She smiles at Se-young. You're amazing. You're great at music and everything else too. You're practically perfect. It's just basic knowledge, Se-young says. And more importantly, you're getting a little too close, Minji. Teacher Lee Ji-yoon is delighted. You're incredible, Se-young. How about we test your intelligence today? IQ test? He asks. It's just a normal placement test for Class A, she explains. We usually do it later, but you're so smart that I'm curious. Ju Se-young adds, I have to admit, I'm curious about his IQ too. Lee Ji-yoon suggests doing it after English class. Se-young agrees, thinking that in his past life, his IQ was around 150. With his new brain, maybe he could aim for 160. The scene shifts to Se-young's apartment, where we see his IQ result, 121. His parents are stunned. His father says, Now I'm actually starting to feel a little scared. Just how much of a genius is my son? He hugs him and crying. But Se-young himself is upset. He thinks 121? He's not a genius. This is lower than in his past life. He feels like an idiot, humiliated. His mother reviews his other performance scores, impressed, while Se-young calls his dad over. What is it, my genius son? His father says. All right, enough of that. I have some information, Se-young answers. We see Minji's profile, showing she must have told him her father is about to build a new factory. Are you talking about stocks? His father asks. No, this is better than that, Se-young says. We should buy land, Dad. His father is shocked. Land? Se-young leans in. Samjeon is planning to build a semiconductor plant, and I know exactly where. Not in Dongtaek, Hwasong. He thinks that's exactly where Dongtaek Newtown will later develop. Back then, Samjeon sold leftover land from the project and made a fortune. His father admits he's never done real estate before, but Se-young asks, What, you don't trust me? It's not that, his father says. Meanwhile, his mother receives a letter from Se-young's school. She asks what it is. He says it's Jeon Minji's birthday party invitation. His parents are shocked. Jeon Minji, the chairman's daughter? The scene cuts to outside a mansion. Myung says, if this address is right, this is Chairman Jeon Jae-young's home. Si-young's mother is stunned. Can we even call this a house? It's a palace. Myung agrees. And you're telling me the chairman's daughter personally invited you? That's impressive. Si-young gets out of the car, thinking they could have just ignored the invitation. He's not in the mood to attend her birthday. What does it have to do with him? His mother says, if a friend invites you to their birthday, you should go. Myung adds, right, and Secretary Young even called to confirm you'd be coming. You should attend sincerely. Si-young thinks he'd rather spend this time analyzing stock charts. His mother admits they didn't have much time to prepare, so she bought flowers as a gift. Do you think that's all right? Looking at this place, flowers seem like such a small thing. They're fine, Si-young says. Minji likes flowers, trust me. In his mind, he adds, she's the type of girl who'll be happy if a handsome guy gives her flowers. Myung waves goodbye. Have fun, you two. I'm heading back. Inside, servants greet them and guide them toward the main house. The gates open, revealing lavish decorations and a crowd of guests. Si-young's mother is in awe. It's even bigger inside. This really is a palace. It's just a slightly large and flashy house, Mom, Si-young says. He thinks, since he lived here for 10 years, it's nothing special to him. But for his mom, it's like stepping into another world. Suddenly, Minji calls out to him. He freezes as she runs over and hugs him. I've been waiting for you. She spots the flowers in his hands and beams. Who are these for? Don't tell me they're for me. Wait, you really brought them for me, didn't you? Oh my God, Si-young, you're totally my type. She then calls her mother over. Mom, Si-young's here. And like I told you, he's cute and handsome. Mi-jin's mother says, yes, I saw it. Seeing her makes Si-young a little uneasy, because in his past life, she was his mother too. With Mi-jin helping her, she says, thank you so much for inviting us to such an important event. This is some plum syrup I made myself. Mi-jin's mother calls over her butler and tells him to take it. Watching this, Si-young thinks to himself, please, just accept it. My mom worked really hard making that. Besides, the idea that she's giving this to Mi-jin, it's actually a really nice gift. Then he notices Mi-jin's mother glaring at him with a lot of anger. Si-young gets nervous. You're scaring me. Why are you looking at me like that? But she ignores him and instead says to Si-young's mother, Miss Si-young, please come with me. I'll introduce you to the other parents. Si-young wonders, why is mom looking at me like that? But here mom means his mother from his past life. Before he can think more, Mi-jin interrupts. Come on, Si-young. There's a huge cake and plenty of galbi jam you love. Hearing that makes Si-young's mouth water. This guy only cares about money and food. He thinks about himself as he follows Mi-jin. Meanwhile, Mi-jin's mother seats Si-young's mother at a table. Everyone there stares at her, making her nervous. Mi-jin's mother begins introducing people. This is Ju Si-young's mother, and this is Yoram and Hyung-jung's. You can tell by their hair color whose mother is whose. Everyone, say hello. This is Jeon Si-young-guk's mother. He just joined Class A. Si-young's mother introduces herself, but Ju Si-young's mother doesn't even acknowledge it. Instead, she asks, so what does your family do? Si-young's mother hesitates, not quite sure how to answer. Ju Si-young's mother repeats, I mean, what does your husband do for work? Nervously, she replies, he runs a restaurant in our apartment building. Yorim's and Hyung-jung's mothers look shocked. Yorim's mother asks, oh my God, then what about your education? Which university did you attend? Feeling more uncomfortable, Si-young's mother admits, I never went to college. I graduated from Commercial Girls High School. The three women are even more surprised. Si-young's mother starts feeling bad, thinking just as I thought, I shouldn't have come here. I don't want to cause trouble for Si-young. Then Yorim's mother suddenly stands up and yells in French, what is going on here? This is way below our level. Since she's speaking French, Si-young's mother doesn't understand. Is that English or some other language? What does it even mean? She wonders. With a smug tone, Ju Si-young's mother adds, exactly. She's pretending to be something she's not when she has nothing. A family making money just because their kid is good looking. Hearing this, Mi-jin's mother, the chairman's wife, smiles slightly. Yorim's mother says to her, ma'am, this isn't good. We can't associate with a family like this. We need to distance ourselves before their bad influence rubs off on us. Just then, someone yells in French, you should all be ashamed of yourselves. Everyone turns to see Si-young standing there, furious. You're looking down on my mom just because you know a few words in French, he says. I didn't expect this from you, Mom. And here Mom is directed at Mi-jin's mother. In French, he adds, they insulted my mother. And with this as chapter ends, this was the 40th chapter ongoing. The next chapter will come soon, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye-bye. Chapter 41 begins with Yorim's mother openly insulting Si-young's mom in French. Ju-seon's mother joins in and takes it further, saying Jungkook's mother has no reputation of her own, that her family only makes money off their child's face. Si-young, who actually understands French, is listening to all of this. Just then, Mijin comes up and asks, "What's wrong, Siyong? Oh, all the mothers are speaking in French. Sometimes they share secrets that way. Interesting, isn't it? Especially since my mom majored in French. She's the best at it." Hearing that, Siyong grows tense. In his mind, he says, "I know exactly what you mean. Even in my past life, my mom spoke French as fluently as a native. I respected her for that." Unable to hold it in any longer, Siyong bursts out in French, shouting, "You should be ashamed of yourselves. You're looking down on people just because you know a few words of French? I didn't expect this from you, Mom." He directs this straight at Mijin's mother. Everyone around is shocked hearing Siyong speak in fluent French. Ju Xiong's mother is stunned but tries to downplay it, saying he must have just picked up a little French somewhere. Siyong responds politely with, "Excuse me, ma'am," which only annoys her more. He continues scolding them in French, telling them, "All you do is use the language to gossip about each other. What's so special about that? Is French the only language you even know?" Even Siyong's real mother is surprised seeing her son speaking this way. Then Siyong goes on saying, "If we compare you, people who only know how to insult others in a half-broken foreign language, to my parents who are honest and have proper manners, my parents are 1,000 times better than you." His French is so clear that even Yurim's and Youngjung's mothers can't fully understand him. Mijin's mother, shaken, asks Siyong where he learned French. He calmly replies, "I watched some French lectures on TV. You could say I picked it up from there." Then she presses him further, asking why he called her mom. That catches Siyong off guard, and he stammers, saying it just slipped out by mistake. She studies him carefully and says, "Well, aside from that little slip, there wasn't a single mistake in your French, not even in the articles. And you're telling me you learned it on your own?" Siyong insists that he did. Mijin's mother finally turns to leave, saying, "All right then, I'll be going. Please enjoy the rest of the party." But Siyong stops her, asking, "What about an apology? Please apologize to my mom." His mother tries to calm him down, but Mijin's mother coldly replies, "Why should I apologize for words she couldn't even understand?" Siyong snaps back, "You're not even embarrassed playing this pathetic bullying game? I can't be more disappointed in you. Please, apologize to my mother properly." In his thoughts, he adds, "At the very least, you could do that much." Though clearly irritated, Mijin's mother forces a smile and says to Siyong's mom, "Your son is quite clever. We mothers have a habit of gossiping in French without thinking. So please, just enjoy the rest of your evening." Siyong's mom forgives her easily, but Siyong thinks bitterly, "Being kind doesn't do any good, Mom." After Mijin's mother leaves, Mijin herself rushes in, throws herself at Siyong, and accidentally bumps him. "You can speak French too?" She clings to him, while Siyong feels uncomfortable, thinking, "I just fought with your mom and you don't even care." But Mijin keeps going, "You were amazing. It was like a prince walked straight out of a French movie. Siyong, you're a genius, aren't you?" Siyong brushes it off, saying it wasn't that big of a deal. Meanwhile, a servant watching the scene calls Secretary Yang, reporting, "Something just happened. You should know about it." In the next scene, we see the chairman, shocked, asking, "Did Siyong really speak in French?" Secretary Yang confirms it, explaining how fluent he was. The chairman smirks. Kim Myung-hee, she'll never give up her bad habit of gossiping in French, but now she's been caught by Siyong himself. He laughs, clearly amused. Secretary Yang, watching the chairman laugh so freely, thinks to himself, "She's still our madam. Is it really okay for him to laugh like this?" Then the chairman asks, "Has Siyong truly mastered French at that level?" Secretary Yang explains, "He claimed to have learned it from TV lectures. Hard to believe, though." The chairman responds, "English and French, and he's only 5 years old? He really is a genius." Secretary Yang adds, "In the kindergarten intelligence test, his IQ scored 121. That's a little low compared to his actual skills, but still within the gifted range." The chairman nods. "Exactly. Keep an eye on him and report everything to me." "And what about Taeguk and Minji's plans for studying abroad?" Secretary Yang says they're already in contact with private schools overseas. The chairman replies, "Good. See if we can secure another seat as well. And prepare a passport for Siyong." Surprised, Secretary Yang asks, "Sir, what do you mean by that?" The chairman answers, "Not yet. It's only for sponsorship right now. But if we're going to raise him, we'll raise him properly." The scene then shifts to Samjun Kindergarten. The principal greets a car pulling up outside. It's the chairman's wife, Madam Kim Myung-hee. "It's been a long time, Principal," she says. The principal warmly welcomes her inside, saying it's an honor. Madam Kim explains she just wants to check if Mijin is receiving the proper education, and she's also heard about a new student. The principal replies, "Ah, you must mean Siyong." Madam Kim says she simply wants to see if he's fit to be around her daughter. The principal reassures her and adds that today is Career Experience Day, with pianist Ju Sung-won giving a special lecture. "Since Miss Mijin is also gifted in music, I'm sure you'll enjoy the performance too, madam." But as they look toward the classroom, both the principal and Madam Kim are stunned. On stage performing is not Mijin, but Siyong. The principal is speechless, watching him play. She whispers, "Does Sejong have talent for this as well?" Madam Kim, visibly irritated, mutters, "There's nothing this boy can't do. He's already caught Jeon Jae-young's attention." She thinks to herself, "I knew my husband was already disappointed in Taeguk. He's just an average child with no special talent, unfit to lead Samjeon. Sooner or later, founder Jusun and chairman Jeon Jae-young will cast him aside." I told myself everything would still be fine because Jae-young only had one son, Taeguk, and eventually my boy would inherit Samjeon. But all of that future I imagined has been destroyed because of this child, Jeon Seong-guk. Watching Seong's performance, Mi-jin starts praising him, while Ju-seon just shrugs and says it was okay. The piano teacher steps forward and asks, "Have you ever taken piano lessons before?" In his mind, Seong thinks, "In my past life, yes, but in this one, no." Out loud, he answers, "No, I've never taken any lessons." The teacher lights up with excitement and begins praising him. Just then, the principal calls the teacher aside and invites him into her office. Curious, the teacher asks, "Why did you suddenly call me here?" The principal smiles and says, "First, let me introduce you. This is Madam Kim Myung-hee, the chairman's wife." The piano teacher greets her respectfully and adds, "At my last concert, Samjeon Company sponsored me. I've been truly grateful for that." But Madam Kim cuts him off sharply and asks, "So what do you think of that child? About Seong? His performance was quite good, wasn't it?" The teacher nods and says, "Yes, you're right. And he told me he's never actually studied piano before. Seeing him play reminded me of my own childhood. He's not just talented, he's a genius. No, he's a true prodigy." Hearing such words, both the principal and Madam Kim are stunned. After all, the man speaking isn't just any ordinary artist, he's a world-class star. Madam Kim narrows her eyes and asks, "I see. And what about Mi-jin?" The teacher replies carefully, "You mean Miss Mi-jin? I think learning piano as a normal hobby would still be good for her." The room falls into an awkward silence. Both the principal and Madam Kim are taken aback. The principal quickly steps in and tells the teacher, "That was too harsh." Madam Kim feels flustered but thinks to herself, "Whether it's my son or my daughter, neither of them can compare to Seong. But maybe that's good for me. Jae-young is an old-fashioned, passionate man." The principal then quietly explains to the teacher, "You should know, Mi-jin is her daughter." Shocked, the teacher freezes for a moment. Meanwhile, Madam Kim continues her own thoughts. "My husband believes that someone too emotional, like an artist, could never be a strong businessman. Even if he favors that child now, if Seong really becomes an artist, he'll dismiss him immediately as an unfit successor and lose interest. Of course, having talent in the arts is impressive. We should all work together to refine that child's abilities." The teacher agrees politely. Madam Kim smiles and says, "All right, then I'll share something with you both." The scene shifts. We see Seong exhausted, finally back home. His mother asks, "So, did you enjoy kindergarten today? What's all this?" She notices a stack of books in his bag. Seong replies, "I'm not sure. They said the kindergarten will be teaching me piano properly. Artist Jo Sang-won himself offered to give me weekly lessons." At the name, his mother is stunned. "Wait, Jo Sang-won? That's not just anyone. He's one of Korea's most famous pianists, the one who always appears on TV." She sighs in amazed. "I guess this is what it means to attend an elite kindergarten. The education there is unreal." In his thoughts, Seong mutters, "Still, I'm getting used to flexing this body's talents, but it feels strange. Suddenly they're giving me all this, trying to make me into a pianist. In my past life, I was already skilled at piano and received countless offers to become a professional. But it only ever stayed a hobby. I had a business empire to run. This time, since the lessons are free, I'll learn, but I have no intention of becoming a pianist. I already have a much bigger dream to chase. The problem is, I'm too good at everything, so people won't stop pushing me into careers. Being a genius isn't easy." Just then, Minguk runs over and asks, "Brother, what's a career?" Seong pushes him aside and says, "Your brother is busy right now. Go play by yourself." But Minguk's face crumples and he starts crying. "I only want to play with my brother." Hearing him, their mother steps in and says, "Seong, spend a little time with him. He's been waiting for you all day." Reluctantly, Seong agrees, and Minguk instantly cheers up. Seong turns to him and explains, "So Minguk, a career path means what you want to become in the future. You should start thinking about it now and work hard toward it." Minguk, eyes wide with excitement, shouts, "I want to be just like my brother when I grow up." Seong blinks. "Like me?" Minguk nods eagerly. "Yes, exactly like Big Brother. I see you working so hard, and I know I can do it too. Minguk can do it." For a moment, Seong pauses, looking at him. In his thoughts, he admits, "Now that I'm looking at him, he really is a good kid. Honestly, even cuter than me." He gets up to search for something, muttering, "Where's that commercial script the manager gave me?" Soon he finds it, the script for an upcoming shoot. With a mischievous smile, he turns to Minguk and says, "Hey Minguk, want to play a game called script reading?" We hear Seong's voice saying, "I'm home." His mother asks, "Did you have fun at kindergarten?" She then notices Seong talking with Minguk. His mother comments, "For the past few days, you've been taking really good care of Minguk." Seong replies, "Yeah, because I've realized raising Minguk properly is worth it." His mom looks puzzled. Raising him? Meanwhile, Seong is thinking to himself, "Just wait, Mom, a little more training, and I'll make good money from Minguk," almost as if he's planning to sell his little brother. Then turning to Minguk, Seong suggests, "How about we practice acting today?" Minguk nods eagerly. "Yeah, let's do it." Just then, Seong's mom heads to the gate saying, "You're here?" as Secretary Yang arrives at their home. "Did I come too early?" he asks. She smiles. "Not at all. I'll just get the kids ready." She then tells Seong, "Today we'll be having dinner at Dad's restaurant with Secretary Yang. So let's get going." We shift to the car scene. Everyone is inside, Minguk happily watching the scenery outside. His mother warns him to be careful while Seong observes their little antics. Suddenly, Seong notices the music playing in the car. "This is Chopin's Raindrop, isn't it?" he asks. Secretary Yang replies, "Oh, so you recognized it. It's a nice piece." Seong asks, "Do you like classical music?" Yang shakes his head. "Not really, but I heard you like the piano, so I played it." He then asks Seong, "The rumor's going around that you want to become a pianist. Is that true?" Hearing that, Seong frowns inwardly. What's this? Why is Secretary Yang curious about that? Where did these rumors even come from? Something's off here. Out loud, he says, "No, I don't want to be a pianist. For some reason, my teacher keeps suggesting it, but I want to be a businessman." Secretary Yang nods. "Really? That'll be a relief to the chairman." Seong thinks, "Good. That should calm them down." The scene shifts to his father's restaurant. His dad brings out several dishes for the family. Seong thinks to himself, "Wow, Dad's cooking has gotten even better than before." He quickly digs in. Yang comments, "This is really delicious." His father smiles. "I'm glad to hear that." Yang adds, "Thank you for preparing all this on such short notice." Seong's father replies warmly, "You're always welcome here, Secretary Yang. And I'm curious about what you mentioned. You said you had something important to discuss." Yang's expression turns serious. "It's about Seong." Hearing that, Seong thinks, "About me?" Yang continues, "We'd like Seong to continue his studies in America." Both parents are stunned. "America?" they ask in unison. Yang explains, "The chairman's children will be going there soon. We thought it would be good for Seong to join them. A talented child like him deserves a bigger stage. Don't you agree?" His father asks, "And how long would this study abroad last?" Yang replies, 1 year in the gifted education program, then entry into a private school in the US, so expect about 2 to 3 years. Both parents are even more shocked. His mother protests, "But he's only 5 years old." Before she can continue, Minguk bursts out, "Where's my brother going?" Yang answers gently, "To a good place for studying." Minguk starts crying, shouting, "No, my brother can't go. He has to stay with me." Seong tells him firmly, "Minguk, stop crying. I'm not going anywhere." Yang looks surprised. "Seong?" But in his mind, Seong is resolute. "What nonsense. Studying abroad? I've already studied enough in my past life. If I accept Samjeon's support, I'll never escape his shadow. That's the one thing I must avoid. Right now, what I need most is to prepare for what's coming." He thinks back. In 2 years, the IMF crisis will hit. December 1997, the Asian financial crisis that shook countries like South Korea, Thailand, and Indonesia. I need to be fully prepared for that day. First, I'll make Minguk into a child actor so I can earn more money. Second, I'll use my dad's business and connections to invest in real estate and stocks. That's the only way to protect everyone from what's coming. I don't have time to study abroad. Out loud, Seong says, "I have too much to do here in Korea, and I want to stay with my mom and dad, so I won't go." Hearing that, his father tears up emotionally. Yang insists, "But Seong, this is a huge opportunity." His mother gently says, "We know, Secretary Yang, it is a big opportunity. But sending such a young child away for years, it's too difficult." Minguk clings to Seong, sobbing. Seong comforts him. "Didn't I say I'm not going? Stop crying." Yang nods slowly. "I understand, but this isn't something that will happen immediately. Please think it over." Inside, Seong smirks. "I already told you, I'm not going anywhere." Yang adds, "If you change your mind, please contact me," and then takes his leave. The scene shifts. The date shown is February 1996. Seong, looking every bit like a future chairman, tells his younger brother, "Shall we head out?" Minguk, now on his way to audition as a child actor, follows alongside. Then Seong begins narrating. "Last week was really tough for me. My teacher kept pressuring me to become a pianist. Meijin was constantly on my case. Dad was making money through stocks and real estate. And most importantly, I was busy taking care of Minguk." At that moment, Minguk is showing some impressive acting skills. Watching him, Seong thinks proudly, "This kid is growing faster than I expected." and then laughs inwardly because technically he himself is Minguk's teacher. So in a way, he's complimenting himself. He continues, "This child is growing up faster than I imagined. At his last birthday party, he even dropped a bomb." By bomb, he means that during his party, Minguk suddenly declared to his parents, "I, Jean Mingo, want to become a cool actor like my big brother." Hearing that, everyone was shocked. Now, back to the present day. It's the day of Minguk's audition. Seong asks him, "Little brother, are you ready?" Minguk replies confidently, "Yes, big brother, I'm ready." Holding his younger brother's hand, Seong leads him forward. From behind, their mother watches and mutters, "Where do these kids get all this energy from? Still, there's nothing I can do except worry. I'm grateful for the child actor work, but it's not an easy path. Can Minguk really handle it?" Manager Ming reassures her, "It'll be fine, don't worry. Besides, today is just the audition, and the man running this audition is someone we know. Nothing bad will happen." The scene shifts to the director rushing towards Seong. At the same time, Seong runs up to him, and instead of calling him, "Director," he shouts, "Brother!" He throws his arms around him, thinking, it's been such a long time. His mother quickly comes up and scolds him. "Seong, don't be rude. You should address him as Mr. Director." The director waves it off with a smile. "It's fine. Honestly, it's been a while since I've heard Seong call me director. It feels good." His mother then asks the director, "So what's this news I heard? I was shocked when I found out you're hosting such a huge event." The director smiles. "The credit goes to Seong. That Just Baby show attracted the interest of many major film producers. Thanks to that, I got the chance to take charge of the auditions for Movie Baby 2. And when I heard Seong was coming, I almost considered canceling the audition and just making Just Baby 2 right away. But you're telling me that today's star isn't Seong?" At that, Seong proudly pushes his brother forward and says, "That's right. Today's star is this kid, John Minguk." Excited, Minguk introduces himself. "My name is John Minguk." The director looks him over and says, "Look at that, those sharp, shining eyes. He's grown into quite the bright kid." Minguk answers with confidence, "You're right. Minguk is a boy with shining eyes." The director pats his head and smiles. "I have a good feeling about him. Let's see what he can do." Minguk, brimming with confidence, follows as the director leads him toward the stage. "Watching," Seong thinks proudly. "Very good, Minguk. Keep it up. This is how you'll win the director over." But then Seong notices a woman in the crowd. He frowns. "Wait, I've seen her before. I'm sure of it." And indeed, the audience quickly recognizes her too. She's the spoiled wife of the wealthy owner of Deokpong Paper Company, here with her son, Jae. Seong is startled. Wow, Jae has grown up so much. But hold on, why do they both look so miserable? Jahe's mother notices Seong as well and begins walking toward him. This makes him uneasy. Why is she coming over here? She approaches Seong's mother. The moment his mother recognizes her, her expression hardens. "It's you. What are you planning this time? If you try anything, I won't tolerate it." But to their surprise, Jahe's mother bows her head and apologizes. "I'm sorry. I was rude and arrogant before. A mother should never behave that way. I truly wanted to apologize to both of you." Both Seong and his mother are shocked. Jahe's mother continues with her head down. "I regret what I did. It won't happen again. I'll take my leave now." With that, she walks away with her son. Stunned, Seong and his mother can't make sense of it. What happened to her? Seong wonders. They say if someone changes overnight, it usually means their time is running out. What in the world happened to them? Just then, the assistant director arrives. "How are you all doing? The director asked me to show you to your seats." Before she can lead them, Seong grabs her hand. "More important than that, who is that woman over there?" The assistant director glances over. "Oh, you mean the wife of Deokpong Paper's owner and her son. Now that you brought it up, I remember there was some kind of unfortunate incident with them before. If it makes you uncomfortable, I can make sure you don't have to see them." But Seong shakes his head, raising his voice. "That's not it. That woman, she's completely different now. She apologized." His mother adds softly. "She did seem a little sad, though. Do you think something happened to her?" The assistant director hesitates, then nods. "Something did happen. I've heard some rumors about it." She leans in and whispers quietly to Seong's mother. Seong looks shocked, about to question her further, when suddenly Jae appears. He approaches Seong and says, "I'm sorry, but could you help me?" Clearly, something has happened to this family. Jae looks utterly heartbroken. Whatever it is, one thing feels certain. Seong will find a way to help them. Chapter 45 begins here. But first, please subscribe and enjoy my other videos. The chapter opens with Seong thinking to himself, that rude woman has completely changed into a different person. I thought there would be some kind of unique story behind it. Then we see Jae, who comes up to Seong and says, "Seong, please help me. My dad left my mom." Crying, Jae tells Seong everything. His father, the chairman of a paper company, is having an affair with a younger woman. He's wasted a lot of money on her, lost his mind completely, and in the end kicked his wife out of the house without giving her anything. We see Jahi's father shouting at his wife, "I'm sick of an old woman like you. Get out of my house." Heartbroken, Jahi's mom leaves, while Jahi cries. Back in the present, Jahi explains, "I moved in with my mom because I missed her. Right now we're living in a place called a Goshiwon. It's basically a tiny cheap room where students or people with low income usually stay." Hearing this, Seong's mother quietly wonders what she can possibly do for Jahi. Meanwhile, Jahi continues, "I want to become an actor so I can help my mom, just like she said. But it's not working out. Seong, please help my mom." Seong looks surprised and thinks, "If I'm being honest, that rude woman deserves this. It's not my problem, and I don't feel the slightest sympathy for her. But this kid isn't at fault. Jahi really hasn't done anything wrong here." So Seong turns to the assistant director and asks, "What's Jahi's audition number?" The assistant director replies, "Well, Minguk is up next. Jahi is the last one." Seong smiles and says, "That's perfect. Jahi, come with me." He grabs Jahi's hand and starts leading him away. Jahi's mom asks, "Jahi, where are you going?" Jahi replies, "Mom, I'll be back in a little while." Seong tells Jahi, "Look ahead. Don't look back at your mom right now. That's how you'll get the role and help her later." Seong brings Jahi to the audition room and points at another kid. "See that boy? That's my little brother, John Minguk." Minguk looks excited as the cameraman says, "We'll start the camera test soon, Minguk." Seong tells Jahi, "I've trained him well. Just watch and try to copy him. Notice how his eyes follow the camera, how he moves, even his cute expressions." Minguk gives a great performance, and the cameraman gets excited, praising him. "Excellent, Minguk. That was amazing." Seong turns to Jahi and says, "See, if you act like that, you'll get praised too." Jahi looks nervous, admitting, "Actually, I'm scared of the camera." Seong reassures him, "Then imagine you're not looking at the camera but into your mom's eyes. Perform as if you're doing it just for her." The director continues testing other kids until finally, it's Jahi's turn. Jahi, still nervous, says, "I'll do my best," while Seong smiles from behind. Minguk runs to Seong asking, "Big brother, how did I do?" Seong pats his head. "You did really well." Then Minguk notices Jahi and asks, "Who's that older boy? He's performing really well." Sure enough, Jahi is putting on a strong performance, surprising everyone. Seong smiles to himself thinking, "That settles the score for your last audition, Jahi. Remember when I manipulated you and took your spot? This time I made it up to you." When the director announces the results, he says, "The winner of the audition is John Minguk, and as a submodel, we'll also select Kim Jahi." Both Jahi and his mother are overjoyed. Seong's mother says, "That worked out nicely," while Seong smirks, thinking, "Perfect. I evened out the past, got my little brother a job, and now I can focus on business. Minguk, go earn lots of money." A dangerous, greedy aura starts radiating from Seong, and even Minguk senses it this time. Seong thinks, "The sooner I leave the kindergarten behind, the better." Just then, Secretary Yang shows up with another man whose identity isn't revealed yet. "Congratulations, Seong and Minguk," Yang says. "Just as we expected, Minguk is very talented." Seong's mother asks, "Secretary Yang, what brings you here?" Yang replies, "I came to see Minguk's audition, but before that, this gentleman has something to say." The man introduces himself. "Hello, I'm film director Kim Jong-yu." Hearing the name, Seong is stunned, thinking, "The film through others? He's the famous director who made the drama Mozart Virus. What is someone like him doing here?" Director Jong-yu explains, "Thanks to director Kwok, I got to watch today's auditions. To the point, I'd like to cast Minguk as the child villain in my next drama." Seong is shocked, while Secretary Yang adds, "That's great news, isn't it? And I also have news for you, Seong." Yang hands Seong something. Seong looks at it and mutters, "A boarding pass? A ticket from Korea to Los Angeles?" That's where chapter 45 really begins. The chairman is speaking. Last love. A widow struggling to raise her child meets a young man and they fall in love. Not bad. This would be the perfect role for Minguk. We see Seong sitting across from the chairman thinking, wait a second, how does he know all this? He explains to us, a week ago, Minguk received an offer from a famous director. After that, everything moved quickly. Script reading, meeting the actors, even acting lessons. We already signed the contract. We then see a flashback of the signing. Seong's mother congratulates Minguk on his first child actor role, proudly saying she's happy for both of her sons. Seong is pleased too, until Secretary Yang arrives. "Congratulations to Minguk," Yang says. "And Seong, there's something you need to do. Remember?" Seong frowns as Yang continues. "The chairman wants to meet you personally. It's about the tickets I gave you last time." Seong forces a smile and says, "Well, Mom and Dad are busy, so I don't think I'll be able to go." But Yang insists, "The chairman specifically wants to see you. We can change the schedule. I'll come pick you up myself." Seong slips his hand into his pocket, pulls out the tickets and thinks, "Looks like I can't escape this." Next, we see him standing in front of the chairman, returning the tickets. I'm giving these back. You called me here because you want me to study abroad, right? That's why you gave me these tickets. But I can't go. There are things I need to do here. The chairman replies, I've heard this before. No other kid would refuse such a good offer. Why are you? Anger stirs inside Seong as he thinks, because in my past life, I already died. Because of you. Out loud, he simply says, anyway, thank you, but I can't do it. The chairman then leans in. What if it's not about studying abroad? Seong frowns. What? Yang hands him some documents. Seong looks at them, shocked. This is Samjeon Kindergarten's field trip? An overseas exploration program? Smiling, the chairman explains. Samjeon Kindergarten does this every year. This time we added extra support. So instead of just a few days, you'll be in the US for 3 weeks. Seong makes a sour face, thinking, this relentless old man. The chairman continues. You said you have unfinished business in Korea. I don't understand it, but fine. I'll postpone the study abroad plan. But you can't skip the kindergarten trip. Hearing this, Seong put on a serious face and asked, why are you so desperate to send me abroad? The chairman replied, who knows? Even my wife has been asking me the same thing. That caught Seong off guard. In his mind, he thought, Mom asked him that too? The chairman continued, she's even suspicious of me. She thinks you're actually my son. That's why she accused me of pushing Taeguk aside so I can hand over the entire Samjeon company to you. We cut back to the present, where the chairman explained, the real reason I want to send you abroad is because I want to see your potential. I'm curious how you'll do when you're thrown into a much bigger pond like America. Whichever path you take, seeing their society and economy will help you in the long run. Listening to him, Seong was taken aback. In his mind, he admitted, he's right. He's completely right. If I want to prepare for the IMF crisis, I need to study trends in the US. When the IMF crisis hit in 1997, it was the United States that pushed Korea into opening its markets and reforming its economy. The US even sent their deputy Treasury Secretary straight into Korea to participate in the bailout process. Under American leadership, Korea's economy was opened wide, foreign investors poured in, and companies and stocks were bought up for cheap. Countless businesses went bankrupt, and workers across the nation lost their jobs. That was the result of the IMF crisis, Seong thought. My plan is to gather capital and secure as much money as I can so I can protect the companies around me. But if I go to the US, maybe I'll be able to catch another opportunity there. Instead of just worrying about Korea's crisis, maybe the answers I'm looking for are in America itself. Out loud, Seong said, all right, I'll go. The chairman smiled. Suddenly, you seem very excited. That's good. Just make sure you bring back plenty from America. A month later, we see the scene at the airport. Seong's father had come to send him off while Mingguk was crying, begging, brother, please don't go. But Seong didn't stop. He just walked ahead. The homeroom teacher clapped her hands and said, okay, class, let's get moving. Your seat numbers are printed on your tickets. Go slowly, one at a time. Seong pulled out his ticket and said to himself, let's see what my seat number is. Just then, the teacher told him, Seong, your seat is separate from the others. The attendant will take you there. That surprised him. Jusong overheard and looked shocked too. He shouted, wait a second, why are you going alone? Where exactly are you going? Meanwhile, Seong reached his seat and froze. In his head, he was saying, hold on, this is first class, isn't it? Excuse me, but why am I the only one sitting in first class? Then a voice came from behind him. So you finally showed up. Seong quickly turned his head, and there he saw the chairman himself. The old man's obsession with Seong was on a whole other level. Whoever hasn't seen the previous chapters, go check them out first, the link's in the description. And by the way, I also have another anime recap channel called Anikind, so make sure to subscribe to that too. Its link is in the description as well. The chapter begins with Seong, who's sitting on a flight thinking to himself, so that's why I got the first class seat. The chairman says, now sit down already, Seong. Seong replies, Father, I mean, Chairman, what are you doing here? The chairman says, why not? I'm on a business trip to the US. And what a coincidence that we're on the same flight. Both of them know very well that this wasn't a coincidence at all. Seong sighs and says, please, stop joking around. The flight takes off. He looks at the chairman and thinks, I have to spend the next 10 hours with this man. Just thinking about it makes me feel sick. He tells the chairman, I'd like to move back to my original seat. The chairman replies, oh, is that so? Because I was going to show you something interesting since we happened to meet. Seong suddenly gets excited and wonders, is he going to show me something about money? Or maybe some kind of investment information? The chairman pulls out a book from his bag and says, I actually brought this for Taeguk, but are you interested in it? It turns out to be a children's book about American society and economy. Seeing it, Seong looks disappointed and annoyed, thinking, seriously? I wouldn't be interested in this even if you paid me. And you're giving me a kid's book? He says, all right, I'll just go back to my seat. But then his eyes catch a glimpse of some other books and he's surprised. Those books, the chairman picks them up and says, Oh, these? They're international business magazines. Seong immediately says, yes, if you show me those, I'll stay. The chairman replies, even if you're a genius, this is a professional business magazine meant for businessmen. Seong says, I'll just look at the pictures inside. The chairman smiles and hands the magazines to him. Well, I guess I don't have a reason to stop you. Seong looks at the magazines with joy and thinks, this is amazing. These are Korea's leading economic magazines that I used to read all the time in my past life. They gave me valuable intel on every economic trend. I miss them so much. My parents used to let me read news and accounting books, but never economic magazines. They always said I should live like a kid. We then see a flashback of his mother saying, you already read so many difficult books. Now go outside and play. Want to go on a picnic with mom? Seong thinks, I know what her intentions are, but still. And we see him happily reading the magazines while the chairman smiles, thinking, a child who prefers economic magazines over storybooks. How interesting. The chairman calls out, Seong, listen to me. Seong says, yes, sir. The chairman continues, I'll let you have those magazines, but pay attention to this. Seong says, okay, show me what you mean. The chairman hands him a paper. It's his schedule. Seong says, a schedule? The chairman nods. Yes, this is my schedule for the U.S. As you can see, two important events are happening at the same time. Do you know about the Large Corporation Expo and the Venture Expo? Seong replies, yes, I know about them. The chairman says, good. Then tell me, which one should I attend? Seong looks surprised. The chairman says, think carefully and tell me. I'm curious about your thoughts. Even if you're wrong, that's fine. He thinks to himself, let's see what kind of answer you give. I know it's a lot to ask from a 6-year-old, but you're no ordinary child. Will you surprise me or disappoint me? Seong studies the schedule and finally says, we should go to the Venture Expo. The chairman looks intrigued. Choosing the smaller event? That's unusual. Why? Seong replies, because at the Large Corporation Expo, there's no place for Samjeon. The chairman is taken aback. Seong thinks, right now the U.S. is in its golden age of IT companies. Giants like Michelin Soft and Actel are leading the market. If you're planning to reach out to them now to expand Samjeon into the U.S., that's not exactly wrong, but, he says aloud, in a market already dominated by huge companies, there's no room for Samjeon. Big corporations won't give up their ground. That's why Samjeon should focus on finding small ventures that others haven't discovered yet, invest in them, and gain the advantage. The chairman looks at him in shock. Seong keeps thinking, in my previous life, neither father nor I knew what was about to happen in the U.S. market. So many major companies were about to emerge. The scene shows glimpses of those future companies he's talking about. Returning to the conversation, Seong says, only focusing on big companies was a bad decision, and we regretted it later. Because of that, Samjeon's overseas expansion chances were ruined. And then the IMF crisis hit. He looks at the chairman and says, let's go to the Venture Expo. You might find Samjeon's future there. The chairman smiles slightly thinking, this kid, I didn't expect this much. He then asks, would you like to come with me? Seong looks confused. You mean to the Venture Expo? The chairman nods. I can take you there. Hearing that, Seong lights up with excitement. Really? Of course I'd love to go. He's thrilled, thinking, this is incredible. If I go there, maybe I can meet that person. Just then, someone appears. It's John Tae-guk. Seeing him, Seong looks shocked. Tae-guk shouts, why? Why is a kid like him sitting next to father? He keeps yelling, father, please say something. Why is that kid sitting with you? The chairman calmly says, quiet down. Did you finish your homework? If you did, show me. Tae-guk nervously hands over his homework, while Seong feels caught in the middle of this awkward tension. He looks at both of them and thinks, how did I end up stuck between these two? I need to get out of here. But the chairman calls out, Seong. He answers, yes. The chairman says, take a look at this. He hands him a list. These are the small and large companies that'll participate in the Venture Expo. I told Tae-guk to pick one company that would be worthwhile for Samjeon to meet. That was his homework. Seong is stunned and thinks, what kind of parent gives homework like this to a kid? The chairman adds, you try choosing one too. Tae-guk pouts and stands behind them. Seong hesitates. I don't think I can. The chairman smiles. No, I said you will, and you'll choose well. His whole aura changes, intimidating Seong, who thinks, this man really knows how to scare someone. Quickly, Seong picks a couple of companies and says, here. The chairman looks. So you chose Google and T-Com. Impressive choices. Seong thinks, of course. Right now, Google's just a small startup, but one day it'll dominate the entire world. In T-Com, that guy works there. We're not shown who that guy is yet. The chairman says, Seong's choices are IT companies, and you, Tae-guk, chose Lemon Soda Pop Company and Toto Toy Company. Tae-guk replies, well, I just picked the ones I understood. I asked Secretary Young for help, but honestly, most of those companies didn't make much sense to me. Seong thinks, yeah, that's fair. A little kid wouldn't know much at this age. The chairman asks Taeguk, do you even know what a venture is? Taeguk says, yeah, I think it's like a new company or something. The chairman sighs in disappointment and says, go back to your seat, Taeguk. Taeguk pleads, but father, the chairman cuts him off. Go study some more. You're a good businessman, chairman, but you're not a great father. Taeguk starts to leave, tears streaming down his face. Seong tries to stop him, but Taeguk walks away. Seong turns to the chairman and shouts, how can you talk to a kid like that? The chairman replies calmly, a kid? He's older than you. Seong snaps back. Taeguk gives it everything he's got. You can't just break him like that. The chairman says, he tried, he worked hard, but I don't need excuses. I only care about real results. In the end, results are all that matter. Seong is shocked to hear that. Then he thinks to himself, that's exactly how I used to think in my past life. Effort, results, performance. I thought those were the only things that mattered. That's why I pushed Taeguk away. But I was wrong. If I had just encouraged him with love, like a real family would, like an older brother should, just like I do with Minguk, maybe Taeguk could have become a truly talented person too. Seong looks at the chairman and says, family isn't a corporation. You can't decide someone's worth based on their performance. The chairman is taken aback by those words. Seong thinks, that's the truth I learned after finally meeting my real family. I just hope father understands that someday too. The scene shifts. The group has arrived in Los Angeles. Their teacher says, all right, everyone, we've arrived in Los Angeles. For the next 3 days, we'll be heading to Disneyland. Seong laughs a little to himself. Disneyland, huh? Guess what? We're meeting Mr. and Mrs. Mouse. That means Mickey Mouse. Just then, Minji clings to Seong again and says, aren't you excited about Disneyland, Seong? I'll be your guide for today. I've been here so many times. Seong replies, sorry, Minji, but I'm going somewhere else, with them. Minji looks at the chairman and Seong's brother. Wait, when did you two get here? The chairman waves at her with a polite, hi. Seong thinks, so this man came here without even telling his own daughter. He gently pulls away from Minji and says, all right, I'm heading out. She frowns. What do you mean you're going somewhere else? What could be better than Disneyland? Seong smiles and says, I'm going somewhere even better. Minji calls out from behind, better? What could possibly be better than Disneyland? Seong keeps walking, smiling to himself. Yeah, that's right. A place where I can catch a glimpse of the future, for me, and for South Korea. The US Venture Expo, and I know he's going to be there. Guys, I have just one request. Please enjoy my other videos too, so I can stay motivated to keep making more for you. The chapter begins in Los Angeles, at the Venture Expo Hall in the US, where a huge crowd is gathered. Seong is thrilled as he looks around, thinking to himself, so this is the US Venture Expo. All the rising companies that will one day dominate the world are here. He turns to the chairman and asks if he can walk around freely. The chairman chuckles and says, you seem really excited. Sure, I'll send a few bodyguards with you. Go explore as much as you like. Seong thanks him and heads off, his eyes lighting up as he passes by several up-and-coming companies like Google, Yahoo, and Tcom Ventures. Eventually, Seong spots the man he came here to meet. His eyes widen as he thinks, so here he is, Elon Musk. He reflects, if you could travel back in time and meet just one person, who would it be? Most people would name dozens. But as someone who's run a business before, I'd say Elon Musk, the genius businessman of the 21st century, a true visionary who will lead the industries of the future. He walks up to Elon and says, Mr. Elon, it's an honor to meet you. Elon looks puzzled, glancing at the young boy in front of him. Hey kid, what's an Asian boy doing at a business expo? Are you lost? Need help finding your parents? Seong thinks to himself, well, I guess in his eyes, I really do look like a little kid. He replies, I'm actually here to talk business with you. I'd like to discuss an investment. Elon raises an eyebrow. Investment? What's this kid talking about? Just then, the man accompanying Seong steps in and says, excuse me, sir, he's a guest of our chairman. He hands Elon a card that reads, Samjeon Company. One of Elon's team members whispers, I've heard Samjeon is one of South Korea's top-tier companies. Elon nods slightly, saying, South Korea, huh? I don't know much about your company or the Samjeon, but you seem interesting. So what do you want to discuss? Seong smiles inwardly, thinking, I knew he'd be curious. After all, he was once a prodigy too, someone who stepped into the world of adults at a young age. He says, I'm very interested in your company. Elon replies, you mean Tcom? That's a tough business model. Even adults struggle to understand it. How could you possibly get it? Seong answers confidently, it's the world's first online bank, right? You saw the potential of the internet and decided to build a system where people can do their banking without going anywhere in person. I think it's a brilliant idea. Elon looks stunned. How do you know all that? What's your name, kid? Seong replies, my name is John Seong-guk, And I'd appreciate it if you stopped calling me Asian kid. Elon laughs. You don't even look 10 years old, and you've already figured out our entire business model. Siyong thinks, of course I did. I have all the experience from my past life. But more importantly, I know one thing for sure. I need to invest in this man, he says. So let's talk investment. Elon nods, intrigued. All right, let's find a quiet place to talk. His assistant whispers, Sir, are you really taking this kid seriously? Elon replies, he says he wants to invest in our company. Age doesn't matter. An investor deserves proper respect. Siyong thinks, that's exactly the mindset of a true visionary. No wonder his future self became such a legend. They sit down together. Elon says, so, about this investment, shall we talk while having some juice? Siyong says, I know about your company's situation. You've got a great idea and you're ready to launch, but you don't have enough capital, right? Elon looks surprised. How could he possibly know that? Siyong continues, if you can't secure funding soon, you'll lose control of your company again, just like last time. Elon stands up in shock. What? How do you know about that? Siyong explains, before TCOM you had a company called Zip2, but because you didn't have enough funding, you couldn't protect your ownership. In the end, you lost the very company you founded. If you were that kind of man, you wouldn't want history to repeat itself. He adds, this time I'll help you protect it. TCOM will go even further than Zip2. I'm ready to invest, so stay with me until the end. Elon stares at him, completely speechless, muttering, am I dreaming? Or is this some kind of fantasy world? This kid's a holy genius. Siyong sighs. Come on, sir. Just tell me how much investment you need. Meanwhile, the chairman is watching them from a distance. What is that boy doing? His aide says, Sir, it looks like he's talking with TCOM CEO, Elon Musk. The chairman stares for a moment. He looks really serious. TCOM was one of the companies we were keeping an eye on. The concept of online banking is ahead of its time. And look, even Elon isn't treating Siyong like a kid. They're talking like equals. He smiles. This boy is truly remarkable. By the way, where's Taeguk? The aide replies, he's eating ice cream, sir. The chairman groans. He was talking so big earlier, and now he's lost to an ice cream cone. Well, I guess that's how a normal child should behave. But if he's going to be the future head of Samjeon, he should be more like Siyong. Back at the expo, Siyong and Elon shake hands, apparently sealing their deal. The chairman turns to his aide. Find out everything Siyong discussed with Elon Musk. Just then, Siyong runs up to the chairman. Did you finish what you needed to do? The chairman asks. There's one more thing I'd like to do, Siyong replies. Please help me. The chairman nods. What is it you want to do? Siyong answers confidently. I want to invest in the American market. Later, we see documents being signed. The chairman and Elon shake hands, sealing a major deal as Siyong watches from his seat. He thinks to himself, you both seem really excited about a long-term investment contract. He then explains what's happening. Remember last time when I asked the chairman for help? I wanted to invest in the American market, but to invest in another country, you need a local bank account, which I didn't have, and getting one isn't easy. So I asked the chairman to act as a middleman and set up an investment pipeline. That's how this process became smoother. But now the chairman himself decided to invest in Elon Musk's company. Siyong pouts a little, thinking, great, now he's profiting off my idea. Elon says, you made this huge investment decision pretty fast. Was it because of Siyong? The chairman smiles. Absolutely. Mr. Elon, you saw it for yourself. This boy is beyond a normal prodigy. That's why I've decided to trust him. Elon nods. And I'll make sure you never regret that decision. Siyong smirks, thinking, that's right. Elon's company will definitely succeed, and the chairman will earn a fortune, all thanks to me. Elon chuckles and lightly pats Siyong's cheek. You're such a cute, brilliant kid. Meanwhile, one of the chairman's men whispers, Sir, is this really the right move? The chairman replies, what do you mean? The man says, that investment fund, you prepared it so you could strike deals with major U.S. corporations. The chairman nods. That's true, but those established companies are already successful. Our investment doesn't mean much to them. From their perspective, that money isn't significant. So why not use this opportunity to open doors to a new future, to new possibilities? Elon then turns to Siyong. So where else are you planning to invest? Siyong smiles mischievously. Should I really tell you that? The scene shifts to the airport. Ladies and gentlemen, the announcement says, this plane will be taking off shortly. Please fasten your seatbelts. Siyong sits quietly, thinking to himself, 3 weeks went by so fast. While the other kids were having fun at amusement parks, I was with the chairman from start to finish. Here, Siyong says, come on, let's check out the expo too. But if you remember, Taeguk had also come along with them, though he disappeared somewhere along the way. Anyway, back to Siyong. He's saying that the past 3 weeks have been really productive. Just then, the chairman sits down next to him and says, you got here early. Siyong looks surprised and says, Chairman, you're here. and thinks to himself, "You're sitting with me again." The chairman is reading a newspaper. Seong asks, "Is that a Korean newspaper?" The chairman nods. "Yeah, we're heading back to Korea in 3 weeks, so I need to catch up on what's been happening there." Seong says, "Let me see it too." The chairman hands him the paper, and Seong reads it with a smile. The plane takes off, and while reading, he notices a headline that says, "The Korean Success Story, a Golden Era Built by Miracle on the Han River." Seeing that, Seong thinks to himself, "Yeah, that's true. It's just like me. Right now, nobody expects that in 1997, the IMF crisis will hit. Everyone's too busy celebrating Korea's success, not realizing what kind of tragedy is coming. But it'll be fine. I've already prepared for everything, right? I've even opened up doors in the US. All that's left is to follow my plan." Then the scene shifts. Seong's back home telling his parents, "I'm not going to kindergarten anymore." His parents look shocked. His dad asks, "Are you tired from the US trip? Is that why you don't want to go?" Seong shakes his head. "No, it's because I have other things to do. I already talked to the chairman about it." His dad says, "What kind of work do you want to do? I'll help you." Seong smiles. "What I want to do is go on a trip to Jeju Island with my family, and we're leaving tomorrow." His dad looks stunned. "What? Tomorrow? Why are we suddenly going to Jeju Island?" Seong reminds him, "Dad, you said when you'd saved up enough money, you'd give Mom a proper wedding ceremony and take her on a honeymoon you never had." Hearing that, both his parents get emotional. Seong continues, "We've saved up quite a bit already, and I found a nice place to stay in Jeju, thanks to Secretary Young's help. We have to go now. If not now, then when?" His dad murmurs, "What do you mean by that?" And Seong thinks to himself, "Because next year, everyone's going to be too busy dealing with the IMF crisis." Then we see a list of things Seong plans to do. Manage SKG, keep an eye on Jeon Min-guk, and defend against the IMF crisis. He tells his parents, "Anyway, we're leaving tomorrow, so start packing." They rush off to pack, and Seong smiles to himself thinking, "Yeah, that's right. Before disaster strikes, I need to fulfill my parents' wish. Being a good son isn't easy." Min-guk overhears and says, "A good son?" Seong, full of energy, thinks, "Let's make lots of good memories on this family trip." Then the scene shifts again. Someone's running. It's Secretary Yang. He rushes to the chairman and says, "Chairman, the stock prices and the foreign investors." He's sweating nervously. The chairman, drinking water calmly, says, "So it's begun." On the TV, the Korean president appears, saying, "Due to the major national crisis and economic hardship, we have no other choice but to seek financial support from the International Monetary Fund. I want to inform everyone that our country is now facing a national default. As president, I take full responsibility for this economic disaster." Secretary Yang watches the news and mutters, "A national default." Nearby, a woman is on the phone saying, "Wait a second, stock prices are plummeting. They're back to where they were 10 years ago." Other employees add, "More than 50 companies have gone bankrupt, Chairman. Our Sam John company, too." The chairman looks down, silent and heavy with worry. At the same time, Seong is also watching the news. He quietly says, "It's begun. The IMF crisis has started. But unlike everyone else, he's ready for it." Anyway, that's where this chapter ends. But the next ones are going to get even more interesting. So fellas, stay tuned, subscribe, and drop a like to keep up the hype.